What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. Hokage Billionfold Reward 1BR Chapter 1, Nima, Another Boring Day. There was a voice of complaint in the room, and the owner of this voice was Mo Yu. I thought that this kind of life at home where there's food, drink, play, and nothing to do is not a problem, even if you live in the house for 10 or 8 years. But Mo Yu found that things were not as simple as they thought. Apart from eating and sleeping, his daily activities include playing games, watching live broadcasts, and watching videos. Without a mobile phone, Mo Yu believes that few people can stay at home for a few days, especially young people like him. Mo Yu sat up from the bed and walked to the window habitually. He was wondering if he should try it today. It was so boring in the circle of friends to count how many times the leaves swayed, how many pieces were blown off, how many birds screamed, and so on. A series of extremely boring operations to kill time. But seeing the leaf in front of him reminded him of the word Konoha, so he thought of a good plan. That is, review the classic anime, Naruto. At this point, Mo Yu immediately took action. However, the moment he clicked on the video, his eyes suddenly went dark, and then there were voices in his mind. Ding, God reward system is activating. The system is activated and the host identity is being confirmed. Ding, the host identity is determined, start binding. God reward system. The binding is successful, and the current world is being confirmed. Ding, Naruto World confirmed success. After a series of reminders sounded in his mind, Mo Yu was still confused. Who would have thought that opening the Naruto video will pass through Naruto World? This is too far-fetched. He thought it was a dream, and glanced at the surrounding environment. He didn't know what words to use to describe his mood at this time. Because he really crossed into a very strange and somewhat familiar world, Hokage World. The reason why I am a little familiar is that Mo Yu has seen the animation, Naruto, especially the scene in front of him, which is the extremely familiar Fire Country Konoha Hidden Village. It is worth mentioning that although this name was named after Zujian, it was thought of by his good friend Madara. When I was watching this anime, Mo Yu once even imagined whether he would have the so-called chakra in his body, and could he also open such handsome eyes as Shulunion, and tried to release the seals. Kind of innocent idea of ninjutsu. Illusion is beautiful, but reality is cruel. But starting today, his so-called fantasy is possible because he has traveled to the Naruto world. Both the boy he possessed and his name had a character for feathers, called Tokikawa Takikawa. Mo Yu subconsciously said the name, but the system's voice suddenly rang. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully unlocking the first reward of God reward system. Increased talent by 100 times, chakra is up to 100 times. Get, power of Shuhei, i.e. one-tailed chakra. Get one chance to draw. After hearing these prompts from the system, Mo Yu was sluggish. He once thought that he had heard it wrong, or that the system had a bug. If not, this reward is too awesome, right? Moreover, it is only the first reward. After staying in the same place for a long time, Mo Yu was relieved. What he didn't expect was that the system, first reward, was activated with a name. What's the difference between this and free delivery? At this time, Mo Yu just wanted to say, I like this system. Because of this, Mo Yu determined one thing, that is, the rewards just now are true, because he has seen the reward information on the panel. God reward system, first reward, has been unlocked. 1 open black lens bracket increased talent by 100 times close black lens bracket advertisement 2 open black lens bracket chakra up to 100 times close black lens bracket 3 open black lens bracket the power of keeping cranes close black lens bracket, i.e. one-tailed chakra 4 open black lens bracket unlocked close black lens bracket, unlocked in the second stage, lottery chance, 1 time. Unlocked, second reward, conditions, 1 kill, Mizuki, 2 kill, Peachland never cut. Mo Yu took a look, it was not difficult to unlock the second reward. Because of this, Mo Yu is now very much looking forward to what the second reward will bring to him. At this time, Mo Yu fell into a beautiful fantasy. Not surprisingly, the name, Takikawa Tokiba, will surely shock the entire ninja world in the future. Just as Mo Yu longed for it, a voice suddenly rang in his ears. Shi Yu, why are you in a daze? The graduation exam is about to begin. When the voice fell, a familiar face appeared in front of Mo Yu's eyes, making him startled immediately. Because the person who came is not someone else, it is Naruto Uzumaki. Takiwa Takikawa and Naruto Uzumaki are classmates, not only that, they are basically the same. So far, they have only mastered the basic physical skills, simple physical skills, and introductory transformation skills, but they have not mastered the more advanced clone skills. Because of this, Naruto likes to play with Shi Yu. There may be another reason, both of them are orphans. But this is only temporary. Once Naruto steals the Book of Seal, the latter's life trajectory will be completely changed. As for Takiwa Takikawa, his life is still ordinary. Can he be promoted to Jongnin in the future is a question? But now it's different, because of the arrival of Mo Yu. His life and his destiny will be rewritten. Chapter 2. After many thoughts flashed in his mind, Mo Yu also murmured. Mo Yu, Shi Yu, maybe this is destined. Well, from today, my name is Takagawa Tokiha. It's just that Shiyu didn't expect that he just passed the Naruto World and ran into the graduation exam. As far as he knew, as long as he passed the graduation exam of the ninja school, he would be able to successfully become a ninja. At this point, Shiyu looked forward to it. Let's go together, Naruto urged. Shiyu nodded and then went to the ninja school with Naruto. Originally, Shiyu was still worried about whether he would pass the graduation exam this time, but now he doesn't have to worry about it. Because he is already a genius now, moreover, he also has the chakra of Ichigo Morizaru, so the so-called graduation examination is already a pediatrics for him. After a while, the two successfully arrived at the ninja school, and Shiyu met the other 8 of Konoha 12 Xiaoqiang in the class. Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, Hinata Hyuga, Ino Yamanaka, Inazukaga, Shiono Yu, Shikamaru Nara, and Aki Mitsuji. In addition to the 8 of them in Naruto, the other 3 are also very popular in the anime. They are Lee Luke, Tianshin and Hyuga Neji, but because they are one term higher than Naruto and others, they have already graduated from ninja school and become Sha Ninja. As for Sai, he can barely be regarded as the 13th Xiaoqiang. Of course, in addition to seeing Sasuke, Nijuja, Hinata and others, Shiyu also saw some other fresh faces. Like Shiyu, they were all mediocre students. And the teacher who taught Toki in them was Konoha Nakanobu, Amino Iluka. I still have a good impression of Iluka Tokiha, not only because he is now his own teacher, but also because the anime character is very likable. Not long after Shiyu and Naruto were in position, Iruka's voice also sounded. Today is the day of the graduation exam, are you ready? All right. Except for Toki and Sasuke, who is not talkative, the rest of the class responded loudly. Especially Naruto, a troublemaker, shouted loudly, for fear that others would not be able to hear it. Then, start the graduation exam now. The person who will be called by name will come to the next classroom. By the way, the question for this exam is the art of clone, so prepare yourself. The technique of avatar. The phantom condensed by the use of chakra is one of the basic ninjutsu. Roll. Not aggressive, but can be used to confuse opponents. Only by mastering the art of clone can you master the more advanced clone technique on the basis of this ninjutsu in the future. For example, the most common, shadow clone technique, wind demon shuriken shadow windmill, etc., and these are ninjutsu with entities. In addition, after you master the attribute changes, you can also perform a stronger, 5-element clone technique. For example, the art of wood clone, the art of moisture body, the art of earth clone, and so on. When hearing the skill of clone test, most people did not panic, except for Naruto and a small number. Ah, what a coincidence, it just happens to be the ninjutsu I'm not good at. Naruto stretched his face between the words, and then turned to look at Shiyu. However, he was surprised to find that the latter today is not as nervous as he used to practice. On the contrary, especially calm. I said Shiyu, the test question is, the art of clone, aren't you worried? What's the use of worrying, and worrying won't let you pass the assessment. That's what it said. Advertisement Naruto in the words was stunned, and then said with a bitter face. Now that the matter is up to now, you can only resign yourself to fate. And between the two talks, the exam has already begun. The first one, Sasuke Uchiha. The second one, Hyuga Hinata. Soon, Sasuke, Hinata, and Sakura all passed the graduation exam successfully and obtained the Ninja Guard. Obtained, Ninja Guard. This thing means that they are already a ninja. Naruto was very envious of this scene. Next, Tokikawa Takikawa. Hearing this voice, Naruto also encouraged him. Shiyu, come on, I believe you can. Should be no problem. Shiyu's answer surprised Naruto, because the latter has never been as confident as he is today. Not only Naruto, but Sasuke, Sakura and others were stunned. Undoubtedly, it was the first time they met with such a confident Shiyu. Immediately afterwards, Shiyu walked out of the classroom under the gaze of everyone, and arrived at the examination room next door after a few seconds. There were only 2 people in the classroom in the examination room. The first was Iluka, and the second was Iluka's friend, Mizuki. And this person is also the one who made Naruto steal the Book of Seals. He is a sinister villain who was later used as a test product by the Oshimaru. Although he was not dead, he has since become a useless person. However, he does have a nice lover named Shun. Seeing Shiyu, Iluka had no hope at all. As the former teacher, Shiyu's strength could not be more clear to him. In the practice 3 days ago, the latter couldn't even condense a chakra clone. After seeing Shiyu for a while, Iruka immediately said, Shiyu, you can start when you are ready. Hearing that, Shiyu didn't talk nonsense, and directly put on the handprint of the operation style, feeling the flow of chakra in his body. Immediately afterwards, there was a low drink from his throat. The technique of Avatar. The 3rd chapter is nothing but a blockbuster. Bang! As a cloud of white smoke dissipated, both Iruka and Mizuki were taken aback by the scene in front of them. Because at this time, more than one person was reflected in their eyes, but dozens of them, and all of them were Shiyu. In other words, these are the products that Shiyu condensed with chakras. The number of clones represents a person's chakra volume and subsequent potential, which is also the reason why the graduation exam of the ninja school is set up with the art of clone. Under normal circumstances, the number of chakra clones that have just graduated is basically between 3 and 10, which is the standard. In the future, as their strength improves, the more chakras can condense, but it will also reach a limit. Because how many chakras can be stored in a person's body is innate and cannot be changed. Once the chakra stored in the body is exhausted, the human body will fall into a state of vain. Because chakra is a product of the fusion of physical power and mental power, which is the foundation of life. For example, Uchiha Madara, who should have died, has lived for more than 100 years and has not died because of outdoor golem, providing him with chakras. In the end, it was because of his plan that he had all laid out his plan, so he took the initiative to break the connection with the outside golem, and died on his own initiative. Therefore, if a person forcibly exhausts all the chakras in the human body, there is only one result, which is death. For example, Kakashi, have tree 5 or 5 open, Nagato, Chi and I mother-in-law, etc. They all died because they exhausted all the chakras in their bodies. This is why the multi-shadow clone technique was listed as a forbidden technique by the first generation, thousands of hands. Because this ninjutsu will evenly distribute the chakras of a person, a careless one can easily cause a ninja to die immediately after casting it. As for Naruto, it was because they belonged to the Whirlpool clan, and they possessed extremely large chakras. But with the huge chakra alone, if the talent is not enough, it would be in vain. At the age of students like Shiryu and Naruto, the amount of chakras that can be stored in their bodies is limited, and those who can condense more than 10 chakra clones are genius students. Advertisement: the more condensed, the more enchanting this person is. Whether it's the clone art or other ninjutsu, Chakrado does not do it alone, it also requires a great understanding of ninjutsu. The higher the attainments of ninjutsu, the stronger the release. Originally, Shi Julian was exhausting to gather a clone, but after he was bound to the god-level reward system, he had increased his talent by 100 times, and he had fully understood the mystery of the technique of clone. Only then did dozens of avatars all at once condensed. Of course, this result is closely related to the 100 times improvement of chakra, and the two are indispensable. Moreover, this number is the result of Mo Yu's deliberate control, because the area of the classroom is so large. Otherwise, it will not be difficult for the number to exceed 100. Look in front of you, there were dozens of identical Takagawa Tokiha, while Iruka said, "Mizuki, you hit me." What? I want to know if I am dreaming now. It's no wonder that Iruka had this idea, because in his memory, Takiwa's aptitude was mediocre, and he belonged to the crane tail level just like Naruto. But now, several dozen clones were condensed at once, which undoubtedly made Shiryu a student of the top genius level. Can this not shock him? Iruka, to be honest, I can't believe this fact. The Mizuki in the words also looked surprised, and his surprise also contained a little bit of jealousy. Although he concealed it well, he was still caught by Shiryu. Mizuki's talent is generally the same as that of Iruka, both of which belong to the middle and lower aptitudes. Iruka is content with reality, but he is unwilling to be ordinary, which is why he wants Naruto to steal the Book of Seal. The two were immersed in confusion, and it was not until Shiryu's voice sounded that they were called back from it. "Teacher Iruka, is it all right? But, it's okay." In response, Iruka also picked up a piece of Ninja Guardian, displayed on the tabletop and announced, "Shiryu, congratulations on passing the assessment." "Thank you, teacher." Shiryu thanked him politely, and then took over the Ninja Guard from Iruka. As Shiryu left, Iruka still murmured to herself. Unexpectedly, Shiryu, who was so ordinary in the past, was a blockbuster in the graduation assessment. It really fulfilled a sentence: if you don't call it, it's a blockbuster. At the same time, when Yu returned to the classroom, some people were ready to laugh at him. However, their words stopped abruptly before they reached their lips. Nothing else, just because they saw what Shiryu was holding. Ninja Guardian, proof of passing the graduation exam. And Naruto is also the first to break the silence, because he has the best relationship with Shiryu. "Shiryu, have you passed the exam?" Originally, he thought Shiryu and him were half a cat, but now it is. Shiryu actually passed the test of the two of them least good at the technique of clone. Can this not make him shocked? Shiryu nodded, then raised the Ninja Guardian forehead in his hand. After confirming that this was not a dream, everyone looked puzzled. They really couldn't figure out how Shiryu, who couldn't even condense a chakra clone 3 days ago, passed the graduation examination. Chapter 3. Those students who had similar aptitudes to Shiryu, or even better talents than Shiryu, whispered to each other. Unexpectedly, even Shiyu's crane tail could pass the examination. It seems we have hope. Yes. Shikaru, who had a genius mind, looked at Toki's calm expression, and had 2 guesses in his heart. First, cheating. Second, sympathy. It's no wonder he would have this idea, because there are various ninja and ninjutsu scrolls in this ninja world, which can help ninjas complete some impossible ninjutsu. Therefore, he suspects that Shiryu is likely to use this item to cheat. As for the possibility of sympathy, perhaps it was because Shiryu had become resuscitated within these 3 days, and was finally able to condense a chakra clone. So Iruka gave graduation out of sympathy. However, just after Shikamaru finished the analysis, a piece of news brought by the tooth that passed the examination directly gave him a head start. "Shikamaru, Ino, you can never guess what I saw just now." "What did you see?" Ino asked curiously. "I just took a peek at Toki's grades when I took Ninja Guard. Guess how many clones of him?" 3, right? This is the minimum standard, Ino said. Shiyu's strength is obvious to all. When practicing a few days ago, even a clone could not be condensed. "I guess it was 1. Shiba is obviously more inclined to his second guess. Because Shi-Yu is an orphan, and his life is basically supported by Konoha, it is already very good to be able to maintain the status quo. How can I have the money to buy any endurance equipment? Moreover, if you cheat and catch the current situation, the consequences will be quite serious. 1. Sakura muttered, and then questioned, how can one pass the assessment? It should be because Mr. Iruka saw Shi-Yu finally condensed a clone, plus his various grades were barely qualified, which made it difficult for him to pass. Think about it carefully, if other people go in and pass or fail and come out soon, but for Toki, he stayed in it for a long time. After hearing Shikamaru's analysis, everyone felt that it made sense. However, it was denied by Yuki. Shikamaru, you guessed wrong this time, Shi-Yu's clone is neither 1, nor 3. Advertisement, is it 2? Ino said. At this time, even Sasuke, who had always been taciturn, was attracted and he couldn't help but cast his sights over. Naruto, who was very curious, couldn't wait, and urged, Ya, you mean, don't hang our appetite. That's it. Seeing everyone's impatient look, Ya no longer concealed it. 53. When this number came out, the audience was shocked, even Sasuke was no exception. Because his condensed chakra clone is only 16, but even so, he is already the most outstanding genius of this class. But now, his name of genius seems to be overshadowed by others. Ya, are you kidding me? Kozakura asked first, and Ino and others nodded because they didn't even exceed 10. Moreover, Shi-Yu's past performance was too mediocre, and they had to be questioned. Furthermore, the 53 chakra clones have not appeared since the opening of ninja school. If this is true, then you will become the strongest genius since the opening of the ninja school, which is why Iruka and Mizuki were so shocked just now. Seeing everyone's unbelief, they bulged their teeth and said, I didn't believe it in the first place, but Mr. Iruka's marking sheet is clearly written, this is what I have seen with my own eyes. The teeth between the words saw everyone still questioning, but he was a little anxious, patted his chest and continued. If you don't believe me, after the exam is over, go to teacher Iruka to verify, then you will know if I have lied. Hearing such confident words, although everyone still has doubts in their hearts, they have already begun to believe in them. Suddenly, their gazes toward Shi-Yu were a little different, even Gao Leng Sasuke, Nijuja, was no exception. If what Ya said was true, then Yu had 3 times as many clones as him, which made him feel so embarrassed that he had always thought he was the strongest in this class. The atmosphere was silent for a while, and it was Naruto, a madman who escaped from the mouth, breaking the situation. Shi-Yu, is what Ya said true? Advertisement? I said that they may not believe it, if they want to know the truth. I will go to verify it. Shi-Yu's words stunned everyone. They didn't expect that the latter, who was the only one in the past, would be reborn today, and the whole temperament became self-confident. Is it true that Ding Si said it? Did he really condense 53 chakra clones? Of course, this kind of go against the sky is undoubtedly hard to believe. And Sakura, who has always admired Sasuke, stood up and shouted, I don't believe it, in my eyes, Sasuke-kun is the strongest. I agree, Ino and some other girls also echoed. Before the matter was confirmed, they still believed that Sasuke was the strongest. No way, who said Shiba's performance on weekdays is too bad. Moreover, this guy loves to play with others on weekdays, so they won't fully believe it until things are confirmed. Upon seeing this, Naruto attacked Shi-Yu and said, I don't care if you believe it or not, anyway, I believe it unconditionally. Naruto, take a look, besides you, who else would believe this absurd thing? Sakura retorted. However, at this moment, a very shy voice sounded in the crowd, causing Kozakura's pretty face to twitch. I believe it. Everyone who heard the words looked around, and was surprised when they saw the owner of this voice, even Shi-Yu was no exception. Because this voice is not someone else, it is Hinata. P.S. Here to explain, 53 chakra clones are really not many. In the first episode of the animation, Iruka said that the other students are at least 3, and the animation is level 52. When Ebisu taught Naruto, he said that Sakura there are 5 clones, and 10 or so can be separated when all chakras are exhausted, and the protagonist chakra can be increased by 100 times. Add more rules. Add more rules. 2,000 flowers plus 1 more. 1,000 evaluation votes plus 1 more, 50 monthly tickets plus 1 more. 5 rewards plus 1 more. Well, that's it. I hope it can become a codeword machine with no emotions. I hope everyone can fulfill me. Chapter 4 at this time, the class *** is divided into 3 teams. Most people, such as Sakura and Ino, chose not to believe it, and a small group of rationalists, such as Shikamaru, chose to wait and see, but only Hinata and Naruto chose to believe in Toki. If Shiyu is not wrong, Hinata may have chosen to believe him because of Naruto. Because he and Naruto are best friends, and Naruto is the object of Hinata's love, so the latter chooses to believe him. This may be the so-called love house in Wu, but this is only Shiyu's reasoning, and as for whether this is the case, only the future will be known. Originally, Sakura, Ino and others wanted to refute Hinata, but at this time, the students who were qualified and Shiyu didn't want to get on and off return to the classroom one after another. However, they all looked downcast. Moreover, they did not have a ninja guardian in their hands, in other words, they did not pass the graduation exam. You must know that several of them have achieved much better results than Shiyu, and they are all able to condense a chakra clone. But the result? Such students did not pass the graduation examination, but Shiyu did, Doesn't this surprise them? Because of this, they became even more distrustful of what Yao said just now. Immediately afterwards, another student walked into the classroom angrily, still not forgetting to complain. It doesn't make sense. I didn't pass the examination, so why can Shiyu pass the crane tail? Because he can all condense 2 chakra clones, but still failed to pass the assessment. Seeing this, Sakura immediately stopped the group of people. I ask you, did you see Shiyu's test results just now? What do you think? People who have not passed the assessment are not eligible to come forward and receive Ninja Guard. One of them sighed, then looked at Shiyu and said, I'm pregnant with Shiyu, is that kid cheating? It is very likely that after the assessment is over, we will know if we go to teacher Ruka for verification. Several people nodded unanimously. If they couldn't figure out the matter today, they would definitely not be able to sleep after eating tonight. Advertisement. Not only them, but Sakura, Shikamaru, and Ino all share the same ideas, and even Sasuke, who has always been alone. No way, who called this thing too unbelievable? Immediately afterwards, another voice came from the classroom next door. The last one, Naruto Uzumaki. Finally, it's my turn. Naruto in the words was already nervous, because those who had the same grades as him failed. Shiyu also saw Naruto's worry and immediately said, come on. Naruto nodded heavily, and then swaggered towards the next classroom, but when he returned, he was no different from the previous few, and he looked dejected. Don't guess, it's obviously a failure, but everyone didn't care about Naruto's failure. Only Hinata glanced at Naruto. She didn't come forward to offer condolences for some reason. Yuichi, the man stepped forward and said with an ear. Naruto, don't be discouraged, I have a way to make you pass the test. Real? Shush, keep your voice down. Oh, I see. Everyone was shocked when they saw Naruto, and swept away a second of decadence. Sakura and others were also confused. They all wanted to know what Shiyu had said to Naruto. He had such a magical power that he could cheer up a person who had failed an assessment so quickly. However, before they came forward to ask, Aluka walked in from the door of the classroom at this time. Seeing the latter, everyone immediately surrounded them. Upon seeing this, Aluka also looked dumbfounded and immediately asked, what are you doing? Aruka, we want to ask you to prove one thing. As Sasuke's #1 fangirl, Sakura took the lead. Oh, what's the matter? When Aruka's voice fell, Ino was not to be outdone. Before Sakura could speak, she was the first to speak. Advertisement, it's Shiyu, did he really condense 53 Do Chakra clones? As soon as Ino said this, everyone held their breath, waiting for Aruka's answer. Aluka looked at Shiyu, then said with a pleased smile on his face. I didn't expect you to know so soon. With Aruka's confirmation, the entire class exploded in an instant, because no one thought it turned out to be true. Humph, believe it now, Ya coldly snorted, venting the unbelief of everyone just now, but at the same time, a little jealousy can be heard in his tone. This kind of emotion cannot be eliminated at this age, it is human nature. The same is true for Sasuke. Although he only lost to Tokiyu in The Art of Doppelganger, Sasuke, who has always been strong, still feels unwilling and even unhappy. First, jealousy is inevitable at this age. Second, he hates himself for not being talented enough, because he knows that if he wants to defeat his brother Uchiha Itachi, he must be even more enchanting. Needless to say, this result is obviously unacceptable to everyone except Naruto and Hinata. No one thought that Takiwa Takikawa, who had been mediocre for 6 years, would be a blockbuster in the graduation examination. Although it's just The Art of Avatar, it's enough to brag. Teacher, Shiyu usually has such poor grades. Why did he suddenly break out today? Did he have cheated? Naturally, there will be some doubts about such a high score. Don't worry, Ms. Mizuki and I can testify about this. Shiyu did not cheat. As soon as Aruka said this, it undoubtedly cut off everyone's last hope. At this moment, their eyes when they looked at Shiyu completely changed. They never thought that the object of contempt in their usual days had become the existence they could only look up to. What a ridiculous change in the roles of the two parties. After some exclamation, Aluka also murmured and said, okay, everyone sits down, I have one thing to announce. Chapter 5. All the students who pass the assessment today can enter their personal information in the archives department tomorrow. Also, the graduation briefing will be held at 9 o'clock in the morning 3 days later. After the announcement was over, Aluka turned and left, because he was anxious to report the news to the third generation of Hokage, Sarutobi Hizen. Undoubtedly, it is about Shiyu's assessment results. Shiyu also left the classroom under the envious eyes of everyone, and Naruto was with him. Because Shiyu had told him that there was a way to pass the test, so now he can't wait. Naruto asked hurriedly when he left the classroom. Shiyu, what can you do? It will be delivered by itself. There is such a good thing. Shiyu nodded, and then said, later, Ms. Mizuki will come back and tell you the method. Then you can just do it. Ms. Mizuki? Naruto looked puzzled. Correct, however, you can't let him see that you know this in advance, otherwise, he won't tell you. Hearing this, Naruto nodded heavily. For him, as long as he can pass the graduation examination, he is more important than anything else. He wants to use his strength to prove the value of his existence. Then, let's eat ramen now. Naruto suggested, it's not the time to celebrate. What you have to do now is go to a place where no one is there for a while. Why are you autistic? If the assessment fails, if you don't pretend to be unhappy, how can Ms. Mizuki tell you other methods? Shiyu, I didn't expect you to be so smart now. Naruto in the speech gave Shiyu a thumbs up and grinned. Hey, then I'm leaving. Advertisement before the feather nodded, Naruto ran away without a trace. Looking at the direction of Naruto's disappearance, Moyu muttered, the Book of Seals, it's really exciting. The Book of Seals is the scroll that sealed many forbidden arts in the first generation, but apart from the known, multi-shadow clone art, it is not known what other techniques are in it. 2 hours later, Naruto found Moyu in a hurry and still looked excited. Needless to say, Mizuki has already started to implement his plan. The reason Shiyu didn't tell Naruto the truth now was obviously because he was afraid that his character would ruin his layout, and it was indispensable to help Naruto pass the graduation assessment. Furthermore, he is also very interested in the Book of Seals. Naruto told Shiyu the method Mizuki told him, and Shiyu asked Naruto to do the same, waiting for him at his destination. After a while, Mizuki helped Naruto steal the Book of Seals smoothly, and he himself spread the news quickly. Then he just kills Naruto and then transforms into Naruto to escape Konoha, so who? He didn't know that he did it, and he could still take the Book of Seals as his own. However, he didn't know that all of this was in the calculations of the two. This first person is naturally Shiyu, and the second person is the current 3 generations of Hokage, Sarutobi Hiji. 3 generations had already seen through all of this. He knew that Mizuki had a bad heart, so he took this opportunity to make plans. Its purpose is threefold. First, let Iruka eliminate the estrangement in Naruto's heart. Second, get rid of the ambitious Mizuki. Third, let Naruto have a chance to read the Book of Seals once. Otherwise, how could the Book of Seal, placed in the office of the 3rd generation of Hokage, be easily stolen by Naruto? Advertisement. You must know that Sarutobi Hisaki was in the office at the time, but Naruto was able to get it with just one trick, the art of seduction, which is obviously unscientific. Moreover, afterwards, he did not take the initiative to chase Naruto, but allowed Naruto enough time to escape before letting some of his subordinates behave, while he himself hid in the office and used a crystal ball to peep at everything. Progress. So far, its purpose has become clear. After Naruto stole the Book of Seals, he hurried to the forest cabin designated by Mizuki. When Naruto arrived, Shiyu had been waiting here for a long time. Shiyu, I brought the Book of Seals. Oh, then I will quickly open it and take a look to see what awesome ninjutsu is in this Book of Seals. Naruto nodded heavily, and then untied the knot of the Book of Seals. Immediately afterwards, the first forbidden technique that came into view was multiple shadow clone. And next are 4 elephant seals, 2 snakes killing each other, ghoul sealing, unclean rebirth, mutual multiplication detonation talisman, 8-gate dunjia, and Izanagi, and Izanami, and so on, a series of forbidden techniques. Naruto, you can pick a few courses quickly, it is good. After a few choices, Naruto picked the simplest one of which was the multi-shadow clone. This result was expected by Shiyu. First of all, other forbidden techniques are too difficult, and Jian is too complicated. Secondly, the graduation test is the skill of clone, so Naruto thinks that as long as he learns this ninjutsu, he will definitely pass the test. Shiyu, don't you practice? I just look at it. Shiyu replied, and then said, you practice as soon as possible, and you should be able to pass the test when Ms. Mizuki comes. Hearing this, Naruto nodded and started practicing. Shiyu started to study the Book of Seals with great concentration. With his current talent, it is impossible to learn these forbidden arts in such a short period of time. So, what he has to do now is to write down all the skills. Chapter 6. More than half an hour later, Shiyu had already memorized all the ninjutsu in his heart, and seeing Naruto still practicing, he thought that he still had a chance to draw a lottery. At this point, he directly opened the lottery interface. Except for a blue box above the interface, there's the inventory below. If it is an accident, the things obtained from the lottery will be stored here. Immediately afterwards, Shiyu clicked the Start button in the blue frame with anxiety, and the items in the frame scrolled quickly in the next second. Shiyu vaguely saw several fire chakra, reincarnation eyes, illusory skills and other gods, spiral pills, Ergoyu writes round eyes. Needless to say, there is basically nothing bad in it. While Shiyu waited for a while, the frame finally froze on a pair of eyes, a pair of red eyes with 3 commas. When he saw this result, Shiyu couldn't help being excited. He didn't expect to get something amazing in the first lottery. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining 3 Guyu Jade writing round eyes. With the sound of the system sounding, Shiyu confirmed that this was not a dream, and he drew the Xiaolunyan, that he wanted to destroy the dream. Moreover, it is the ultimate of the first state of Xiaolunyan. Seeing the 3 Guyu writing round eyes written under the frame, Shiyu calmed down his excitement and clicked to confirm. Then the 3 Guyu writing round eyes appeared in the inventory below. Shiyu didn't hesitate and used it directly. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully opening 3 Guyu writing round eyes. With the sound of the system, Shiyu's eyes suddenly changed color, from black to red, and 3 comma-shaped Go-yu were evenly distributed. The evolution of the ordinary writing wheel eye can be divided into 3 stages. The main morphological change is reflected in the increase of the jade in the eyeball. When the eyes are first opened, there is only 1 Guyu in the eyeball, With the enhancement of the chakra and the increase in the proficiency and stimulation of the pupil technique, the ordinary writing wheel eye will continue to evolve. At each stage of evolution, the number of Go Jade in the eyeballs will increase by 1, up to 3. The 3 Go Jade writing wheel eyes are the highest form of ordinary writing wheel eyes. The more Guyu, the stronger the ability. In addition to the inside eyes, to see the chakra veins, to see through all the subtle movements and formations of the opponent, and the hypnotizing eyes, to release illusions to control the opponent, it can also replicate and see through the non-blood and bounds of forbearance, body, magic 3 skills. Advertisement. This ability is really a bit abnormal, it is worthy of being one of the 3 pupil skills. At this time, Mo Yu looked at Naruto, and could have a perfect insight into the latter's chakra veins, subtle movements and nodding techniques. At this time, Naruto focused on practicing multi-shadow clone art. As for other things, with the foundation of clone art, his progress was pretty good. Shiyu, I think I almost learned this ninjutsu. Then take a break. I think so too. Naruto chuckled, then collapsed on the ground and rested. Get up, obviously exhausted. Practicing ninjutsu requires constant consumption of chakras, so long-term practice can easily make people tired. Call out. At this moment, a sound of breaking through the skies suddenly came from the forest. Immediately afterwards, a figure appeared in front of the two of them, and they were quite familiar with that face. The person who came is no one else, it is Iruka, who saw Naruto, wanted to reprimand Naruto, the troublemaker, but when he saw Shiyu also present, he was taken aback. Before Iruka could ask, Shiyu was the first to say. Teacher Iruka, you can count it. As soon as Shiyu said this, Iruka was dumbfounded again. Hearing what the former said meant he was waiting for him here. Naruto wanted to show ninjutsu in front of Iruka, but at this moment, he was also aroused by Toki's words, and he temporarily left this time behind. Shiyu, what do you mean by this? Teacher Iruka, you and I know that you know Naruto, so if anyone can find him first, you must be the teacher. Moreover, in order for the teacher to find us faster, I left some traces along the way. Naruto was stunned when he heard Shiyu's words, advertisement. Shiyu, why do you want teacher Iruka to find us quickly? After hearing this, Iruka was also puzzled. For some reason, Shiyu today has changed a lot from the past, as if he had changed a person. If it weren't for the fact that Chakra who could perceive Shiyu had not changed, Iruka had suspected that Shiyu in front of him was a fake. The reason is very simple, because I want to expose Mizuki's evil deeds. Mizuki? Iruka gave a stunned voice, and then wondered, what does this matter have to do with Mizuki? Let Naruto tell you the answer. Naruto in the words pointed at himself, also at a loss. When Mo Yu saw this, he reminded, just tell Mr. Iruka what Ms. Mizuki told you. Oh. Naruto nodded, and immediately told Iruka about Mizuki instructing him to steal the Book of Seal. How is this possible? Iruka still looked a little disbelief in shock, because Mizuki started to be a friend from childhood. Ms. Iruka, nothing is impossible. According to time, Ms. Mizuki should be here soon. That is undoubtedly the best evidence. After the voice fell, Shiyu also explained everything to Naruto, so that the latter would be psychologically prepared. And when Mo Yu just finished explaining, dozens of wind-breaking sounds suddenly came from the forest. Call out! Call out! Call out! Immediately afterwards, the three of them saw a dozen kunai shooting at them. Chapter 7. At this moment, Shiyu, who had been wary for a long time, flashed Naruto to the side in an instant, and Iruka retreated safely because he didn't need to protect the two of them. But also because of this, Iruka once again took Shiyu's admiration, because even he was not as timely as Shiyu's reaction. Immediately afterwards, more than a dozen kuwu fell on the wooden house behind without any suspense, making a slight noise. Clang! 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 This scene made the Mizuki squatting on the trunk very surprised. Obviously, he didn't expect that Shiyu, who had just graduated and obtained the qualification for ninja, would be able to escape his sneak attack. However, in his opinion, this should be the latter's fluke. And the second thing he was surprised was why Shiyu appeared here. He didn't bother about it because he didn't understand it. Because Shiyu was a child without threat in his eyes. At this moment of thought, the corners of his mouth also showed a sharp curve. It seems that not only can we get the Book of Seals today, but we can also kill a genius evildoer, which is a double strike. Mizuki, do you know what you are talking about? Iruka yelled. Iruka, it seems that before doing these two things, you have to get rid of the guy who is getting in the way. There was no emotion in Mizuki's words, which made Iruka's heart extremely angry. While Iruka was stunned, Mizuki had already launched an offensive against him, with extremely harsh tricks, wanting to take his life. Originally, the strength of the two was comparable, but Iruka was too old-fashioned and avoided the key points of every attack. He just wanted to catch Mizuki alive and hand it over to the three generations. Advertisement. Because of this, he was doomed to lose. Boom. With a sound, Shiyu and the two saw Iruka hit a big tree, bloodstained all over their bodies, and they had lost the ability to fight. Upon seeing this, Mizuki shifted his gaze to Naruto. Naruto, hurry up and give me the scroll. Hearing this, Iruka shouted desperately. Naruto, that scroll is a dangerous thing with the first seal, absolutely can't be given to him. Teacher Iruka, don't worry, I didn't give the Book of Seals to that bad guy. After hearing Shiyu's previous explanation, Naruto already knew about Mizuki's conspiracy, and felt quite unhappy after knowing that he was being used. Hearing this, Mizuki was taken aback for a moment and then sneered. Naruto, it's useless if you hold it, let me tell you the truth, 12 years ago. No. Iruka clearly knew what Mizuki had to say. Well, shouted hysterically. However, in order to get the Book of Seals, effortlessly, Mizuki still told Naruto the truth of the 12 years, so that Naruto could relax and take the opportunity to start. As Naruto's best friend, Shiba, in order to allow the latter and Iruka to eliminate the estrangement in their hearts, he did not stop him, but waited for Mizuki to finish slowly. Anyway, Naruto will know this sooner or later. Naruto learned that the nine-tailed demon fox, who had troubled Konoha village, was sealed in her body, and she learned that the demon fox in her body killed many people, including Iruka's parents. The reason why I am hated by others. After Mizuki's words, he learned all the truth. That scroll is actually used to seal you. Advertisement. As Mizuki's voice fell, Naruto, who received a lot of information, was also lost in confusion. Mizuki, who saw the timing, threw a cross shuriken directly at Naruto. When Iruka saw this, he rushed forward recklessly. Just as the high-speed rotating cross shuriken was about to hit Iruka, the sound of a metal collision rang. Kang! Immediately, the cross shuriken was directly flew away, and with a chuckle, it was directly inserted on the large tree next to it. How can this be? This scene shocked Shuimu incomparably. He never thought that Shiyu would be able to resolve the blow with the help of Kuwu in his hand. He didn't understand until he saw the red eyes on Shiyu's face. It is also because of this that made him fall into a deep shock. He really couldn't understand why Takikawa Tokiha has the evil eyes that the Uchiha clan can only open. There was another person who had the same astonishment as him, and that was the 3 generations of Hokage, Sarutobi Hizen, who was peeping here. Looking at the figure reflected in the crystal ball, the corners of his wrinkled mouth also moved, and then he spit out 3 words. Right round eye. And between Mizuki's astonishment, Toki, who stood in front of Iruka and Naruto, said, Iruka-sensei, you have a good rest, and then leave it to me and Naruto. You and Naruto. Iruka worried. Teacher Iruka, don't worry. Shiyu turned his head between the words and gave Iruka a relieved smile, but it was this turning head that surprised Iruka. Needless to say, he also saw Shiyu's red pupil. This is what Mo Yu did deliberately, in order to be foreshadowed by the sorting 3 days later. Chapter 8. Shiyu turned his gaze to Naruto and said, Naruto, why are you still lying on the ground? Now it's our turn to protect Teacher Iruka. Hearing this, Naruto looked at Iruka, who was protecting him. His eyes also changed and became firm, and he immediately stood up from the ground. Without saying a word, he made a shadow clone gesture. Immediately afterwards, Naruto displayed the forbidden technique in the Book of Seals, multi-shadow clone technique, under the stunned eyes of Iruka and others. Bang! With a slight sound, the whole world in the forest was full of Naruto's shadows, and there were thousands of them. This scene immediately looked at everyone. Even Shiyu is no exception, because this is the first time he has seen so many physical shadow clones with his own eyes. How could? Seeing Naruto's figure all around, Mizuki couldn't calm down anymore. I thought that even if Shiyu had such evil pupils as riding wheel eyes, he should have the power to fight. After all, Shiyu had just graduated, and the latter had limited abilities in all aspects without training. He still has a high chance of winning. Even if he is lost, it is absolutely not a problem to escape with the strength of his Jongnin. But the scene now cuts off his hope. After the battle with Iruka, he had consumed most of his chakras, and now coupled with the entity-owned 1000 shadow clone, he had no chance of winning. And when Mizuki was panicked, Shiyu's voice sounded again. Mizuki, have you ever experienced despair? Seeing Mizuki with a bewildered face in front of him, Shiyu stopped talking nonsense, and remembered the key to the multi-shadow clone technique, in the Book of Seals, in his mind, and flashed through the screen of Naruto's previous practice of Juju. Immediately afterwards, there was also a low drink from his mouth. The technique of multiple shadow clones, boom. 1,000 people appeared around again, but this time it was not Naruto, but Shiyu. Shiyu's chakra has been increased by 100 times, and his body also has chakra with 1 tail of the crane, as a backing. Qianren's shadow clone is not a problem for him at all. Advertisement. Seeing this scene, Iruka and others were stunned, and they couldn't help but say a word in their hearts. When did forbidden art become so worthless? Shiyu was able to cast multi-shadow clone. They could understand, after all, the latter possessed the legendary sharing eyes, and could replicate ninjutsu. But multi-shadow clone is a forbidden technique, and not everyone can perform it. If there are not enough chakras in the body, the result of forced use is very likely to die directly. Naruto's shock was different from them, because he still didn't know the disadvantages of this ninjutsu. When he was shocked, Yugen had never practiced this ninjutsu. How did he master it? No way, he still doesn't understand. Shulunyan. Seeing Naruto froze in place, Shiyu also reminded out loudly. Naruto, don't froze, K him. Good. Immediately afterwards, under the command of Shiyu and Naruto, the 2000 shadow clones directly obliterated Mizuki in an overwhelming manner. After a continuous wailing, Mizuki has been beaten by Shiyu's 2000 shadow clones beyond recognition, and he can't die anymore. Originally, Shiyu could keep him alive, but the system made him die. Moreover, if he died, Mo Yu would be able to explain everything. Otherwise, once the 3 generations asked him how he knew about Mizuki's conspiracy, he wouldn't be really good at lying. As Mizuki died of air, the sound of the system slowly sounded. Ding! Killing Mizuki is complete. After hearing the sound of the system, Shiyu was also happy in his heart. He finally completed the first task of unlocking the second reward. Then, the next goal is to not cut the peach land again. With Mizuki's defeat, Iruka finally came back to his senses in astonishment, looking at Toki and Naruto in front of him. His expression was a bit sluggish. Especially when he looked at Shiyu, he seemed to know the latter for the first time. No way, Shiyu's performance today is difficult to connect him with the only deity in daily life. But now that the facts are in sight, Iruka can only believe it. Immediately afterwards, under the enlightenment of Iruka and Shiyu, Naruto gradually walked out of the confusion just now, and Iruka also completely untied his heart knot. As for Mizuki's death, Iruka also looked away. Advertisement. Although the latter was his friend, this relationship broke down after his desire to put him to death just now. Finally, Iruka gave Naruto his open black lens bracket ninja guard close black lens bracket, accompanied by a blessing. Congratulations, you graduated, Naruto, congratulations, Shiyu echoed. So far, his plan has been successfully completed. Mizuki was arrested, Naruto successfully graduated, and he also read the Book of Seals all the time, which can be described as killing 3 birds with 1 stone. To celebrate, I invite you to go ramen. Teacher, you'd better take care of the injury before talking, Shiyu said. I just ran out of chakras, these are all skin injuries. Under Iruka's insistence, the 3 also moved towards the Ile ramen restaurant. As for the tragedy here, someone will fix it. In Muian village, Hokage office, the 3 generations of Hokage looked at the crystal ball on the table and looked at the back of Shiyu and the 3 of them gradually moving away, with a bright smile on their faces. Immediately, his gaze fell on Shiyu's body and he murmured to himself. I don't know what is the relationship between this son and the Uchiha clan. Because there are only 2 ways to right wheel eye. First, rely on transplantation, such as Kakashi, Danzo, etc. Second, if you start by blood, you also have the blood of the Uchiha clan. And there is an obvious difference between these 2 methods, that is, the former cannot be closed when getting Chilunyan, which is why Kakashi and Danzo both blindfolded their eyes. However, Shiyu's Jalunyan can be opened and closed freely, so the 3 generations naturally classified it as the second type. Because of this, he thought that Shiba and Uchiha must be inextricably linked, but even if the 3 generations want to break their heads, they definitely. Unexpectedly, the reason Shiyu has Xiaolunyan, Chapter 9. The next day, the better Shiyu and Naruto go to the ninja building to enter data together, which is the so-called ninja login form. After the completion, the 3 generations summoned Shiyu. First of all, he was very curious about why Shiyu was able to open the writing wheel. Secondly, he wanted to know how Shiyu discovered Mizuki's conspiracy. Shiba's explanation for writing round eyes is, maybe my ancestors married a member of the Uchiha clan. This explanation is very reasonable. After all, the phenomenon of returning to ancestors is not uncommon. Then how did you know about Mizuki's conspiracy? 3 generations continued to ask. It's very simple, because Mizuki also approached me, but was rejected by me, so he went to Naruto who is simple-minded. Shiyu said this to Naruto and Iruka last night, because now Mizuki is dead, everything Shiyu said is right. This is no evidence. After some conversation, the 3 generations gave Shiyu a 4 character evaluation. You are excellent, Grandpa Naruto, I'm flattered by your praise. Shiyu's polite words just fell. With a boom, suddenly someone broke into the door, followed by a loud shout. Grandpa, let's have a fight. Hearing this voice, Shiyu already knew who was coming. Undoubtedly, it must be that funny boy like Naruto, grandson of 3 generations of Naruto, Sarutobi Konohamaru. However, Konohamaru was unsteady and fell directly to the ground, and there was a wailing sound. Ah, it hurts me. Immediately afterwards, Konohamaru's tutor Ebisu also appeared in Toki's vision. For this person, Shiyu doesn't have a lot of affection. And he was not interested in Konohamaru, this little boy, so he left directly with the 3rd generation. Grandpa Hokage, if nothing happens, I'll leave first. It is good. Advertisement. Seeing the 3rd generation nodded, Shiyu turned around and left. And Konohamaru, who stood up, saw Shiyu and couldn't help but curiously asked, Grandpa, who is that person? Not waiting for the 3 generations to reply, Ebisu on the side said, in his tone of praise for Shiyu. Master Son, he is the genius boy who condensed 53 clones of ninja school this year, Takagawa Tokiha. A genius boy? Konohamaru let out a stunned voice, and thought in his heart. Grandpa summoned him alone. Is it because he wants to cultivate a new generation of Hokage? No, I absolutely can't let this happen. The position of Hokage belongs to me. After a short period of time, Konohamaru immediately said to the 3 generations, Grandpa, our competition is temporarily postponed. When the voice fell, Konohamaru moved away from the direction where Yu had left, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. After bidding farewell to the 3 generations, Yu reunited with Naruto who was waiting outside. They agreed to eat ramen again. This time it was Naruto's treat. In the latter's view, it is obviously impossible for him to pass the graduation examination without Yu. In this regard, Shiyu naturally did not refuse. However, just as they left, a follower came on their backs. Needless to say, he is Konoha Pill. Shiyu didn't know why this little kid had to keep up with the two of them. He hadn't beaten him before. Logically, he wouldn't admire himself because of it. However, destiny is always so strange, as if God has destined this event to happen. Boy, why are you following us sneakily? I'm not talking to you. You kid opened your eyes and talked nonsense. Believe it or not, I'll beat you up. I'm the grandson of 3 generations of Hokage, dare you to give me a try, Konohamaru said confidently. I don't manage these, idiot. Naruto, whose voice fell off, punched Konohamaru directly on the forehead, which revealed the reason. It turned out that he had followed Shiyu to challenge Shiyu and let the latter retreat. However, Shiyu was directly ravaged by Shiyu, but Konohamaru, with a blue nose and swollen face, not only did not hate Shiyu, but instead recognized Shiyu as the boss. Advertisement this surprised Shiyu, so he gave the mess to Naruto, and Naruto became the second child. After eating the ramen, the 3 of them gradually became acquainted with each other. Immediately afterwards, after Naruto dazzled his seduction art, also known as harem art, Konohamaru was very interested, and Naruto was also very happy to start teaching, which made Shiyu a lot of food, a glimpse of happiness. As for the old man who came to see Konohamaru, Ebisu couldn't stand Naruto's combination of multi-shadow clone art and seduction art. If Shiba hadn't been an expert in the film, he would have already resisted. It is estimated that it is difficult to withstand. This day is destined to be spent in laughter. 2 days passed in a flash, and the 3rd day was early in the morning. Shiyu and Naruto came to the class one after another. Today is the day when the graduation briefing meeting was held. Needless to say, the grouping is about to start today. When Shiyu and others saw Shiyu, their eyes were different from the past, and there was no disdain of the past, and some girls had already secretly admired Shiyu. And when they saw Naruto appearing here, they couldn't help but be taken aback. Naruto, why is he here? Yes, doesn't it mean that only those who pass the graduation exam are eligible to participate in this briefing? Hearing this, Naruto said proudly, I will appear here, of course, because I also passed the graduation exam. Look. Naruto in the words pointed to Ninja Guardian on his forehead. Seeing that only Sasuke had 2 vacancies left, Takiwa and Naruto sat directly beside the latter. For Naruto, Sasuke is not too cold, but Shiyu is different. Sasuke's scores in other subjects are all among the best, and they are basically ranked first. I thought he would graduate with the first score in all subjects this year. However, he never expected that an enchantment such as Shiyu would appear in the final graduation examination, and he abruptly took the first place in the clone technique subject. At this moment, Sakura's voice suddenly rang in the ears of Tokiba and others. Naruto, get out of the way and give me your position. Chapter 10. Because Naruto likes Sakura, how can he do it all the time? Although this was not to Shiyu, it made him very unhappy, because Naruto was his best friend. There are so many places here, why do you have to make room for Naruto? Shiyu glanced at Sakura between the words, and the sharp eyes of Sakura was taken aback for a moment, and a touch of horror suddenly rose in his heart. If Shiyu was still the crane tail of the old one, Kozakura would absolutely refute it, but now the former has been reborn, how she, a little girl who knows nothing about the world, would have received Shiyu's eagle eye gaze. When she was at a loss, Iruka's voice interrupted her embarrassment. Everyone is doing it well, it means it's about to start. Hearing this, Kozakura could only find a place to sit down, but her gaze kept staring at Shiyu, apparently hating him. Naruto, who saw this scene, gave Shiyu a big thumbs up and said, Shiyu, you can do it, you can actually live in Kosakura. Some girls have to come hard, is it this way? Naruto murmured to himself, hey, I will try if I have a chance. If Naruto really does this, then his fate is doomed. Because his nemesis in the first half of his life was Sakura, don't ask me why, ask his Kishimoto. At this time, Iruka was talking about the necessary knowledge to become a ninja and the life they would face next. From now on, you will become ninjas alone, however, you are still newcomers to Shinin. The real test is yet to come. The village will assign you tasks in the future, and you will also follow the guidance of the appointed teacher of Shinin in groups of 3. Under his leadership, complete the tasks assigned by the village. Hearing that they would be divided into groups of 3, everyone secretly figured out, hoping to be in a group with someone. For example, most girls want to go with Sasuke, Naruto wants to go with Sakura, and Hinata wants to go with Naruto. Advertisement in the expectations of everyone, Aluka also announced. In order to balance the strength of each group, I have divided your groups into groups, the first group, the second group. The 7th group, Takiwa Takagawa, Naruto Uzumaki, and Sasuke Uchiha. As soon as Iruka's voice fell, Naruto and Sakura were instantly upset. What Sakura lost was that he could not be grouped with Sasuke. Naruto was displeased and he could not be grouped with Sakura. At least he still had his best friend Shiba as a companion, but Sasuke was a rival in love with him. And among these students, there was another person who felt a little lost, and that was Hinata, but he did not show it, she buried her inner thoughts deeply. Naruto is a quick-witted person, can't hide anything at all. Teacher Iruka, why should I be such an outstanding student in a group with Sasuke? You are ashamed to say that, among all the graduates, Sasuke had the best grades in all the other subjects except for the chapter art. And you are the last one. I made this decision to balance the strength of the teams. Despite what Iruka said, in fact, the candidates for this group have already been fixed. The three generations learned that Shiyu and Naruto are good friends, and they can enlighten Naruto very well, and even help the latter to improve their strength. Sarutobi Hizen once promised the four generations, Heifeng Shuiman, to take good care of Naruto, but because Naruto's identity could not be exposed, plus the nine-tailed monster fox in his body, he was too lazy to have little childhood at all. Now, he can only do this. As for why Takiwa and Sasuke are separated together, it is because they both have Shulunyan, and can communicate and inspire with each other. Moreover, their mentor has also been set up internally, and with him, they can better teach them how to use the Blood Wheel Eye. Undoubtedly, this person is Kakashi Hagi, known as the Copy Ninja. Alternatively, there are Kadian and 5-5 opening of Flag Wood. Furthermore, the three generations also hope that Shiyu and Sasuke can become friends, and Shiyu can help the latter to come out of the shadow of the genocide. Because Shiyu's other subjects' results are also at the bottom, but because of the fact that the subject of Hokages is against the sky, his average score is below the average. Because of this, no one will gossip about this kind of distribution. Advertisement at this point, the seventh group is all boys. If nothing happens, the days after this are probably full of love. As for Sakura, she can only be randomly assigned to a group. She can only be sacrificed for her radiant love and great cause. When she becomes Tsunade's apprentice in the future, let's talk about it after she learns the skills. Okay, let's announce the 8th group, Hinata, Shinoyuki, and Inazukaga. Group 9. The 10th group, Nara Shikamaru, Yamanaka Ino, and Akimi Mitsuji. After grouping all the students, Iruka also coughed slightly, adjusted his tone, and continued. In the afternoon, I will introduce your respective Sharingan instructors to everyone. Disband now. Half a day's time is like a white horse passing a gap, and it will arrive in the blink of an eye. At this time, Toki, Naruto, and Sasuke were already waiting in the class. Naruto and Sasuke did not know who their mentors were yet, but Toki knew it well. Naruto, how about we make a bet? What are you betting on? If I can guess who the instructor of our 7th group is, you can invite me to eat ramen. If I can't guess, then I will invite you. How about? Naruto has heard such good things, so naturally he will not miss it. Really? That's natural. Takiwa Takagawa has always kept his promises? Okay, I'll bet with you. Naruto in the words, his inner thoughts at this time are, Shiyu, this fool, I will win this time, ha ha ha. Chapter 11, go ahead, guess who it is? Hearing this, Shiba pretended to be thinking, rubbing his chin, and then said, my instinct tells me that our instructor should be Kakashi Hagi, who is known as Copy Ninja. Copy Ninja. Naruto murmured, obviously still not knowing what this name means. They have just graduated now, and there is excuse for not knowing this information, just like the current Sasuke still doesn't know that Kakashi has Shulunyan. Shiyu, you can't go back after saying it, certainly. Okay, then wait for the result now. Seeing Shiyu and Naruto talking and laughing, Sasuke almost couldn't help but blend in a little bit, but in the end he was stifled by the obsession in his heart. After the three of them waited for a while, Kakashi finally appeared. And Naruto's blackboard eraser on the door was slammed on his head without any suspense. This scene made Naruto the troublemaker laugh. Ha ha ha, I've been recruited. When Kakashi saw this, he was stunned, but he didn't appear to rise at all, and murmured to himself. How can I put it? The first impression you gave me was, it's annoying. Hearing these words, Naruto was depressed for a while, and immediately recovered in the next second. Teacher, are you called Kakashi Hagi? Kakashi was also taken aback when he heard that. He didn't expect Naruto to guess his identity all at once. It is difficult to understand that Iruka told him. Kakashi couldn't help but think so. How did you know? As Kakashi uttered these words, everyone looked at Shiyu with an incredible expression. Advertisement. F***K. Shiyu, I was blinded by you. To Naruto's astonishment, Shiyu continued to pretend to be garlic. What is Meng? I am obviously an unknown prophet. Seeing Shiyu and the others, Kakashi was also bewildered, completely unclear of what happened. It wasn't until Naruto had informed him of the incident that he suddenly realized that when he looked at Shiyu, a word flashed in his heart. Is it really a coincidence? However, he did not take such trivial matters to heart, because such things can be known in advance. After all, this is not an undetectable secret. However, there was one thing that shocked him, that 3 generations told him that Shiyu had Shulunyan, which was obviously unexpected. Immediately afterwards, Kakashi glanced over Shiyu's trio and then said, since you all know who I am, let me introduce myself first. My name is Hama Kakashi. What I like, keep it secret for now. My dream doesn't seem to be anything. As for interest, it's a lot. Well, it's your turn now. Kakashi opens immediately after the head. Shiyu and the 3 also introduced themselves one after another, so that they had a certain understanding of each other. As for what Kakashi likes, others don't know, but Shiyu, as a traverser, knows nothing better. That thing is a book called Intimate Paradise. This book is a banned book not suitable for children. It was published by Jiraiya when he was 42 years old. Jiraiya also gave Kakashi Intimate Paradise as a birthday gift on Kakashi's 18th birthday. When Jiraiya was 50 years old, because the sales of Intimate Paradise were so good, he published the sequel of Intimate Paradise, Intimate Violence. But now the 26-year-old Kakashi is still its loyal reader. The Intimacy series is a man's favorite, but also Kakashi's favorite. After the introduction of the three, Kaka also said, I have a general understanding of your situation, so let's stop here today and start the mission tomorrow. Task. What task? Naruto jumped up first. Although Sasuke seemed calm, he still had expectations in his heart, because he could only continue to grow stronger only if he kept going on missions. Advertisement only Shiyu is as stable as Mount Tai. Because he knows what the task of tomorrow is. Moreover, he has already figured out how to deal with it. Survival drill. It was a word that came out of Kakashi's mouth, making Naruto very puzzled. Survival exercise? Is it the exercise we often do in the ninja school? This is not an ordinary exercise, I will be your opponent. Kakashi replied Naruto, and then continued. Let me tell you the truth, the purpose of this act is to test whether you are qualified to be the ninja. Those who fail to pass will be sent back to school for training again. Finally, I would like to remind you that this test is extremely difficult, and the elimination rate is as high as 60% or more. Hearing Kakashi's words, Naruto was stunned. At this moment, he has an urge to beat others. What the hell? I finally graduated from the ninja school. What qualifications are I going to do now? Why'd I have to take a graduation exam? That's just the first level to become Sharingan, nothing more. Kakashi answered Naruto's question again, then looked at the three of Shiyu, and his lazy voice sounded again. Okay, go back and get ready. See you tomorrow at the exercise site. I will make your judgment on whether you are qualified or not. By the way, don't forget to bring ninja tools. Reminder, you'd better not eat breakfast, or you may vomit at that time. When the voice fell, Kakashi disappeared into the vision of the three, while Naruto fell into distress. Obviously, he was worried that he would not be able to pass tomorrow's assessment. At this moment, Shiyu patted him on the shoulder and said, Don't worry, I already know how to pass the assessment. Naruto and Sasuke were shocked as soon as these words came out. Chapter 12. Shiyu. What is the method? Naruto asked curiously, and Sasuke on the side also pricked his ears, very interested in it. Because he must pass this test and become a true ninja. Only in this way can he become stronger. If he couldn't even pass the test of Shinobu, he would not be qualified to stand in front of Itachi. Hey, it won't work if you say it, you will know it during the assessment tomorrow. Go, we have to prepare something now. When the voice fell, Shiyu looked at Sasuke and asked, Sasuke, do you want to be together? Hearing this, Sasuke was stunned. Although he was very curious, his emotion was still suppressed forcibly. I will pass the assessment with my own strength. If that's the case, see you at the exercise site tomorrow. After returning to Sasuke, Shiyu looked at Naruto. Naruto, let's go. Good luck. Immediately afterwards, the two of Shiyu gradually drifted away under Sasuke's gaze. Seeing the two disappearing backs, a heartstring in Sasuke's heart was also touched. Maybe it was the emotion that the boy should have, but it was buried in his heart. Early the next morning, Sasuke and Naruto arrived at the exercise site early in the morning and waited, but they were missing Shiba. They thought that Shiba had overslept. Naruto was also quite worried because of this, and wanted to call the latter. And just after he rose out of this thought, Shiyu finally appeared. But what puzzles Naruto is that Shiyu still holds a book in his hands. In Naruto's memory, the latter doesn't seem to like reading. How come you are holding a book today, and it is still such an important occasion? Naruto, the second stunner, obviously couldn't understand it for a while. As for Sasuke, who didn't understand Toki, even more so, he was just surprised at most. Advertisement in Shiyu's book was not prepared to pass the assessment, but to win the bell in Kakashi's hands, because Shiyu already knew the method of passing the assessment. Shiyu, you can count it. Is there any problem? Don't you know that you were 1 hour late? Fortunately, Mr. Kakashi hasn't arrived yet. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. Don't worry, I have calculated that he will be late. When Shiyu said this, both Naruto and Sasuke were taken aback, their eyes filled with doubts. Shiyu, do you really have the ability to be a prophet? It is no wonder that Naruto would ask like this, because he lost the bet yesterday inexplicably, and a bowl of Yile ramen made his life struggling even worse. That's because I did my homework in advance. Homework? Naruto let out a stunned voice, and continued. What homework? Of course it's information about teacher Kakashi. From the data I collected, I found that he would be late for every assessment, and the time was fixed, it was 1 hour. I heard Moyu's words, Naruto and then Sasuke realized that it would be unbelievable to say that Shiyu really had the power of an unknown prophet. In the ninja world, there seems to be no other person except the fairy, Toadmaru, of Miaomu Mountain, who possesses this ability. Moreover, the latter can only predict an approximation. Not only that, I also discovered a terrible secret. How terrible is it? Seeing Naruto's look of expectation, Shiyu also said, I unexpectedly discovered that none of the students who were assessed by Kakashi teacher has passed the exam. What? Naruto and Sasuke were shocked at this time. They thought that the assessment might be severe, but they didn't expect it to be so difficult. After some misunderstanding, Naruto was also worried. Shiyu, do you think we can still pass the assessment? Hey, don't worry if you have me. Not long after Shiyu's voice fell, a voice rang from behind him. Advertisement. Oh, it looks like it's all here. It was not someone else who was speaking, but Kakashi who had just arrived. After hearing this, the three Shiyu looked at the latter, while Naruto complained. Kakashi, you are late. In fact, this is also part of the assessment, intended to exercise your patience. Kakashi casually found an excuse for himself, but it was because it was too late to watch In Love in Paradise last night. His chakras are relatively small. In addition to part of the reason for maintaining the Shillunion, some may be spent on other things. After all, he has now seen the middle volume of In Love in Paradise. Immediately afterwards, Kakashi took out an alarm clock from his backpack, set the time to 12 noon, and then placed it on the tree stump beside it. Then he took out a string of bells, and said to the three of Shiyu, I have 2 bells here, it is your task to snatch them from me before 12 noon. As long as you grab one, it's qualified. If you don't get the bell at the specified time, you won't be eligible for lunch, and you'll have to be tied to a wooden stake and watch me eat lunch. At this moment, Naruto and Sasuke finally knew why Kakashi had to give a warm reminder when Kakashi was leaving yesterday. They had already made their calculations. At this moment, an untimely voice sounded, belch. Undoubtedly, this was the sound of hiccups, and for this reason, the eyes of Kakashi's trio fell on Shiyu at this time. Upon seeing this, Shiyu smiled and said immediately, Sorry, I ate a lot in the morning. As soon as these words came out, Naruto and Sasuke both wanted to cry, regretting why they listened to Kakashi. Kakashi was the one who was most surprised. He took so many students with him, and everyone was very obedient. It is also because of this that they cannot pass the assessment. But now, a different kind of Shiyu emerged, which made him become interested in the former. Chapter 13. After the atmosphere was silent for a while, Naruto also asked, Mr. Kakashi, there are 3 of us, why do we only have 2 bells? The answer is simple. That is to say, at least one of you will be eliminated because of the failure of the mission, and will be sent to the ninja school for training again until you can pass the final assessment. So, if you don't want to be eliminated, come desperately to snatch the bell in my hand. Of course, it doesn't matter if you use a shuriken. The reason why Kakashi set up such an assessment is obviously related to his experience when he was young. He wanted a small team to unite and help each other, if necessary, or even defy orders, so as to avoid unnecessary sacrifices. But, would that be too dangerous? Naruto worried. Ninja's mission is not dangerous. To become a qualified ninja, you must have the consciousness of death. Since you have said so, then I'm not welcome. Naruto, whose voice fell down, looked at Shiyu and said, Shiyu, we have 2 bells, one of us. As for the pesky Sasuke, we don't care about him. How can we say that he is now a member of our team? How can we abandon him? But, there are only 2 bells, as the saying goes, there must be a road in front of the mountain, and the boat will naturally go straight to the bridge. We should cooperate to grab the bell first and then allocate it. How about? Shiyu's remarks also made Kakashi very astonished, because this was the first time he saw a student who knew that there were only 2 places for promotion but had to choose teamwork. Because of this, he couldn't help but glance at Shiyu. I listened to you. Naruto's answer was expected by Toki, so he looked at Sasuke. The latter hesitated for a while, and then proudly said, You 2 will only hold me back, I am enough by myself. It is understandable that Sasuke has such self-confidence, because his current strength has basically surpassed some Shinin, and his strength is infinitely close to the level of Jongnin. Advertisement of course, in Konoha, Sha-Ren is invincible. This is a stock, don't spray if you don't like it. It's up to you, Shiyu said, then said to Naruto, Let's go. Go there? Naruto in the words is very puzzled. It is clear that Kashi and Bell are right in front of him, why are they leaving? Do you think that with your strength, you can get a bell in a head-on confrontation with Shinobu? No way. Although Shiyu now has Jalunion, both his talent and chakra have increased by 100 times, but the time to return is still too short. The probability of wanting to win the bell from Kakashi is very small, so he has to be surprised. He wants to end the legend that no one can win the bell from Kakashi. However, Shiyu still underestimated Naruto's personality. How can I know if I don't try it? Naruto, whose voice is falling down, doesn't care about 3 or 721, he just takes out hardship and does it directly. Rushed to Kakashi. The final result can be imagined. Naruto was directly captured by Kakashi effortlessly. Naruto, you are too anxious, haven't I said to start yet? After hearing Kaka's words, looking at Naruto's embarrassing appearance, Shiyu said, Believe it now. Kakashi let go of Naruto and immediately announced. Well, now the assessment officially begins. Naruto, who had suffered a loss this time, didn't have the urge this time, and honestly followed Shiyu. Shiyu brought Naruto to the bottom of a big tree, and then said, Let's take a break. Rest? Naruto gave a stunned voice, and then said, Shiyu, have you made a mistake? We only have 3 hours. You still have the mind to rest here. I can't eat hot tofu in a hurry, it's useless to be dry. Advertisement in desperation, Naruto really sat in the shade with Shiyu under the big tree, and the latter took out a book with an orange cover. It reads, Volume 1 of The Legend of the Golden Lotus. The story is about Zimin Ching, Pan Jinlian and Wu Delong. This book was produced by Shiyu Lianye last night, with the purpose of attracting Kakashi to be fooled. Immediately afterwards, Shiyu told Naruto about his plan. After listening to it, Naruto also said, I was just curious about what you were doing with the book. It turns out that you have already figured out how to deal with it. It's just that Mr. Kakashi is a ninja, will he be fooled? Hey, don't worry about this. Shiyu looked confident in the words, and Naruto also held the mentality of giving it a try when he saw it. Maybe it really happened. At this time, Sasuke was hiding in the grass, ready to wait for an opportunity to attack Kakashi. Obviously, he also knows that it is not easy to get a bell from Kakashi's hand in a head-on confrontation. When he saw Shiyu and Naruto lying in the shade of a tree, he was immediately stunned. He thought that Kakashi's hand frightened them just now. Did the two of them choose to give up? Not only Sasuke, but even Kakashi was surprised, and when he saw the Golden Lotus biography of Love in Heaven in Shiyu's hand, he suddenly showed fine light and murmured to himself. That's a love in heaven. Rumor. Jinlian, this name sounds very interesting. Zilaya is not interesting enough. I didn't even notify me immediately after going out. Kakashi looked at the book in Moyu's hand, already having an urge to take a look. No, I definitely can't let them know my hobbies. But I really want to watch it, alas, so entangled. Just when Kakashi fell into this mood, Sasuke, who was hiding by the side, also saw this opportunity and caught the only flaw. Good chance. There was a low drink from his mouth. Sasuke didn't talk nonsense, and instantly threw a dozen kunai. Chapter 14 Clang. 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 Unexpectedly, all a dozen kunai hit Kakashi, and Naruto yelled when he saw this scene. F***K. Mrs. Kakashi won't be finished, will you? Then don't worry, Kakashi, as an elite of Sharingan, can't be killed so easily. Sure enough, when Shiyu's voice just fell, the Kakashi, with a dozen kunai stuck in his body, suddenly turned into a piece of wood. When Sasuke saw this, he also murmured unwillingly. Damn substitute technique. Immediately, his gaze was alert to the surroundings, but unfortunately he still couldn't open the writing wheel as he wanted, and he couldn't detect Kakashi's whereabouts quickly. When the Uchiha clan was destroyed, he saw his parents die in the hands of his older brother Itachi, and he opened up Shulunyan in despair. At that time, both eyes were single Guyu jade. But it was only a short time, even he didn't notice it. Therefore, Sasuke has not been able to grasp the key to opening Shulunyan until now. As a genius of the Uchiha clan and a leader among the younger generation in the village today, I am looking forward to your performance. Kakashi, whose voice fell silent, showed up, and in his hand there was an orange book. That's right, it's Intimate Paradise. Just seeing Shiyu watching The Legend of the Golden Lotus in Heaven made him a little bit unbearable, so he took out the small notebook he carried with him. I will let you see it. When the voice fell, Sasuke attacked again, and saw his arm wave continuously, and waves of kunai shot out. In the end, he himself followed closely behind. After Kakashi resolved several waves of kunai's offensive, he was already close by Sasuke. From this, it can be seen that Sasuke's current combat ability is indeed much stronger than Naruto. This is understandable. Sasuke's physical skills are also quite good. He deserves to be the #1 person in ninja school. Whether it is straight punches, uppercuts, or round kicks, they are all different from ordinary people. With such strength at this age, it is a genius. In this confrontation, because of Kakashi's carelessness, Sasuke was able to touch the bell on his waist, which made Kakashi very surprised. Although he had released the water, only Sasuke in front of him had done this among the students he had evaluated for so many years. This kid, isn't it bad? It seems that you can't be distracted from watching In Love in Paradise. Otherwise, it is really possible to be taken advantage of. Advertisement. If that were the case, Kakashi would obviously feel that his face could not be kept. One Sharingan was snatched from his hands by the other, and it would not sound good to spread it out. At this point, Kakashi finally put away Intimate Paradise. Because I am different from them. Sasuke, whose voice fell silent, directly displayed his strongest move right now, Fire Escape. How Fireball Art. After the quick seal, a mouthful of flame was also spit out from Sasuke's mouth. Puff. It directly obliterated Kakashi, and Naruto under the shade of the trees in this scene was extremely envious. He did not expect that Sasuke had mastered such advanced combat ninjutsu. Fire Escape. Great Fireball Art. It can be said that it is the exclusive ninjutsu of the Uchiha clan, and most of the Uchiha clan will use it. The only difference is the difference between strength and weakness. While Naruto was exclaiming, Shiyu had quietly written down this ninjutsu not printing method, thanks to his possession of 3-hook jade blood wheel eye. Although 100 times the talent can barely be remembered, it is impossible to quickly master. Through the system's panel information function, Shiyu knew the chakra attributes he had. There were 3 types: water, fire, and yang. After obtaining the chakra of one-tailed show crane, Shiyu has 2 additional chakras, namely, wind and earth chakras. In other words, the current Shiyu has a total of 5 types of chakras: wind, earth, water, fire, and yang. Of course, now that Shiyu has obtained the power of Shuhei crane, he naturally also mastered some of the abilities of Shuhei, such as Fungyun Ninjutsu, sealing technique, and the extremely rare Bloodstain limit. Shohei's Bloodstain boundary is a combination of the 2 chakra properties of wind and soil, and is called Magnetic Escape. This is also the reason why Shiyu was so shocked by the rewards of the system that day. It can only be said that this god-level reward system is too awesome. It's a pity that Shiyu's current talents can't combine the different attributes of chakra's nature changes together to create a Bloodstain boundary that is stronger than the single shield technique. Bloodstain limit. It is formed by the fusion of 2 chakra nature changes, or some special powers passed down by blood, such as white eyes, chakra eyes, etc. Therefore, Shi-Yu can only look forward to the second reward. There are 7 types of chakras, in addition to the 5 common chakras of fire, water, soil, wind, and thunder. There are also 2 properties of yin and yang. Yin attributes represent spiritual ninjutsu, such as monthly reading, farewell gods, heart-turning technique, and so on. The yang attribute represents the ninjutsu of the body, such as healing technique, doubling technique, and so on. Just now, Shiyu used the Shorinyan to copy Sasuke's fire escape, how fireball art. After the flames dissipated, Sasuke was shocked to see that there was no Kakashi in the burning land, which shocked him. Advertisement, what about people? In the words, he also began to look around, looking forward and backward. Behind? No. Upper? No. Where is he? Just after Sasuke's words fell, Kakashi's voice finally appeared. Look there, I'm below you. Hearing the words, Sasuke looked at him, but he saw a big hand stretched out from under the ground, accompanied by a sound. Earth escape hard decapitation technique. Without the slightest surprise, Sasuke's entire body was directly pulled into the soil by Kakashi, leaving only one head exposed. This is one of the ninja's combat experience, ninjutsu. However, in my opinion, your sharpness will soon be revealed. Seeing that Sasuke was defeated, Shi-Yu was not surprised. This was completely expected by him, and he still comfortably watched the Golden Lotus biography of Love in Heaven in his hand. And the impatient Naruto couldn't help it anymore, because he saw Kakashi's flaws. While Kakashi was preaching Sasuke, he instantly rushed to the back of the former, and he was about to catch the bell. But Kakashi's figure suddenly disappeared from Naruto's vision, which made the latter look shocked. How about people? But when Kakashi appeared, Shiyu knew that this tragedy was destined to be unavoidable, and couldn't help but block his eyes with a book. Because Kakashi appeared behind Naruto at this time, the hands of the seal had been formed, and then there was a low drink from his mouth. Secrets of Konoha Ninja, Physique Uprising 1000-Year Kill. Chapter 15 No accident, Kakashi's Millennium Kill directly hit Naruto's backyard flower, causing it to fall into the water. After jumping on the lake, Naruto was still clutching his butt. Needless to say, it is definitely the cause of pain. Kakashi saw Naruto's look like a chicken, and said, this is the second experience of ninja fighting, physical skills. At the same time, I want to send you a word, the back of the ninja can never be handed over to the opponent, remember. I know, Naruto said. Sasuke, who was buried in the ground, heard the conversation between the two people, and they all couldn't help but shattered slightly. Two super idiots. Naruto was naturally unwilling to be so humiliated, so he used his strongest ninjutsu in an attempt to get revenge. Look at me, multi-shadow clone technique, boom. As a cloud of smoke dissipated, 8 Naruto appeared in everyone's field of vision, making Kakashi and Sasuke both startled. 8 of them are Naruto, and they are all entities. What kind of ninjutsu is this? At this time, Sasuke was extremely astonished. He did not expect that Naruto, the tail of the crane, would also master such advanced ninjutsu. Sasuke doesn't know, but Kakashi, who is Sharingan, can't be ignorant. Shadow clone. Interesting. Immediately afterwards, when the 8 Naruto all surrounded Kakashi, 7 of them had already locked Kakashi firmly. Upon seeing this, Naruto's body, without saying a word, slammed a fist toward the front of the door. Bump. Advertisement no accident. A punch hit the cheek firmly, but the person who was hit was not Kakashi, but a shadow clone of Naruto. Undoubtedly, Kakashi successfully escaped with the substitute technique, again. And when Kakashi appeared again, he appeared behind Naruto again, and his voice sounded accordingly. Naruto, didn't I just tell you, don't give your back to your opponent easily? Hearing this, Naruto was also panicked. He thought that Kakashi was going to perform that Physique Uprising 1000-Year Kill again, so he was scared to turn around quickly. Originally it was okay not to turn around, but this turnaround hit Kakashi's arms. I saw that Kakashi's hands had already formed the Indian style at this time, and he waited for Naruto to turn around. In the next second, Naruto's spirit suddenly fell into a trance, and the 7 clones disappeared instantly. This is Naraku seeing art. Seeing this under the shade of the tree, Shiba also saw this ninjutsu. Naraku's technique of seeing. Unexpectedly, the scene that aroused the fear in the opponent's heart at that time is a kind of illusion. For this illusion, Mo Yu just wrote it down symbolically, because this illusion is not very practical. Moreover, it is not easy to succeed. The prerequisite is that people with a certain degree of fear in their hearts and weak minds will be recruited. If Naruto had not been. I'm scared of year kill, and it is estimated that he will not be hit by this illusion. Seeing Naruto falling into his own illusion, Kakashi's voice also sounded slowly. This is the third experience of ninja fighting, illusion. Kakashi's voice fell and looked at Takiwa under the shade of the tree. Now Sasuke is buried in the ground. Naruto has been hit by illusions, and only the former is capable of combat. Moreover, Shi-Yu is also the most calm person so far. Until now, Shi-Yu had no intention of snatching the bell from him. This made Kakashi wonder? He has tested so many students, but sometimes you can't see through it. Shi-Yu, time is running out now, don't you still do it? Advertisement. I hope it's not great. If Sasuke doesn't want to go his own way, if Naruto is not competitive, there may be a chance for the 3 of us to join forces, but now. Shi-Yu's sigh made Kakashi a little surprised, because the former was good, and if the 3 of them joined forces, there would indeed be a chance to grab the bell from his hand. In fact, if Shiyu displayed the magnetic escape, he could win the bell from Kakashi by surprise. However, Shiyu didn't have this plan, because he had a way to grab the bell with no effort. You can see it thoroughly, and your mind is far surpassed by students of the same age. Shiyu, maybe your strength is not the strongest among the three of you, but you are undoubtedly the smartest of the three. In Kakashi's view, Sasuke's strength should be higher than Shiyu. Because before assessing the three of them, Kakashi had seen their scores in various subjects in ninja school, in addition to the blockbuster in the clone technique. In the graduation assessment, Shiyu's scores in the other subjects were all in the bottom. Thank you, teacher, for the praise. When the voice fell, Shiyu pretended to put away the book in his hand, but Kakashi, who saw this scene, couldn't help but ask. Shiyu, where did the book in your hand come from? Oh, you said this book. Shiyu deliberately shook the book in his hand, and said, this was lost by an uncle before I came to the exercise field, in the morning. I wanted to catch up and return it to him, but it took him a blink of an eye, it's gone. So, I can only take it with me first. Just now I was curious about what book I am from. I opened it and I didn't expect. It turned out to be. In short, it was very attractive, which caused me to be a little fascinated by what I just read. Kakashi gave a light cough, and then said, Shiyu, you said that the uncle has long white hair and behaves strangely, and the word, oil, is engraved on the forehead he wears. Teacher, how did you know? After getting Shiyu's confirmation, Cassius also secretly said in his heart, did Jiraiya travel back? Chapter 16. After some speculation, Kakashi also believed that the uncle Shiyu called should be Jiraiya. Shiyu, to tell you, I know the uncle in your mouth. Well, you give me the book, and I will help you return the property to the original owner. Really? Yu pretended to question, that's natural? As Konoha Shinobu, how can I deceive you, a kid, and that is just a book? I have no reason to deceive you. Kakashi said righteously, but seeing Shiyu still have a trace of doubt on his face, he also added one sentence. If you don't believe me, I can take you to see him in a few days. If that's the case, then there is teacher Kakashi. When the voice fell, Shiyu also handed the book in his hand to Kakashi, and Kakashi was indeed in the lead of Shangnin, who was still wary of Shiyu at this time. Obviously it was because Shiyu was too smart and had to let him keep an eye on him. If the ship was really overturned in the gutter, it would be a shame. Kakashi took the book in Shiyu's hand and said with a smile, raise your hand. Immediately afterwards, Shiyu walked directly to Naruto and rescued him from the illusion. Naruto was detached from the illusion, and the whole person looked sluggish. Shiyu, what's wrong with me? You have been illusioned. Shiyu replied with Naruto, and then said, okay, you have a good rest first, I will get Sasuke out and talk to you in detail. Seeing Shiyu walking towards Sasuke, a dozen meters away from him, Kakashi relaxed his vigilance. Because of this, his gaze finally fell on the Golden Lotus biography of Love in Heaven, in his hands, and his heart was full of expectations. Advertisement, but the moment he opened the book, a leaf fell out of it. Since Shiyu was watching under the shade of the tree before, Kakashi didn't care for a while, but when the leaf fell on his waist, it suddenly changed into a figure. This scene immediately made Kakashi shocked, because this figure is not someone else, it is Shiyu. When he realized that it was too late, because the bell on his waist had been pulled by Shiyu in his hand. Clatter. As soon as he stepped on his feet, accompanied by the sound of a jingle, Shiyu stood firmly in front of Kakashi, and smiled at the latter. Teacher Kakashi, let's accept it. It wasn't until Shiyu's voice fell that Kakashi recovered from the confusion, and at the same time Kakashi also understood that all of this was Shiyu's game. Kakashi sighed helplessly, then praised it sincerely. Shiyu, you are the first student to grab a bell from my hand. Naruto, who recovered, and Sasuke, who had just been dug out from the soil by Hokage's clone. After seeing this scene, the two of them also looked surprised. They never thought that Shiyu would grab the bell by himself, and it was completely effortless. IQ completely crushes them. While Sasuke was surprised, he was also jealous, because he had always been pretentious, but now he lost to Shiyu. Although he didn't lose in a head-to-head confrontation, there was always a trace of unwillingness in his heart. However, what he is most worried about now is the promotion quota. Because there are only 2 bells, now both bells are in Shiyu's hands, and Shiyu and Naruto are buddies. From Sasuke's point of view, Takiwa will give Naruto 1 advertisement. If that's the case, then he will be eliminated and returned to the ninja school to be trained again. At this point, Sasuke is full of unwillingness. At this moment, Kakashi also raised this question. Shiyu, now that you have 2 bells in your hand, it means that you have been promoted. Of course, I said that a bell can make a person advance. So, you have the right to let any one of them advance with you. Kakashi in the speech pointed at Naruto and Sasuke. Don't think about it, this is Kakashi's final assessment. No matter who Shiyu chooses to advance with him, or even who does not choose, he will not be able to pass Kakashi's assessment. Shiyu, tell me your choice. Upon hearing Kakashi's words, Naruto and Sasuke's eyes also fell on Toki, waiting for the latter's answer. Naruto believes that Shiyu will definitely choose himself, and Sasuke believes that Shiyu will definitely abandon him. However, Shiyu's final answer was beyond everyone's surprise. Elementary school students make choices. Now I have graduated, so either all 3 of us will be promoted, or none of us will be promoted. Kakashi was stunned for a long time before asking, why? It's very simple, because we are now a team. As a team, the most important thing is to advance and retreat together. Moreover, if you didn't consume your chakra without Naruto and Sasuke, you wouldn't be so lighthearted if they weren't trapped, and I wouldn't be able to do it easily. So, the two of them are also indirectly involved in it. Shiyu's words made Kakashi completely stunned. How could he not think that such a deep meaning would be uttered from a 12-year-old boy? Chapter 17. Upon hearing this, Naruto said hurriedly, "Shiyu, what are you doing? Why are we going to advance and retreat with that nasty guy?" After hearing Naruto's words, Sasuke also came back to his senses. In his heart, he was very grateful for Shiyu's move, but on the surface he still pretended to be cold and said that he was wrong. "I don't need your pity." After hearing Naruto and Sasuke's words, Kakashi asked again, "Shiyu, I don't have this choice. If you insist on insisting, then I can only deprive you of your qualifications and let them both advance. Even so, do you still insist? As long as I am still a member of this team, then my choice will never change. If I want to change Naruto and Sasuke, they will also make the same decision as me." Shiyu said with a righteous and awe-inspiring way. It seemed that he had sacrificed himself greatly, but in fact he had already seen Kakashi's mind. And, this bowl of chicken soup can also make Naruto and Sasuke fall in love with, oh no, admire himself, thus establishing his position as the leader of the team. In that case, I am as you wish. Upon hearing Kakashi's words, both Naruto and Sasuke were taken aback. As Toki's best friend, Naruto was the first to sit still. Kakashi, if Shiyu can't advance, I won't accept promotion." As soon as Naruto's voice fell, Sasuke also agreed. "Me too. I would rather sacrifice my teammates in exchange for the qualifications to advance. I would rather not." Kakashi was also very pleased to hear the words of the two of them. In fact, in his mind, Shiyu's performance had long been qualified, and his subsequent remarks were nothing more than to test Naruto and Sasuke. Looking at the three people in front of him, Kakashi exclaimed, "I now officially announce that you passed." Shiyu was not surprised by this result. Because everything is under his control, but Naruto and Sasuke are extremely surprised. He obviously did not expect Kakashi to give such a result. What's going on? Naruto was confused in the words, even Sasuke looked puzzled. Ninjas must not only have a calm mind, but more importantly, they must have a sense of teamwork. If even the partners are ignored, that's the worst. Moreover, after a lot of talk, Kakashi said again to the three, "The exercise is over, all qualified. From tomorrow, the 7th team will officially start to carry out the task." After hearing Kakashi's words, Naruto and Sasuke finally believed this fact. They passed the assessment and officially became Sharingan. At this moment, Naruto's joy was all written on his face, and immediately gave Shiyu a big hug. Unexpectedly, we all passed, ha ha ha. Even Sasuke, who has always been indifferent, has a faint smile on his face at this moment. Although it was only a moment, it was still caught by Shiyu. Obviously, Sasuke has recognized the existence of teammates. In his opinion, if there were no Shiyu today, he and Naruto would definitely not have passed the examination. Because of this, the gaze he looked at Shiyu had already changed a little. Immediately after the four of them had lunch together happily. During this period, Kakashi found Shiyu again. Because how many puzzles he still has in his mind. When Kakashi first walked to Shiyu, before he could speak, Shiyu was the first to speak. Kakashi, do you want to ask me why I know your hobbies? Shiyu, you are the smartest student I have ever seen, none of them. Kakashi couldn't help but praise Shiyu again. The so-called knowing oneself and the enemy is the only way to survive 100 battles. After knowing that the instructor of the assessment was you, I did a survey of you overnight, and learned that every time you assess the students, you always read a book, so I focused on this aspect. So it is. Advertisement. Kakashi, who was talking about it, also suddenly realized. He glanced at Shiyu Gao, and at the same time became more and more interested in the latter. Although Shiyu was serious nonsense, Kakashi could only believe it. Otherwise, he couldn't think of the second possibility. The book? Oh, I wrote this myself. After hearing Moyu's words, Kakashi completely knelt down. It was not Shiyu's strength, but Shiyu's thought that he knelt down. He was obviously a 12-year-old kid, how could his thought be so avant-garde? At a young age, I was able to write a book comparable to Intimate Paradise, and it was worse than it was. That. Shiyu, can you discuss something? What's up? Kakashi, who heard the words, looked at Naruto and Sasuke, and after confirming that they could not hear their conversation, he whispered. Can this book be given to me? What am I supposed to do? Shiyu pretended to be surprised, and then said, it's just a book. If Mr. Kakashi likes it, please use it. Readily, as a teacher, you can't take your things for nothing. If you have anything in the future, just come to me, as long as I am able to do it for you. The student thanked the teacher in advance. It should be, Kakashi said with a grin. After the two had a brief conversation, Kakashi asked the three of them to go back to rest earlier and then disbanded. Because tomorrow they will start their mission. Go back to your residence. Shiyu brought the battle between Kakashi and Sasuke in his mind today, and then he combined with what he had usually learned. With 100 times the talent and the backing of writer's eyes, it is not very difficult to learn and master. In just half an hour, his physical skills have been greatly improved. After seeing the results of his practice, Shi Yu felt that he should be able to defeat Sasuke by virtue of physical skills without opening the Sharingan. As for Kakashi, there is still a long way to go. However, in Shi Yu's view, as long as he activates the second reward, it shouldn't be a problem to surpass Kakashi. If not, it would obviously take a lot of effort to surpass Kakashi for Shi Yu, who is 100 times talented, to surpass Kakashi. No way, 100-fold improvement is really limited. At this point, Shi Yu suddenly thought of the strongest physical technique in Naruto World. Beiman Dunjia. The 19th chapter of the strongest physical skills, 8 Dunjia. Beiman Dunjia. The key to this physical technique is to lift the body's restrictions on chakra. In the flowing meridian system of chakras, the places that inhibit and control the chakras in the body are open door, retired door, shengmen, injury door, dumen, jingmen, shock door, and dead door. These 8 doors set a limit on the amount of chakra of the human body, so that the human body can always maintain a healthy state. Even if the stored chakra is exhausted, it will not harm the human body. Beiman Dunjia. The training of Dunjia is extremely difficult, otherwise, the entire Konoha ninja village will not be mastered by only a few people. Currently only 3 people are known: Mad Dai, Might Kai's father, Mai Kai, and Xiao Li, Li Lok. Beiman Dunjia. How strong is it? Only 4 words can be used to describe horror like this. For example, the 4th level Ninja World Wars Metke with a kick, Yi Kai, almost kicked 6 Doben to death. This is where the name Kaiwang comes from. Even Kai Wang's father, Midday, became famous because of this, leaving a legend in the village of Konoha. As a 10,000 years old under the ninja, he opened the last door of the 8-gate Dunjia array, in order to protect his own Matkai, Shiranui Genma, and Ebisu in the 3rd Ninja World War, Dead Gate, fight against the first batch of 7 ninja swords, alone. Broken Knife Beheaded Broadsword, the user, Loquat Tenzo. Big Sword Saramuscle, the user, Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish Ghost. Long Knife Stitches, the user, Li Hao Kushi Wan. Dull Knife Pouch Cut, the user, Through the Grass and Wild Bait. Booming Knife Fly Mo, the user, No Pair and 8. Thunderblade Teeth, the user, Black Hoe Thunder Teeth. Open Black Lens Bracket Double Knife Flounder Close Black Lens Bracket, the user is unknown. As a result, Mad Dai abruptly killed the first masters of Wuli Jinba, Tonggrass Wild Bait Man, Li Shi Kushi Wan, and Double Knife Flounder. In the end, only Black Hoe Thundertooth, Loquat Tenzo, and Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish Ghost survived. Advertisement so far, there are 3 remaining people in the 7 ninja swords. This shows how powerful this 8 doors Dunjia technique is. Because of this, it is extremely difficult to cultivate. Of course, there is another reason, because this is a forbidden technique that can cause harm to the body and basically prohibits cultivation. However, Shi Yu chose to practice. The first 3 of Beiman Dunjia would only load the body, and basically there would be no harm. Only the 5 gates, after the 4th gate, the injury gate, will cause damage to the body, and these 5 gates are the real 8-gate Dunjia. Because that increase is not the same, Shi Yu has a system as a guarantee. As long as he gets the fairy human body between the pillars in the future, the 7 doors in front can be opened at will. As for the 8th door, it can only be used when the 6 powers are mastered. Otherwise, it is terrible. So, in the next few days, Shi Yu is also constantly honing his physical skills, because he has just started to perform tasks, which are mainly D-level tasks. Basically, they are trivial things, and they are so dangerous at all. Shi Yu also took this opportunity to maximize his physical skills. Now he has opened the first 3 doors of 8-door Dunjia. Basically, there's no problem. In addition, he has amazing chakras, and his use will increase from time to time. But it is a pity that he has not been able to break the 4th door for a long time. If nothing unexpected happens, there should be 2 reasons. First, the physical fitness has not yet reached the standard. Second, the time to practice 8-gate Dunjia is still short, and today's talent is not enough to break the 4th gate in a short time. We must know that it took several decades for Mad Dai to practice, and Emperor Kai was based on his father's experience. Only when you start to exercise at a young age can you master it. And Xiao Li, Li Luke, who spent 6 or 7 years, has only now mastered the 5th door. But Shi Yu, in just 3 days, he has directly cultivated to the level of the 3 sects. If you let a few of them know, you have to be scared on the spot. Especially Mad Dai, it is estimated that the coffin board will not be able to hold it down. That's why, during these few days of missions, Shi Yu didn't feel bored. But Naruto complained because of this. Except for the first day of eagerness to try, there was almost no motivation in the next few days. Moreover, I always like to compete with Sasuke during the mission. Until the 4th day, after Naruto's complaints, the 3 generations, Sarutobi Hisaki, finally sent them a sea-level mission. It is a guard mission. The content is to escort a person named Dazna to the country of waves. For this task, Naruto is very motivated, and Sasuke also has a lot of interest in this, and he has always been looking forward to being able to go out of the village to experience. As for Shi Yu, he has long been waiting for this task to come. Because the mission this time is linked to the mission of the system, not surprisingly, this time they will meet one of the second batch of 7 ninja swords, and Taudi will not be cut. Nicknamed Ghost. the second user of Broken Blade Beheaded Broadsword. The first user of this knife was called Loquat Juzo, who was the first partner of Uchiha Itachi, who had just joined the Akatsuki organization. Cause of death. While going to the Hidden Mist village with Ferret, they encountered the 4th generation Water Shadow and was killed by the tail beast Jade, released after its tail was transformed into a beast. The 4th generation of Water Shadow, Goji Tachibana Yakura, Sanwei Isofu, Human Pillar Power, one of the 3 human pillar powers that can perfectly control the tail beast. The other 2, Karabi, Naruto Uzumaki, the second batch of 7 ninja swordsmen, has only 4 people. Broken Knife Beheaded Broadsword, the user, do not cut Towdy again. Open black lens bracket broadsword Saramuscle close black lens bracket, the user, dried persimmon ghost shark. Thunderblade Tooth, the user, Ringo Yu Yuri. Open black lens bracket double knife flounder close black lens bracket, the user, Ghost Lantern Full Moon. Since the 3 knives, long knife stitching needle, dull knife pouch cut, and burst knife fresh, are unused, they are stored in the scroll by Ghost Lantern Full Moon. After receiving the task, Shiyu, Kakashi and the others did not procrastinate and left the village with the mission target, Dazna. Towards the Country of Waves, Chapter 18 along the way. Kakashi also talked about the general situation of the ninja world for the 3 people of Shiyu, mainly talking about the 5 villages represented in the 5 major countries. Fire Country, Konoha Hidden Village, Water Country, Foggy Village. Thunder Country, Yanyan Village, the Kingdom of Wind, Sand Hidden Village. Land of Earth, Yanyan Village. After Kakashi's introduction, Naruto also asked, Kakashi-sensei, is there a ninja in Poland? No, Kakashi replied, and then explained, because the country of Nami is a country on a small island, since it will not be affected by war, there is no need for the existence of ninja village. There are many countries like this on this continent. And shortly after Kakashi's voice fell, a head suddenly emerged from the stagnant water he passed by. Needless to say, this must be a ninja. Immediately afterwards, a figure appeared behind everyone, but it seemed that there was only one figure, but in fact there were 2 people. The 2 are tied together like Siamese babies, and they are connected by a claw chain, weapon in their hands. Before Naruto, Sasuke and others were aware of it, the 2 assassination ninjas had already launched an offensive. I saw one of them quickly threw the other out, and the 2 sides were tightly connected by a chain, and the cooperation was extremely tacit. Before everyone reacted, Kakashi was directly tied up. Seeing this scene, Naruto also screamed out of voice. How is this going? Sasuke was also slightly surprised when he saw it. He didn't expect that they would be targeted by the assassinated ninjas soon after they left Konoha Ninja Village. Advertisement after the genocide tragedy that year, he still held this situation. But the first time he met Naruto in such a situation, he looked panicked. As the client, Dazna saw this scene without much surprise. Obviously, this result was in his expectation. As far as Shiyu knew, Dazna was indeed aware of the situation, but lied about the situation because he did not have enough wealth. If it hadn't been for the smooth journey to the country of Wave to kill Peach Land and never cut, Shiyu would have pierced him a long time ago. For the 2 people in front of you, others might not know their identities, but Shiyu knew them well. These 2 were the powerful subordinates of Dao Di Never Kill, Mingtu, and Yeto, known as Ghost Brothers. Wuyan Village Rebels, Zhang Ren, Strength. After they locked Kakashi, a gloomy voice came from the mouth. The first one, die. When the voice fell, the 2 pulled on the extremely sharp chains, causing Kakashi to instantly turn into a cloud of blood. Seeing this scene, Naruto was really frightened. Kakashi was killed by NS. Looking at the pool of blood on the ground, apart from Toki and Sasuke, Naruto and Dazna both thought Kakashi had belched. But actually that pool of blood was changed by wood, and the real Kakashi was already hiding in the dark. Since Sasuke and Kakashi had fought head-on, he knew that the latter was so powerful that he could not be killed so easily. So, a calm look on his face. The reason why Kakashi didn't appear in the first place was to see the 3 people's ability to respond to emergencies. Obviously, Naruto was unqualified this time. At this time, the Ghost Brothers had locked on the next target. In the next moment, they appeared behind Naruto, and the sharp chains danced. At this moment, Naruto trembled all over, and he seemed to feel the threat of death. At this critical moment, Shiyu moved, advertisement. He was 1 step faster than Sasuke, and saw that he threw a cross dart instantly, knocked the chain into the air and nailed it to a big tree. Immediately afterwards, his arm waved again, call out. A handful of Kuwu was also shot out, and then passed through the hole in the middle of the cross dart, accurately, and the chain was firmly nailed to death. Then, Shiyu made a leap. Standing directly on the arms of the 2 Ghost Brothers, they pressed them to their heads with both hands, and kicked them out at the same time. Boom. Boom. Without the slightest suspense, the 2 were directly kicked and flew away by Shiyu. The rescued Naruto heaved a sigh of relief, but Sasuke who saw this scene couldn't help but let out a horror. Shiyu's physique, when did it become so strong? No wonder Sasuke had such an idea, because when he was in the ninja school, Takiwa's physical skills were very rubbish and every time he was in the bottom of the class. Not only that, in the survival exercise, 3 days ago, Shiyu was also a bell obtained by using resourcefulness. But now? Shiyu's physical skills were no weaker than him, and even surpassed him. Because of Shiyu's speed just now, he thought he couldn't do it. Just when the two ghost brothers were about to fall to the ground, they gave up the chains in their hands at the same time. Because of this, the two stabilized their figure instantly. This time, they targeted Tazuna, because the latter was the target of their trip. As long as they are killed, their mission is complete. As for the others, it doesn't matter to them. Watching all the changes in the field closely is also Sasuke aware of this, and immediately rushed to Tazuna, trying to protect his safety. This person is the person who guarded them on this trip, and once they died, it also represented the failure of their mission this time. This is the first time that Sasuke has gone out to perform a mission, and he will never allow himself to fail. Chapter 19. The Ghost Brothers are all Zhang Ren, strengths, and Sasuke is still struggling to deal with one person. Two people, he can never be their opponent, but at this time, the Ghost Brothers are already approaching the target. Tazuna. Even though Sasuke can block one person, Tazuna is going to hang up. At this moment, the secret Kakashi was ready to take action. However, at this critical moment, Shiyu's mouth heard a low drink. 8-door Dunjia formation, the first door. Open the door, open. When the voice fell, Shiyu felt his whole body more than double lighter. Open the door. Lift the brain domain limit, in order to achieve the goal of exerting 100% of the physical ability, overloading the body to consume energy to increase attack and speed. After opening it, you can use the secret technique of Forbidden Technique, open black lens bracket Blienwa close black lens bracket. Shiyu picked up the chain on the ground and quickly rushed towards the Ghost Brothers. In the blink of an eye, he appeared under the two of them. This scene looked at everyone, especially the two Ghost Brothers who were the parties involved. He never thought that Shiyu would be able to catch up with them even at such a distance from them. Not just them, even Kakashi hiding in the dark is no exception. This is Kakashi, who is a close friend of the Emperor Kai, has a good understanding of 8-door Dunjia, so he can see at a glance what Shiyu is now casting. Boom. Boom. With the influence of the two bodies, the two Ghost Brothers were directly kicked into the sky by Shiyu. But this is not over. Immediately afterwards, Shiyu used the physical technique, Shadow Leaf Dance, to kick the two of them up into the sky. Pedal, pedal, pedal. After kicking to a certain height, Shiyu didn't have any extra actions, using the chains in his hands to instantly bind the two of them, and then drag them towards the ground in a high-speed rotation posture. This is 8-door Dunjia's first individual skill, Beauty Lotus. Boom. Advertisement as a loud noise rang out. A cloud of smoke and dust on the ground soared into the sky, making it hard to see what was in it. Call out. With the sound of breaking through the air, Shiyu jumped out of the smoke and dust, moving like a rabbit. Not only did he not suffer the slightest damage, but his state did not decline due to the use of Biao Lianhua. This is the advantage of having amazing chakras. The more carrots there are, the more prosperous the life is, and it can withstand the consumption of overload. After seeing Shiyu, everyone recovered from their shock. This is what ninjutsu? As soon as Sasuke's voice fell, another voice rang in his ears. This is not ninjutsu, but physique. No one else was talking, it was Kakashi. Seeing that Kakashi was still alive, Toki and Sasuke were not surprised, but Naruto and Tazuna were shocked. Because just now they clearly saw Kakashi being twisted into a cloud of blood by the Ghost Brothers, but now when they looked at the pool of blood on the ground, they only saw a piece of broken wood. It turned out to be a stand-in. Naruto whispered, then said, Ms. Kakashi, it's great that you are fine. After Naruto's voice fell, the smoke and dust on the ground in front of him also disappeared. Next second, what catches everyone's eyes are two Ghost Brothers who were like dead dogs. At this time, the two have been seriously injured and passed out. Zhang Ren is worthy of being Zhang Ren. This physical strength is indeed endurance, and he was hit by Shiyu's Biao Lianhua, but he did not die. After Tazuna saw this scene, his heart was relieved. It looks like he's saved. Immediately he looked at Shiyu without the previous contempt. He originally thought that a kid of Shiyu's age would basically not have any combat effectiveness. But now he feels that he has been slapped severely, the hot one. Upon seeing this, Naruto couldn't help but praised. Shiyu, you are so amazing, you solved these two bad guys in one fell swoop. Hearing that, Sasuke and Kakashi's eyes also returned to Toki's body, and Sasuke couldn't help but ask with curiosity in his heart. Kakashi, did you just say that Shiyu performed physique advertisement? Good. Kakashi nodded, and then said, that is a secret skill in 8 Doors Dunjia, called Biao Lianhua. Beiman Dunjia. Both Naruto and Sasuke exclaimed, and then Naruto also asked, Kakashi-sensei, what is Hachiman Dunjia? 8-gate Dunjia is a physical technique, and also an access control technique. Physical surgery? Forbidden surgery? Sasuke murmured in his mouth, and the look in Toki's eyes changed again. In his opinion, the current Shiyu has completely surpassed himself. Killing 2 ninjas in one move, and he was still good at assassinating 2 ninjas, he couldn't do that at all. To be honest, he is envious, but also jealous. After explaining to Naruto, Kakashi also expressed his doubts. Toki, you tell me honestly, who taught you this physical skill? During the words, a figure flashed in his mind. This is no one else, but his friend Kai Huang. Because according to Kakashi, in today's Konoha Shinobu village, it seems that only Kai Huang has given this qualification and ability. As for Xiao Li, he is no longer within his consideration. Because he also learned that Xiao Li had mastered the 5th door during the Zhongren exam, and after the 4th door, he would harm the human body. Therefore, Kakashi reprimanded the king at that time. Shi Yu didn't lie to Kakashi's question only once, but said directly, "I taught myself." The simple 4 words stunned everyone on the spot. Especially Kakashi, he has witnessed how the Emperor Kai came all the way, and he knows the bitter journey in the middle. Moreover, the latter is based on the experience accumulated by his father. But Shi Yu turned out to be self-taught. Although only the 1st door, it is enough to prove Shi Yu's enchanting. Chapter 20. Self-taught. Kakashi let out a stunned sound, and thought in his heart, this 8-door Dunjia technique was first sealed in the Book of Seals. Apart from Kai, no one has practiced this physical technique until now. Beiman Dunjia. Not only is it extremely difficult to cultivate, but also has enough perseverance to continuously exercise one's body. Otherwise, it is impossible to master it completely. This is also the reason why many people can't practice and don't practice. Not only have to suffer in tears, if there is no talent in this area, the ultimate achievement is also limited. If it weren't for Kai and Xiao Li who had no talent in ninjutsu and illusion, they wouldn't be obsessed with 8 doors Dunjia. Because if they want to become strong, ordinary physical skills are far from enough. Seeing Kakashi's puzzled look, Shi Yu did not hide it and directly explained the reason. M's Kakashi. On the night Mizuki tricked Naruto into stealing the Book of Seals, Naruto and I opened it out of curiosity. After hearing this, Kakashi finally knew where Naruto's multi-shadow clone art came from. It turned out to be from the Book of Seals. But even so, it surprised Cassius. According to Shiyu, he only briefly flipped through the Book of Seals to memorize the practice methods of Beiman Dunjia by heart. Moreover, the 1st door was opened in just a few days. Hiss. At this point, Kakashi couldn't help but breathe a cold breath, his eyes full of shock when he looked at Shiyu. This kind of talent is too enchanting. What is a genius? Maybe this is it? If Kakashi knew that Shiyu could already open the 3rd door, he would probably be dumbfounded on the spot. Hearing Shiyu's words, Naruto on the side was puzzled. Shiyu, didn't you and I learn the same ninjutsu that night? I was curious at the time and took a look at this physical technique training method. Isn't the task too boring these few days, so I tried to practice. Advertisement, I didn't expect it to be. Shiyu, I didn't expect it to be. But Naruto was hit hard. You must know that he was tired of practicing ninjutsu. But Shiyu not only learned his open black lens bracket multiple shadow clone art close black lens bracket in an instant, but now he also learned something open black lens bracket 8 doors Dunjia array close black lens bracket. Shiyu, this physical technique is harmful to your body, so you must not practice it again. Teacher Kakashi, don't worry, I have a sense of measure. Shiyu replied, and then said, I've seen such an introduction to physique. As long as you don't open the back 5 doors, you won't harm your body. That being said, the 3 of them will also overload the body, and long-term use will also have an impact on the human body. I will pay attention, I will try to use as little as possible in the future. Such the best. Kakashi, who was speaking, nodded in satisfaction, and then said, but then again, Shiyu, you did well this time. In the face of the enemy, not only can you not be in danger, but you can also attack on the spot, and you already have what a ninja should be. And Sasuke, also very good, knows how to protect mission goals. After Kakashi finished complimenting Tokiha and Sasuke, his eyes fell on Naruto and said, Naruto, you have to keep working hard. If you stand still like this time, then maybe next time you were waiting for death. Kakashi didn't want to intimidate Naruto, he wanted the latter to grow. If not, I will encounter this situation in the future and I don't even know how he died. I see, at this time, Naruto's heart was wronged, because it was also the first actual combat, but both Tokiwa and Sasuke were able to face danger without fear. Only he was afraid, especially Shiyu, stood up to protect him. Because of this, he clenched his fists tightly and vowed in his heart, next time, I must not be afraid. Advertisement because he doesn't want to be the tail of a crane. Originally, Naruto was not so worried, but Sasuke's words from that arrogant ghost hurt Naruto's self-esteem. Are you not hurt, coward, Sasuke? Naruto yelled. He wanted to go up and fight with Sasuke, but Shiyu stopped him. Naruto, if you are a man, just speak with action. I didn't behave well this time, but I will fight for the next time, so that someone can shut up obediently. Hearing this, Naruto was stunned, his eyes firm. I see. Seeing this scene, Kakashi couldn't help but look at Shiyu more, because the latter's mind was really not what he should have at this age. Not only did he think so, but even Dazna did immediately afterwards. Kakashi tied the 2 ghost brothers under the big tree. Did he figure out who the 2 were aiming for? After awakening the 2, Kakashi asked 2. You are the ghost brother of Wuyin village, famous for fighting to the end at all costs. Our actions are so concealed, how did you perceive it? The leader said unwillingly. He knew that if Kakashi hadn't prevented it in advance, it would be impossible to escape with substitute technique. Not waiting for Kakashi to bring it, Shiyu was the first to say, it's not because of the flaws that you 2 are smart about. Shiyu, did you see something? After hearing Kakashi's words, the eyes of Naruto, Sasuke and Dazna also fell on Toki. Kakashi, as the upper ninja, has been on missions all the year round. The experienced he can perceive that the two lurking are forgiven, but how did Shiyu, a fledgling lower ninja, perceive it in advance? This made everyone very curious, even Ghost Brothers is no exception. Chapter 21. It's actually really easy, Shiyu chuckled lightly, and then said, the weather is hot and dry these few days, and there is no rain today. How can there be standing water? Moreover, there is only one pool. The two Ghost Brothers who heard this were taken aback for a moment, and this detail was obviously not thought of at all. Shiyu, your analysis is good. Keep observation of the surrounding environment on the road is also one of the necessary skills for a ninja. Kakashi once again praised Shiyu, and he had noticed this before and he was wary of it in advance. But after hearing Kakashi's words, Dazuna's expression condensed. Since you know in advance, why do you want those little ghosts to do it? Aren't you afraid of what will happen to them? Dazuna's words seemed to worry about Shiyu's trio, but he was actually worried about his own safety, because Shiyu's trio were nothing but newborn calves in his eyes. It wasn't until Shiyu took the shot to knock down the two Ghost Brothers before he changed his opinion. Because I can kill these two guys in an instant. An extremely domineering word was spit out from Kaka's mouth, and you didn't have the slightest suspicion at this time. Because Kakashi does have this strength, this is understandable. It's just that I didn't expect Shiyu to be so capable that he could kill the two Zongren. Although there's a bit of luck, his strength is beyond doubt. But the fact is true. If it weren't for the Ghost Brothers to underestimate the enemy, Shiyu couldn't easily succeed. Of course, one more thing. I need to know, who is the enemy's target? Kakashi glanced at Dazuna in the words, apparently already having an answer. Knowing the look in Kakashi's eyes, Dazuna's heart shuddered, and his voice with a guilty conscience was not emboldened. What do you mean, advertisement? To put it bluntly, is it you who is being targeted, or us? But judging from the situation just now, it is obvious that the person being targeted is not us, Kakashi pointed out directly. Now it seems that the mission you entrusted has exceeded the scope of the sea level. The enemy has upgraded from the so-called mafia and thieves to ninjas. This is a highly dangerous B-level or higher mission. You may have unavoidable difficulties, but this makes me very embarrassed. First of all, your commission is not enough. Secondly, the three of them are just newcomers who have just been promoted to Shaoren. Once a stronger enemy appears, it will inevitably not be life-threatening. As their mentor, I can't make jokes about their lives. Hearing Kakashi's words, Dazuna also looked at a loss. He does have his own difficulties, but if he tells the truth, I am afraid his life will not be guaranteed. The country of waves is gone in the future, it will completely become a dead island. That teacher, I want to tell you something. Just when Dazuna was about to tell Kakashi about some of the problems, Shiyu said again. Uncle Dazuna, it's because of Cardo. Hearing Moyu's words, Dazuna was taken aback for a moment, and his eyes became weird looking at Shiyu. Shiyu's strength is beyond his imagination, but his strength belongs to his strength. How did he know this? You don't need to be shocked. I happened to meet two residents who had left from Nation of Waves a few days ago when I was working on a mission. Cardo? Kakashi murmured, and then said, but that one of the few richest men in the world? Dazuna sighed, then said, since you all guessed it, then I have nothing to hide. Yes, it is the rich man Cardo, advertisement. He is the boss of the shipping company, but in private he is colluding with the mafia and the ninja smuggling, Dupin, and management, treacherous men. Relying on one's own power and often occupy other companies in some weak countries, he is a heinous villain. Immediately afterwards, it's a series of memories of Dazuna. About a year ago, that guy stared at the country of wave. After Dazuna's narration, Kakashi and others finally knew the whole story. In the end, under his begging, Kakashi also agreed to continue to complete this task. Kakashi has absolute confidence in his own strength, and he feels that he can protect the three of Shiyu. And Shiyu naturally wouldn't object, because he only needed to stay by Dazuna's side, and Dao Di would not show up until he was killed. Sasuke did not fail or object to his first mission, and Naruto was taunted by Sasuke because his performance was unsatisfactory the first time, so there was no reason to object. At this point, the guard mission continues. After some rushing, a group of 5 people took a small boat and headed for the small island where the country of waves is located. After half an hour, they finally saw the gates of the country of waves, said the boatman who knew Dazuna at this time. Dishonor. So far, we are still safe. To be on the safe side, we walk through underground waterways with aquatic plants. Seeing Dazuna nod his head, the boatman also speeded up his oars. Obviously, Cardo's killing methods made him very jealous. After a while, Shiyu and the others passed through the exit of the underground waterway and finally reached the territory of the country of waves. Chapter 22. After going to the island, Shiyu's 4 escorted Dishonor home, and their characters are to safely escort the latter home and protect him until the completion of the Cross-Strait Bridge. Shiyu didn't care, and it was okay to kill Peach Land no more. As long as Taudi is not cut to death, Cardo and others are destroyed, and there is no need to worry about protecting Dazuna after building the bridge. At that time, he will be visiting this island as a tour. On the way, Naruto rushed to the front, because the battle with the Ghost Brothers soon made him worry. So, this time he took the lead, because he didn't want to lose to Sasuke. As for Shiyu, he did nothing, because the two were buddies and had a close relationship. When everyone was halfway there, Naruto suddenly looked around, as if there were people around. After pretending to behave, Kuwu in his hand shot directly into the middle of the pile of vegetation. No one was moving when he saw there. Naruto, to avoid embarrassment, said, it's a mouse. When Sasuke saw this, he spit out a word softly, hey. And Kakashi also reminded, Naruto, throwing the shuriken casually is a very dangerous thing. Seeing that there was no movement around him, Tazuna also walked out of the nervous mood, and immediately uttered a violent shout. Dwarf Melon, don't be okay to scare people, okay. And as soon as Tazuna's voice fell, the kunai in Shiyu's hand shot out instantly. This scene stunned everyone. Clang. And the second before the shuriken pierced the tree trunk, Kakashi felt a slight fluctuation, and his eyes instantly locked in a certain position. Advertisement: this position is not elsewhere, it is exactly where Shiyu's shuriken shot. When Naruto shoots indiscriminately, everyone will think that the latter is making a fool of himself, but if Shiyu makes a shot, the result will be different. No way, who told Shiyu to be too amazing on this road? When everyone looked forward cautiously, they found that there was no one here, and there were no clues. Only a terrified rabbit. Seeing this scene, everyone except Kakashi thought that Shiyu had made a fuss just like Naruto this time. But it is better than Naruto, after all, there is a rabbit. Seeing this scene, Tazuna was also relieved and said, it turned out to be just a rabbit, which scared me. But Shiyu asked his newly suspended heart to lift it up again. Don't take it lightly, the enemy may be hiding around. Enemy? Naruto gave a startled sound and looked around very carefully. But besides the 5 of them, there is only this frightened little white rabbit in front of him. Shiyu, are you too worried? There are no enemies. Look carefully at the breed of this rabbit. After hearing Shiyu's words, everyone's eyes fell on the little white rabbit, and even Kakashi looked at Shiyu with interest. This is not an ordinary rabbit, this is a relatively rare snow rabbit. The color of this rabbit's hair will change with the length of sunshine. In winter, when the sunshine time is short, it will appear white. And in spring and other places where the sun is often long, its hair will appear brown. Hearing this, Naruto still looked dazed, and then asked, then what does this have to do with whether there are enemies around? Look at the current climate, it is at the turn of spring and summer. It stands to reason that the fur of the snow rabbit in the wild should be brown, but the snow rabbit in front of me is white. Advertisement: from this, it can be concluded that this snow rabbit is raised by humans. Hearing this, Naruto still didn't quite understand the connection between the two, but Sasuke already knew it, and added immediately. You idiot, don't you understand? Shiyu meant that this snow rabbit was raised by the enemy, and it may have been used by the enemy as a stand-in to escape. So it is. Hearing Sasuke's explanation, Naruto suddenly realized. Kakashi also took a look at Shiyugo. He obviously didn't expect Shi Julian to dabble in this aspect of knowledge. Kakashi, who had already seen through the enemy's method, was already vigilant around him, and he also murmured in his heart. It's so fast, and everything is just as Shiyu said, in the surrounding forest, there is indeed an enemy. At this time, the latter was peeping at the 5 of them in secret, and his gaze remained on one person from beginning to end. That is, Kakashi. In his opinion, the only copy of Konoha's ninja can cause disturbance to him. The corners of his mouth, who was squatting on a tree trunk, moved slightly and let out a word. Writing round eyes Kakashi. Interesting. When the voice fell, he directly pulled out a big knife behind his back. The blade was unusually sharp and there was an obvious gap on it. But that is not disconnected, but it is so, because this sword is one of the 7 shinobi swords, broken blade and beheaded broadsword. And the enemy lurking in the dark is no one else, but the second owner of this knife. Guirin, do not cut the peach field again. Chapter 23. After feeling a murderous intent, Kakashi immediately shouted to everyone. Get down. Kakashi's perception was really keen, and at the moment when everyone got down, a spinning big move flew over their heads. If they hadn't gone down just now, they might have been broken into 2 pieces now. Click. The beheading broadsword that didn't hit anyone directly slashed on a big tree, accompanied by a figure. After seeing the figure standing on the sword, Kakashi also spit out 2 words. It's him. Needless to say, Kakashi is no stranger to peach ground no longer cut. For this reason, Kakashi's eyes showed a solemn look at this time, and obviously in his eyes, the latter is not a person who is waiting for leisure. Guirin. Peach land no more cuts, and the previous, Mingye, Ghost Brothers are not comparable. The two are not at the same level. When the enemy appeared, Naruto, who didn't know the strength of the opponent, looked eager to try. Obviously, he wants to recover the face he lost before. HMPH, here comes, I won't lose to Sasuke this time. Look at me and mine. And just as Naruto took a step, he was stopped by Kakashi. All back, he is not an enemy you can deal with. Kakashi's eyes stayed on his body during the words, and he did not dare to relax. Because this non-cutting ability is a bit weird, it is famous for the silent assassination technique, and such misty ninjas have a special title. Advertisement called Assassin of the Mist. Oh, who am I? It turned out to be the defected ninja from Wuyan Village. Peachland never cuts. If the opponent is you, it may be a bit difficult. Kakashi stretched out his hand to touch his protection forehead. The person standing on top of the broadsword looked surprised if he didn't see it again. At this moment, he finally knew why the Ghost Brothers of Mingye had missed. It turned out that the opponent was Konoha. But he never imagined that the Ghost Brothers of Underworld were not lost in the hands of Kakashi, but in the hands of the little ghost Tokiha, he thought. I didn't expect to meet Xiaolunyan, Kakashi here. To be honest, I don't fight with you, my goal is just the old man behind you. As soon as he didn't cut these words, Dazna's heart was shocked, because he could clearly feel the killing intent emanating from the former. Although it is so far away, there is already a feeling of suffocation. In addition, even Kakashi, the supreme ninja, attaches such importance. This person is definitely not a general. When Naruto wondered what Xiaolunyan was, Sasuke was shocked. In his impression, Xiaolunyan closed black lens bracket. Why don't you say that Kakashi has a physique that only a minority of Uchiha clan can possess? Before seeing it with his own eyes, he still doubted it. It was also the only time Yu who was present was not shocked at all, because all of this was under his control. At this moment, Kakashi's voice sounded again. Shiyu, the three of you set up a swastika formation and protect Mr. Dazna. Don't cut it again, your opponent. It's me. Kakashi slowly lifted the forehead protection, as the voice fell, and the covered, right eye, was finally exposed. At this moment, you can clearly see that there is a visible scar on the eyelid of that eye, but this is not the point. Advertisement. The point is that it's just that the eyes are red. That's right, that's a Xiaolunyan, that is a open black lens bracket 3 Guyu jade writing round eye close black lens bracket. However, it is a pity that Kakashi does not have the blood of the Uchiha clan, and cannot use the power of the Xiaolunyan to its extreme, nor can it automatically switch the Xiaolunyan. For this reason, this writer's eye is always on. It consumes Casus chakra all the time, causing the latter's chakra to always be unable to maintain its peak state. This Xiaolunyan belongs to Uchiha belt soil. Moreover, this eye had already evolved into the kaleidoscope bloodwheel eye when Yi Yuan Lin died in War of Gods Wubi Bridge. It's just that Kakashi was in a coma because chakra was exhausted at that time, so he didn't know that Xiaolunyan, had evolved into a kaleidoscope. In other words, he still doesn't know that there is a higher form of Xiaolunyan. It wasn't until Itachi came to Konoha that Kakashi didn't know the existence of kaleidoscope writing wheel eye after the first battle. After a long period of groping, this form was finally successfully opened. The first appearance was when fighting Deidara. When I saw Kakashi's Xiaolunyan again, Sasuke and Naruto were surprised at the same time. Sasuke was shocked as to why Kakashi, a non-Uchiha clan, possessed the bloodstain limitation of Xiaolunyan. What was shocked was that it seemed to have seen this eye there, but it couldn't remember it for a while. Naruto had indeed seen this, and he saw it with a glimpse of Shiyu just one night after Mizuki was killed. But because Toki closed immediately, he thought it was an illusion. But now seeing this kind of eyes again, immediately evoked his memory. Next second, his gaze couldn't help but fell on Shiyu's eyes, but unfortunately Shiyu's pupils were still black at this time. Is it really my illusion? After thinking about it in his heart, Naruto also asked out aloud. Xiaolunyan and Xiaolunyan, what exactly is Xiaolunyan? Chapter 24. Xiaolunyan is a kind of pupil technique. A person with this kind of eyes can see through illusion, physique, and ninjutsu in an instant, and can fight back intact. But the ability to write round eyes is much more than that. Naruto was also taken aback when he heard what Sasuke said. He didn't expect Xiaolunyan to be so perverted. Writing round eyes is actually born out of the reincarnation writing round eyes of the ancestor Dadamukea from chakra. For example, Sasuke's last mastered 6 Guyu Jade reincarnation eyes. As long as you evolve once, you can reach the ultimate 9 Go Jade reincarnation eyes. At that time, the pupils of the eyes will turn into red, creating the strongest pupil. Samsara writes round eyes, but how difficult this step is, even the 6 immortals have never done it. Another point is that after the Sharon eyes have evolved into Samsara eyes, you must switch to use them if you want to use their abilities. This was confirmed by Uchiha Madara in the 4th Ninja War. And once it has evolved into Guyu reincarnation eye, it doesn't have to be so troublesome. Because the two have merged, in this case, the ability of the 2 eyes can be used without switching. This is why the later Sasuke can still use the eternal kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, and the 6-hook jade reincarnation eye, Suzuo Nengu, reason. And no matter what he heard, a few sentences were added. Yes, the ability to write round eyes is indeed more than that. What's more terrifying than this is that it can instantly see through the enemy's ninjutsu and copy it. No longer cut his eyes between the words, staring directly at Kakashi, and said again, there was your information in the manual of the Mist Hidden Assassination Department, and it says that the man who copied thousands of ninjutsu copy Ninja Hagi Kakashi. Naruto and Sasuke were shocked when they heard the words no longer cut, and Naruto couldn't help but mutter. Is teacher Kakashi so strong? Advertisement. The chat ends here. I have to end up with that old man as soon as possible. After hearing these words, Shiyu and the 3 also obeyed Kakashi's orders and guarded Dazna. But Kakashi himself blocked the way forward. Seeing this, he said, it seems that if you want to kill the old man, you have to solve it first. Kakashi. When the voice fell, he put a seal in his hand, and then there was a low drink from his mouth. Forbearance. The technique of mist hiding. Immediately afterwards, a cloud of mist appeared in the surroundings out of thin air, making the vision of Dashiyu and others blurred. In the next second, if you don't cut it, it will disappear into their field of vision. Gone. Always pay attention. Naruto, who didn't cut anymore, let out a surprise. Seeing this, Kakashi also hurriedly reminded Shiyu and the 4 of them. you all give me the spirit of 12 points. No matter what, this is the best at silent killing. Maybe you won't be waiting for you to return to the gods. Hearing this, Shi Yu directly opened the Shulunyan with his current strength. He can't take it lightly if he doesn't cut it. And just after Toki opened, Riding Wheel Eyes, Sasuke and Naruto were immediately shocked. What Sasuke was surprised was why Shi Yu also used Jalunyan. Within this day, he had seen two people who were not from the Uchiha clan have Shuluanyan, but he himself did not. At this moment, he was a little doubtful whether he was a member of the Uchiha clan. Was it the abandoned baby that Uchiha Fudake picked up from the garbage dump? Uchiha Tomotaki. Sasuke and Itachi's Lousy also opened the existence of Kaleidoscope Riding Round Eyes. Advertisement. When Naruto was shocked, he never forgot to say in his heart, so that night was not an illusion. Shi Yu also had Shulunyan. Not only were they so surprised, Kakashi and the lurking in the dense fog, Nozan, were no exception. I didn't expect the 3 generations to be true. Shi Yu actually has the Shulunyan of the Uchiha clan, Kakashi said. Shulunyan, is this kid from the Uchiha clan? No longer stunned. Although Naruto and Sasuke had the same doubts, they knew that this was not the time to ask them. The most important thing right now is to defeat the enemy hiding in the mist. But at this time, the cold voice of not slashing again came from the mist. 8 places of throat, spine, lungs, carotid artery, subclavian vein, liver, kidney, and heart. Ask, you want me to attack that place? Naruto, Sasuke, and Tazuna were shocked even after hearing the extremely cold-blooded voice. Kakashi seemed to feel the fear emanating from Naruto and Sasuke, and immediately released his murderous aura into chakra. Spear. The 2 murderous invisible confrontations made Sasuke and others deeply depressed, as if they were about to suffocate. Even Mo Yu, who had already taken precautions, looked solemn. At this moment, Kakashi's voice also sounded, giving them some encouragement and confidence. Sasuke, don't worry, I will use my life to protect you. When he heard the words, Shi Yu also said, Teacher Kakashi, you can fight with peace of mind, we will protect ourselves. Kakashi nodded, but also focused on vigilant surroundings, ready to fight and never cut again. Chapter 25. In a quiet atmosphere. There was no fluctuation in the air, but a shadow was already quietly approaching Shi Yu and the 4 of them. Kakashi's Shuluanyan can't be used to the extreme, and I can't see clearly hiding in the fog without cutting it. However, Shi Yu's Shulunyan, which is turned on by the system, does not have this limitation. Just when Donzan was about to appear next to Shi Yu and the others, Shi Yu also hurriedly reminded. Spread. During the words, Shi Yu took Tazuna and flashed to one side, and Naruto and Sasuke also moved after hearing the sound, appearing on both sides of Shi Yu. Just the next moment they stepped away. The sound of not slashing is the place where they stood before, and Kakashi at this time also reacted. Turning around and staring at Mr. Reunion, he did not forget to praise Shi Yu. Shi Yu, good job. But at this time, if he didn't cut it, he stared at Shi Yu with a look of astonishment. He didn't expect his mist-hidden technique to be seen through by Shi Yu. Even Kakashi, who was a shinobu, did not react in time to the former. To this, he couldn't help but murmured. Is this the effect of Shulunyan, to the extreme? It looks like this kid has to solve it first. No longer cut his voice and temporarily transferred the target to Shi Yu, without unnecessary nonsense, directly swiping the big knife in his hand. Just when Shi Yu was about to fight back, Kakashi took the lead. Because his Shuluanyan had already seen the movement trajectory of no more slashing, he was instantaneously before he did not slash again, and the kuwu in his hand pierced into the latter's body without hesitation. Seeing this scene, Sasuke murmured, is it over? But in the next second, the body that didn't cut it turned into a ball of water, and then another one that didn't cut it appeared behind Kakashi. Teacher, be careful behind, Naruto hurriedly yelled, but it was too late, and the big knife he didn't slash was already cutting Kakashi in 2. But an unexpected scene appeared, and the Kakashi who had been chopped in 2 turned into a ball of water. This scene made him startled suddenly. Advertisement. Water body technique? Could it be that he copied my ninjutsu just now in the mist? At this point, it would be terribly shocked if he didn't cut it. He knew that Kakashi was dubbed the copy ninja, but he didn't expect the latter to be able to do so. In that situation, he could still copy his ninjutsu. And just before he was shocked, a voice immediately reached his ears. Do not move. No one else was talking, it was Kakashi. At this moment, he had already appeared behind him and would not cut, and the shuriken in his hand was lying across the latter's throat. It's over, don't cut it again. Seeing this scene, Naruto was also pleasantly surprised. As expected of Mr. Kakashi, that's amazing. However, there is no panic if he doesn't cut it at this time. On the contrary, his words revealed a touch of disdain, and he sneered, Kakashi, you do have 2 things. But this is like solving this, uncle, you are too naive. The voice fell, and the figure that was not cut again turned into a ball of water. Undoubtedly, this figure is another water body. Immediately afterwards, the real no more cut appeared behind Kakashi. There was no extra nonsense, and the beheading broadsword turned towards Kakashi's slash. Call out. Although Kakashi escaped the blow by virtue of his abundance, he was kicked away without being cut again. After landing safely, Kakashi plunged directly into the river after a brief thought. Originally, Kakashi wanted to launch an attack on the occasion of probing without cutting, but he was not aware of it again. The one who jumped into the water didn't cut it anymore and secretly used the spell of the water prison. The river became extremely heavy so that Kakashi, who had just jumped out of the water, couldn't get out of trouble in the first place. It directly caused him to be trapped in it without cutting it. I wanted to hide in the water first. What a mistake. Advertisement. Hearing Kakashi's words, he smiled if he didn't say it. Hey, you got fooled, that's why I want you to kick you here. As a misty ninja, my combat effectiveness in the water has increased a lot. Kakashi, I control you now, it's easy for me to kill those little ghosts. Our battle will be going on soon. The voice fell, and the seal was sealed again without cutting his hand. The art of moisture body, a low drink rang, and the second one appeared above the water without cutting. Immediately afterwards, under the gaze of Shiyu and the others, the water body that did not cut it slowly walked in front of them. You little devil, don't think that you are a ninja with ninja guard. True ninjas are only those who have experienced life and death. In other words, only those who are registered by this uncle can be considered ninjas, and you are not qualified. Naruto and Sasuke were stunned at the words that he didn't cut and didn't know what to do for a while. Kakashi, the strongest among them, has been trapped by the ladder. Can the few of them who have just graduated Sharingan defeat each other? When they were at a loss, Shiyu stood up. In that case, I will add one more name to your roster today, but I don't know. Do you have a life to remember? As this arrogant voice fell, everyone was shocked, even if he didn't cut himself again. Yo, what a funny kid. I started to like you a little bit, but it's a pity, today you are destined to be killed by my sword. Chapter 26. Seeing Shiyu preparing to fight no more, Kakashi said hurriedly. Shiyu. Don't worry about me, hurry up and leave with Tazuna. If you don't cut the water body too far away from the body, it won't last long. Kakashi knew that Shiyu had defeated the ghost brother, Mingye, but it was completely different from him if he didn't cut it. No longer cut is not only powerful but also bloodthirsty. Back then, in a place called Blood Mist in Wuyan village, the young man would kill all the more than 100 candidates with him. So, in Kakashi's view, even if the three of Shiyu were added together, they would not be the latter's opponent. Teacher, you said on the day of the assessment that we are a team. Since we are a team, how can we leave our partners and escape? I don't want to be a bad ninja. Kakashi was also taken aback when he heard Shiyu's words. Upon hearing this, Naruto and Sasuke's eyes became firm, and there was no sense of fear before them. Shiyu is right, we won't run away alone, Naruto yelled, and came directly to Shiyu's side. As for the Tsunere Sasuke, although he didn't say anything, his body was honest, standing on Shiyu's side as well. Seeing this scene, Kakashi was also extremely moved. Naruto, Sasuke, this person's physique is not under teacher Kakashi, you must be careful when you are going to fight. Besides, after Shiyu explained the battle plan to Naruto and Sasuke, there was no unnecessary nonsense, and he opened the second door of Hachiman Dunjia. Shut the door, open. Close the door. Lift the physical fatigue limit, overload and squeeze the body's energy to restore physical strength, which can offset the fatigue caused by the consumption of opening the door. In the next second, Shiyu's figure disappeared in place, and when he reappeared, he was already in front of him without cutting. So fast. This scene is very shocking if you don't cut it anymore. He didn't expect Shiyu's speed to be so fast, already catching up with his speed. Advertisement, but now he is allowed to think about it, even if there is only a 1% chance, he doesn't want to overturn the boat in the gutter. Kakashi, who was trapped in the water jail, was shocked when he saw this. The second door. Clang. The big sword that didn't cut it blocked Shiyu's shuriken attack, and the powerful strength made Shiyu a little unable to support it. Little devil, a little bit of strength. When the voice fell, he also increased his strength without cutting, and the big sword in his hand was swung frantically. Clang. 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 Under the continuous offensive, Shiyu finally couldn't resist it, and his body was chopped into two without being cut. Seeing this scene, the faces of Cassius and others changed drastically. I thought that Shiyu had said goodbye to this world, but no one thought that Shiyu, who had been chopped in two, had turned into a ball of water. What? Water body. No more stunned, but this made Kakashi and others relieved, and at the same time, they were secretly shocked. They didn't expect Shiyu to learn the water body art that never cuts. Not to mention that they didn't expect it, even if they didn't cut it again, they were stunned. If it hadn't been known that Shiyu had a pair of Shaolunyan, he would have doubted whether the latter had opened up. Like Kakashi, did you copy my ninjutsu? When his voice fell, Shiyu's figure had already appeared behind him. Seeing that Shiyu's shuriken was about to hit him, but just an inch away, he was firmly grasped without cutting. Boy, I admit that I underestimated you. When he stopped complimenting, he immediately said, however, it will end here after all. When the voice fell, his sword was also slashed towards Shiyu. Being firmly grasped, Shiyu couldn't break free at all. The broadsword hit him without any suspense. It was only surprising that the moment Shiyu's body was hit, it suddenly turned into a cloud of smoke and disappeared. Shadow clone. No longer stunned, Shiyu's voice sounded right after he fell. I found out now, it's too late. Next second, I saw Shiyu suddenly fall from the air, without any fancy. A single blow pierced the head that would not be cut. At this point, Shiyu's unslicing body was resolved by Shiyu. Advertisement. At this time, Naruto and Sasuke had teamed up to use Wind Demon Shuriken Shadow Windmill to force the water prison technique to stop being cut according to Tobi's plan. Because the body of the non-body had to trap Kakashi and the movement was restricted, Naruto and Sasuke jointly rescued Kakashi. Not only that, at the same time that the dungeon technique was cracked, the face that was not cut was also scratched by Naruto's shuriken. This made him extremely angry. Damn kid, during the violent drink, no longer slashing the Wind Demon shuriken in his hand, he is about to cut Naruto into pieces. However, 1 second before the Wind Demon shuriken threw it, a metal collision sounded. Clang. Then everyone saw that the high-speed rotating Wind Demon shuriken was blocked by Kakashi's wristband. Shiyu, Naruto, Sasuke, the three of you worked well this time. Go back and add chicken legs for you. Leave it to me next. Kaka's meaning is very simple, and then it's his turn to pretend to be forced. In this regard, Shiyu was naturally extremely happy. With his current strength, it is difficult to kill and not kill, but it is not impossible. However, since Kakashi took the initiative to get through this tiring job, why should he ask for trouble? As long as he kills the Peach Land no more kill in the system, there is no requirement that he be required to do it himself. So sit on the mountain and watch tigers fight, and be a melon-eating crowd, isn't he fragrant? If you don't cut it again, I won't hit the same move a second time. Next, what are you going to do? Humph. Hearing the words, he snorted slightly, and immediately distanced himself from Kakashi. Immediately afterwards, the Indian style was quickly formed in his hand. And Kaka also used the copying ability of Writer's Eyes to carry out the longest seal in history while not cutting again. Cho Shen Mao Zi Hai Yu Cho Wu Yu Zi Yin Shu Yin Si Cho Wei Si Hai Wei Zi Ren Shen Yu Cho Wu Wei Yin Si Zi Shen Mao Hai Chen Wei Zi Cho Shen Yu Ren Zi Hai Yu. 44 in total. In the second after the word, Yu, was printed, the same 7 words suddenly spit out from the throats of the two of them. Water escaped the art of Water Dragon Bomb. For this scene to be seen by the second generation of Hokage, thousands of hands, it is estimated that they will despise the two for a long time. Because this technique only requires 3 seals in the hands of the latter. Chapter 27. With the sound of Kakashi and no more cut falling, the surface of the water suddenly surged, ripples spread out, and something seemed to be taking shape. Next second, the 2 water dragons, formed by condensing water, rushed out of the water and rose into the air, and their sizes were almost the same. Immediately afterwards, the 2 water dragons collided together under everyone's stunned eyes. Boom. With a loud noise, the 2 water dragons with almost the same power burst open, and the huge waves spread towards the surroundings. Seeing this scene, Sasuke was still full of envy while stunned. Such a complicated Indian style was released in the blink of an eye, and it completely imitated the opponent's ninjutsu. Is this the copying ability of Shiluanyan, as a Uchiha clan? It is absolutely ironic that someone from a foreign clan who possesses Shiluanyan should be envied. Damn it. This guy is really as rumored, he can copy other people's ninjutsu in no time. I don't believe in this evil. After an angry shout, he decided to use Zeon's move to determine the outcome. However, what surprised him was that no matter what actions he would do next, Kakashi was able to predict it first, even the latter knew what he wanted to say. But it was not this that shocked him more, but the next scene. That ninjutsu originally belonged to him, but Kakashi took the lead in launching it. Water escaped the art of the Great Falls. Seeing the monstrous water curtain surging up behind Kakashi, the original creek instantly felt like a big river, which made me feel shocked if I didn't cut it anymore. How is this possible? This is obviously the technique I want to use to solve him. How could he activate it faster than me? As the astonishment of not slashing fell, his whole person was directly obliterated by the monstrous water curtain. Its power is so powerful that during the period, I don't know how many flowers and trees were destroyed, and some rocks couldn't support it. It was swept away and broken. After a while, after the huge current stopped, looking around, the ground is messed up. Advertisement, and the one who was hit by the front, was now leaning on a big tree, his breath languishing. Upon seeing this, Kakashi directly threw out his 4-handed sword, and firmly sealed the limbs that would not be cut, so that there was no chance of escape. Limbs are sealed, unable to seal. The seriously injured Nozan raised his head with difficulty, looked at the man who flashed in front of him, and spit out a word in disbelief. Why is this? Is it possible that you can predict the future? Yes. Kakashi gave him a 2-character answer, but in fact, he was able to do all this because of his ability to write round eyes. If you don't cut it anymore, it's over. Kakashi, whose voice fell, was about to give the final blow. But at this moment, the sudden scene made everyone stunned. Because before Kakashi took the shot, someone took the first step. Call out. Call out. Break in 2 lanes. After the voice fell into the ears of Shiyu and the others, they saw 2 more silver needles between the necks that were not cut at this time. Boom. Immediately afterwards, if he didn't cut it, he fell slowly in the eyes of everyone, and there was a voice that followed. HMPH, finally killed him. Hearing this, Shiyu and the others looked at them. What catches the eye is a mysterious person wearing a mask, with red and black stripes on the white mask, which seems to belong to some kind of organization. Seeing their size, Shiyu and the others are just a little bigger. After Kakashi checked the corpse that was not cut again and confirmed the fact that the latter had died, his attention also fell on the mysterious man wearing a mask. Kakashi and others didn't know the identity of this mysterious person, but Shiyu knew it all. He is the partner who will depend on each other no longer, the owner of the Ice Shield, Bloodstain Boundary, the descendant of the Shui family, Bai. This person is a young man with a female appearance. The snow rabbit that Shiyu and the others encountered before was raised in captivity. Are you from the assassination department of Wuyin Ninja Village? Advertisement. At Kakashi's question, Bai was taken aback for a moment and then nodded. I didn't expect you to recognize my identity. It was a bit of a surprise. However, having said that, I still want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to kill and never kill. Hearing this, Kakashi looked at Bai, secretly speculating in his heart. In his opinion, Bai's age should be about the same as Shiyu's. At this age, he could become a member of the Misty Assassination Team. Her strength is evident. Although such a genius is rare, it is not uncommon. Kakashi himself is one of them. Your battle is over, but I still need to deal with the body, because he has too many secrets. I hope you understand. When the voice fell, Bai flashed from the tree to the side who would not be beheaded. Just as he was about to take away the body that would not be beheaded, the sound of a voice was slightly taken aback. And many more. It was not someone else who spoke, it was Shiyu. Now that he hasn't been severely injured and has no power to fight again, how could he let the latter leave and wait for his injury to come back to trouble him? Shiyu would never do such a stupid thing. What's your question? The problem is not me, but you. As soon as Shiyu said this, Kakashi and others were taken aback, secretly saying in their hearts, is it possible that there is something wrong with the masked boy in front of him? Shiyu's amazing performance along the way made Kakashi and others believe that the former's words have a high degree of credibility. What do you mean by this? White questioned. When he heard the words, Shiyu sneered, and then said, in front of me, you still don't want to pretend. Actually, you didn't come to kill and never kill, but to save him. Chapter 28. Actually, you didn't come to kill and never kill, but to save him. When Shiyu said this, Bai was taken aback. Had it not been for him to put on a mask to protect the color of consternation on his face, I am afraid it would have been exposed. Shiyu, did you find something? Kakashi said. The evidence lies in not cutting the body again. After hearing this, Naruto took a look and didn't cut it, and then took a closer look and found that there was no problem, and asked aloud. I said, Shiyu, you don't want to confuse my appetite. Tell us why. The reason is simple. Look, if you don't cut the 2 silver needles on the neck, they are not hidden weapons for assassination at all, but specifically for treatment. Hearing Shiyu's words, Kakashi's gaze returned to the body that would not be cut again. After some careful investigation, it was confirmed that the silver needle on the neck was indeed used for treatment, not a hidden weapon specially used for assassination. Seeing that the situation is somewhat subtle, Bai tried another way to get out of trouble. Even if my silver needle is for medical use, but now it's dead without cutting it, why should I save him? If everything is as you said, there is nothing wrong with it, but the problem is. If you don't cut it again, you won't die. After Shiyu's words came out, Kakashi was the first to react and instantly locked Bai's position. Because after discovering that it was a silver needle for medical use, he had already noticed something was wrong. Shiyu, are you kidding me? Naruto had just raised his doubts, and Kakashi was the first to speak before Shiyu was puzzled. If I didn't guess wrong, it should be that the silver needle on his neck has sealed a certain acupuncture point and entered a state of suspended animation. Suspended animation. Sasuke and Naruto didn't expect that there would be such a show operation, and their faces couldn't help showing a look of astonishment. Kakashi. Advertisement, according to your statement, as long as the silver needle on the neck is removed, he will be able to come back to life? Naruto asked. Seeing Kakashi nodding, Naruto looked eager to try. When Bai saw this scene, the pretty face under the mask looked at a loss. The current situation was completely beyond his expectation, it has been out of his control. The reason for all this is Shiyu. At this moment, his eyes were fixed on the latter, and he never expected that the small detail of the silver needle would expose himself to flaws. Seeing that Naruto was about to pull the silver needle on his neck, Bai Lima stepped forward and stood in front of Naruto. Because once the silver needle is pulled out, if the bleeding is not stopped in time, you will die if you don't cut it again. And Shiyu and others would definitely not let him help without cutting treatment. Therefore, he must not let Naruto pull out the silver needle on his neck without cutting it. Unexpectedly, I would show flaws because of 2 silver needles. For nothing out, undoubtedly admit that he is here to save and never cut. However, even without these 2 silver needles, Shiyu knew that he was a partner who would never cut. No way. Who called Shiyu a traverser? If you didn't guess wrong, you kept the snow rabbit that you didn't use as a stand-in before. You are smarter than I thought. The words between the words were in vain, and I admired Shiyu, because he had never met someone as smart as Shiyu. There are not so many coincidences in the world. If there are, most of them are premeditated. Bai knew that the current situation was beyond his control and said frankly, I don't want to be your enemy, I just want to save him. That's it, it's a pity, you must die if you don't cut it today, Shiyu also confessed. He will not give up the task of the system because, White, is a good person. Taking a step back, even if there is no system that does not issue this task, he will not let it go. Advertisement because he is not the virgin. Today, their battle with Bai is destined to be unavoidable. Kakashi knew that Bai was extraordinary and wanted to solve it himself, but his mind suddenly blurred in the next second. Not good, overuse of eyes. Before the last, was finished, Kakashi fell to the ground under the stunned eyes of everyone. Boom. As his body made a firm contact with the ground, everyone believed this fact. Kakashi. Upon seeing it, Naruto also yelled, with a deep worry on his face. The same is true for Tazuna. Now that Kakashi is down, can you and the three be able to deal with the mysterious masked man in front of them? Naruto, don't worry. M's Kakashi will only faint if he uses Gelunion excessively, and it will be fine after a good rest. That's good, Naruto said with a sigh of relief. The same is true for Sasuke, who heard this. Although he didn't say it, he still had an emotion for Kakashi. Nothing else, just because of Kakashi's previous words. Sasuke, I'm not afraid, I will use my life to protect you. Naruto. Sasuke. Now teacher Kakashi can no longer fight, and now we can only fight against the three of us. Do you two have any problems? Naturally, I have no problem. I don't know if Sasuke is okay. Naruto did not forget to compete with Sasuke. You don't have a problem with the tail of the crane, I'm naturally fine. Well, this person will be dealt with by the two of you. Sasuke and Naruto were both taken aback when they heard Shiyu's words. They didn't expect Shiyu to say this way. Shiyu is the strongest among the three of them. It stands to reason that the former should be the first to take the lead, so how can you be embarrassed to push them to them? Chapter 29. Seeing the doubts appearing on Sasuke and Naruto's faces, Shiyu also said. Is such that. Now we don't know if there are any other companions if we don't cut it, so I'll take care of you first, and at the same time, I can protect Tazuna and teacher Kakashi. Seeing Sasuke and Naruto being moved by himself, Shiyu was another radical commander. Of course, if you feel that you are not an opponent, we can exchange it. Anyway, I don't mind. As predicted. Hearing Toki's words, Naruto and Sasuke said in unison. No need. The two of them looked at each other, and then their eyes were locked on Bai's body. Although Bai's physical skills are not as good as not cutting, but his bloodstain limit is extremely powerful, and his strength is not much better than not cutting. So Tokuhasuo asked Sasuke and Sasuke to deal with the latter in order to deepen the bond between the husband and wife. After all, they are Shiyu's default little brothers. Moreover, this battle has another advantage, that is, to help Sasuke open the sharing eyes. Furthermore, with Bai's disposition, he would not kill them. Even if the situation changes later, he will take action in time, so that the two of them will not worry about their lives. In order not to slash, Bai also made preparations for the battle. Next second, Naruto and Sasuke each hold one side, attacking White from left to right. Even though Bai's physical skills were stronger than the two, he still felt strenuous in the face of the continuous attacks of the two. Because Bai's tough place is not physical skills, but his bloodstain limit. Clang. Clang. Boom. After a short fight, Shiro, who resisted the sword in Naruto and assistant Zuo, was repelled by the kick of the two at the same time. Can't delay it. It's been a while since you didn't cut it and entered the suspended animation state. If it drags on for too long, the suspended animation will become real. Advertisement at this point, Bai could only show his true ability. Next second, chakra broke out on Shiro's body, and then Naruto and Sasuke felt a cold air spread in the air. Immediately afterwards, a soft drink was also spit out from Bai's mouth. Secret technique mirror ice crystal. After the white voice fell, a mirror made of ice crystals surrounded Naruto and Sasuke. Mirror? What kind of magic is this? While Sasuke and Naruto were shocked, Bai walked towards the mirror of ice crystal, and then slowly blended into it under their stunned eyes. Then he appeared in all the mirrors, as if he was more than one person. When Shiyu saw this, he also murmured in his mouth. Oh, did it finally show up? Undoubtedly, this is the bloodstain boundary, inherited from his mother's clan, Ice Shield. Bloodstain limit. The vast majority are passed down through blood, and only a few evildoers can comprehend it by themselves. Although Shiyu now possesses chakras with two attributes of wind and water, but because of his lack of talent, he can't understand the mystery of them, so he can't merge the two attributes into ice attribute chakras. You too, start enlightenment from now on. As the voice fell, Bai raised his white palms, and silver needles appeared. Show you my real speed. Call out. With the sound of breaking through the air, 3 silver needles came out of the ice mirror. The speed was so fast that even the genius Sasuke couldn't react, and his arm was directly bruised. But this is not over. Immediately afterwards, one after another burst of air sounded. Call out. Call out. Call out. This made Sasuke and Naruto, who were in it, suddenly fell into danger, and it was enough for them to avoid the silver needle. Advertisement without any choice. Sasuke directly used his best ninjutsu, trying to melt the ice crystals. Art Fire Escape Ho Fireball. However, the final result was far from satisfactory. Sasuke's fire escape ninjutsu did not cause the slightest damage to the magic mirror ice crystal, just like sinking into the ocean. Regarding Sasuke's loss, Bai did not forget to fall into the ground. This level of flame can't dissolve my ice crystals. Cut. Hearing that, Sasuke looked extremely unwilling, and even his fire escape was unable to cause harm to him, so wouldn't they be undoubtedly defeated? At this moment, he was wondering whether to help Shiyu. However, his unrelenting self-esteem has suppressed this idea. Seeing Sasuke's idea of no help, Naruto, who was competing with him, naturally lost this idea. Look at me. The technique of multiple shadow clones. The voice fell, and the entire magic mirror ice crystal, except for Sasuke and the white in the mirror, the rest were Naruto's figures. With Naruto's thoughts moving, all the shadow clones attacked at the same time, trying to use the human sea tactics to smash all the magic mirror ice crystals. However, with Bai's ultra-high speed moving, Naruto had no chance to get close to the ice crystal. Call out. Call out. Call out, bang, bang, bang. Without the slightest surprise, every silver needle shot was accompanied by a crisp sound, which was the sound of the shadow clone being broken and disappearing. Needless to say, Naruto's method also failed. Taking 10,000 steps back, even if Naruto's shadow clone could approach the ice crystal, it would not be able to crush it. Because even Sasuke's flames couldn't melt, he obviously couldn't do it with Naruto's current physical skills. At this moment, Zuo Ming and his wife are helpless. Chapter 30. Bai looked at Zuo Ming in the ice mirror and slowly said, "Don't struggle fearlessly. This is my movement technique using mirror reflection. From my point of view, you are static." Hearing that, Sasuke fell into deep thought. After a short period of thought, he found a way to win and quickly discussed with Naruto. As Bai said, here are all mirrors. Therefore, only one of the mirrors is truly white, and the others are projections. As long as they find Bai's body, and then seize the opportunity to shoot it down during its high-speed movement, they will be able to win. But Bai obviously wouldn't give them extra time to think about how to crack this magic mirror ice crystal, because he couldn't delay it because he didn't cut it again. Call out. Call out. Call out. Silver Needle is released again. This time Naruto and Sasuke are not acting alone, but teaming up against the enemy. Naruto uses the shadow clone to create opportunities for Sasuke. As expected, Sasuke did not disappoint Naruto. He looked at the timing and resorted to the art of fireball. Although he could not hit Bai, he burned a corner of Bai's clothes to ashes. For this result, Sasuke and Naruto are not lost. On the contrary, the heart is more eager to try. Because, under the close cooperation of the two of them, Bai's trajectory can already be captured. This is undoubtedly good news. As long as they follow this method, the odds of winning will get bigger and bigger. This may be the result of the husband and wife's joint efforts. The saying that, husband and wife are of the same heart, their profit cuts money, is not unreasonable. Bai was quite surprised by this. He didn't expect that Sasuke could faintly keep up with his own speed only with his naked eyes. This kind of thing has never happened before. However, Bai never thought that Sasuke was able to slowly keep up with Bai's speed, not because the latter suddenly became stronger, but because his bloodstain limit was slowly waking up. Sasuke, Shilunyan, has already been opened, but he can't use it yet. Perceiving Sasuke's abnormality, in order to prevent any accidents from happening, Bai directly increased his efforts, so that Sasuke and Naruto's original plan of slowly winning was ruined. Seeing that the situation is becoming more and more unfavorable for both of them, Sasuke shouted, "Naruto, we can't win at this rate." Then what to do? In this way, I will attract his attention, and you will take the opportunity to escape outside. At that time, we should be inside and outside, and we will definitely be able to break this damn mirror ice crystal. Advertisement. Naruto also nodded heavily, and then tried all his strength to rush out of the ice mirror cage. However, with his speed, he can't break through Bai's defense. "I don't have time to spend with you, just fall down here." As Shiro's voice fell, I saw countless silver needles shooting towards Sasuke and Naruto from all directions. Call out. Call out. Call out. Trapped in the ice cage, the two of them are unavoidable. Naruto, who was already physically exhausted, saw this scene, and subconsciously blocked Sasuke's body, and used his body to force most of the following silver needle. At this time, Naruto Chakra was almost exhausted, and the acupoint was blocked by Bai and fell to the ground weakly, unable to fight. Even if he has the super resilience given by Nine Tails, he still needs to rest for a while before waking up. Naruto. A cry from the heart came out of Sasuke's mouth, watching Naruto fall on the ground, his clenched fists creaking. As if to say again, I dared to hurt my love like this. Don't worry, you will be like him next time. When Sasuke was angry, Shiro's voice sounded again, followed by the countless silver needles. Do not in the event of an accident. In the next second, Sasuke should be blocked like Naruto's acupuncture points, thus losing combat ability. However, an unexpected scene appeared. This time, Sasuke escaped all the silver needles perfectly, and he was still holding Naruto. This scene made Bai very surprised, and he didn't know the reason until Sasuke showed those red eyes. This is right round eyes. Bai Wanwan did not expect that Sasuke also possesses bloodstain boundary. How rare this thing is, but today he saw 3 owners in a row. Moreover, these 3 have the same kind. God seemed to be joking with him, and the dream of bloodstain limit now seemed to be a worthless thing. Although Sasuke successfully opened the Shaolunyan, left eye single go jade, right eye double go jade, he can barely see the speed of innocence, but his chakra is almost exhausted. If you continue to fight, you will eventually be defeated. At the same time, the magic mirror ice crystal outside. Seeing what happened inside, Dasna was also worried. Little brother, your dwarf melon buddy has fallen. You can help them quickly. I will take care of your teacher, it is good. Advertisement. Shiyu also nodded, and then slowly walked towards the magic mirror ice crystal. Because Sasuke has successfully opened Shaolunyan, he has no need to let the two continue to fight. At this time, Bai's voice of surprise sounded in the magic mirror ice crystal. It's incredible, bloodstain limit, you have to be awakened in battle. Although you can see through my attacks now, I am him but I can't. In order to protect him from slashing, Bai could only resort to this shameful trick, and he turned his target to Naruto. If Sasuke wants to protect Naruto, he can't avoid his attack. By then, the battle will come to an end. As soon as I thought of this, Bai did not think about it, and acted directly. Call out. Call out. Call out. Seeing Shiro shooting all the silver needles at Naruto, Sasuke quickly exclaimed. Not good. As the voice fell, his body quickly rushed towards Naruto's location. Undoubtedly, what he was thinking at this time was, I will never allow others to hurt my lover, even if they want to hurt, it can only be me. This is the so-called, love and kill each other. Clatter. The moment he stood in front of Naruto, Sasuke was ready to hardwire those silver needles. But in the next second, a strange scene appeared. I saw the silver needle that should have fallen on him, but at this moment it was weirdly floating in front of his eyes, as if being caught by an invisible big hand, unable to get the slightest inch. Seeing this scene, Bai in the ice mirror was also dumbfounded, which surprised him even more than Sasuke's opening, Sharingan. What exactly is going on? Just when the two were puzzled, a figure slowly walked in from the magic mirror ice crystal. The visitor is not someone else, it is Shiyu, P.S. Because the author wants to present the contents of Naruto. As much as possible, he will check the information whenever he encounters any problems, and don't want to make low-level errors. Of course, sometimes it is inevitable that there will be omissions, and I hope you can give me your advice. But don't draw a knife. Coupled with the author's handicap, it is a bit slow to write, but I have been working hard, I hope you can understand. I like this anime very much because it has witnessed my youth, chapter 31. Because of the shock, the atmosphere in the ice crystal cage was unusually quiet. Clatter. Clatter. So that Shiyu's slight footsteps could be heard clearly, and both Dabai and Sasuke's eyes fell on the former. Sasuke, you did a great job, you take good care of Naruto and leave the finishing touches to me. Hearing that, Sasuke was a little unhappy, because he just opened Writing Wheel Eyes, and felt that he had the capital to defeat Bai. How could Shiyu steal his head with just one sentence? But, Sasuke originally wanted to refute, but it was interrupted by Shiyu. It's nothing. With your current state, you may not have a chance of winning in the fight, you know this in your heart better than anyone else. Furthermore, my purpose is to help you open Jiaolunyan. Now that the goal has been achieved, there is no need for this battle to go on. Seeing Sasuke's stunned look, Shiyu said again, I know you have a lot of questions, after everything is over, I will ask them all at once. When the voice fell, Shiyu's gaze fell on Bai's body. At this time, Bai was extremely shocked. He didn't expect Shiyu's move to help Sasuke awaken Bloodstain Limit. Your Excellency, I know you were merciful in the previous battle, otherwise, the two of them would never live to the present. So, I plan to give you a good time. From now on, I will bury you in the one who won't be cut. This is the only thing I can do for you, and it can be regarded as the return of your mercy just now. Shiyu knew that if he didn't cut it to death, Bai would not live alone. Hearing this, Bai was taken aback again. Shiyu's words made him feel as if he had been seen through. At this point, Bai felt a kind of creepy feeling. Looking at Shiyu in front of him, a touch of fear rose involuntarily in his heart. Hearing that, Sasuke was taken aback for a moment, and then he glanced at the silver needle on his body, and almost none of them caused fatal damage to him. This result made him suddenly realize, it turns out that the opponent released the water in this battle. Advertisement as Shiyu said, there is indeed no need to go on in this battle, because they have already lost. Originally, Shiro was still thinking about quickly solving Sasuke and Naruto, and then went out to solve the stronger Toki. But now it seems that it doesn't have to be so troublesome. Because the latter took the initiative to deliver it. If that's the case, let's do our best. As the voice fell, Bai in the ice mirror raised his hand again, without unnecessary nonsense, shooting silver needles at Shiyu. However, the same scene as before happened again. I saw all the silver needles stopped in the air again as before, unable to advance even a bit. The only difference was that they were suspended in front of Toki Yu at this time. At this moment, he finally knew who made the move before. What is this? What ninjutsu? Hearing the words, Mo Yu flipped his palm gently, and all the silver needles that had stopped in the air were suspended in his palm. It's okay to tell you, this technique is called Open Black Lens Bracket Magnetic Escape Latte Close Black Lens Bracket. Magnetic Escape Latte. You can freely control things that contain iron. Principle. Converting highly condensed chakras into magnetic force. This is the ability of Ichio Sho Crane. Shuhei, although it has magnetic escape, it has not created any ninjutsu on magnetic escape. At most it is integrated into the sealing technique, which is also the reason why Yue's sealing technique is stronger. Therefore, this trick, Magnetic Escape Latte, was created by Shiyu. Controlling metal objects is the basic use of magnetic escape. This is the same reason that Bai, who has an ice shield, can condense water into ice. No way, although Shiyu has mastered magnetic escape, but the time is still short, and his talent is not very strong. Therefore, it is impossible to create a powerful magnetic escape ninjutsu in a short time. Bloodstain Limit. The technique is not so easy to master, even for extremely enchanting geniuses, it takes time. Magnetic Escape. Bai Nian grumbled, and the preface under the mask suddenly showed a thick color of consternation in the next second. Advertisement, isn't it the Bloodstain Boundary of the Kingdom of Wind? Oh, you also know the Bloodstain Limit of the Kingdom of Wind. Shiyu was slightly surprised in the words. I've seen it in the Misty Assassination Department manual. Bai has followed and won't cut it for so long. It is not surprising that he knows some secrets, just as he saw that Sasuke's Bloodstain Limit was Sharingan. After hearing these words, Sasuke could no longer calm down. If it is true as Bai said, Wouldn't you possess two kinds of bloodstain limit at that time? Although there are such people, they are absolutely rare in the entire ninja world, and can be said to be a rare genius in a century. To be precise, he should be the lucky one, and this so-called lucky son, there is one standing in front of him, or his companion. Can this not shock him? Because even if you were a genius, it is difficult to master more than two types of bloodstain boundaries. Some geniuses spend their entire lives and cannot comprehend one. Therefore, it is basically a genius to possess bloodstain boundary, but geniuses may not have bloodstain boundary. Fortunately, Kakashi and Naruto are still in a coma, otherwise, his looks at the moment must be the same as Sasuke. After some consternation, Bai gave his evaluation of Shiyu. You are stronger than I thought. With your words, I can let you leave with a corpse that won't be cut again. What do you think? Shiyu said. No need. Everyone has something they want to protect, and the only thing I want to protect is him. He gives birth to me, and he gives birth to me. Do you live and die together? Shiyu muttered and said at any time. Well, then I can fulfill you? When the voice fell, Shiyu's control of dozens of silver needles floating in his palm shot towards the ice in all directions. This moment, his battle with Bai finally started. Chapter 32. Call out. Call out. Call out. This time, it was Shiyu's turn to start playing with needles. Although this needle is a bit thin, it is long enough and sharp enough. Obviously it has been tempered. Upon seeing this, Bai could only give up playing with the needles in his pants. Because he knew that no matter how good his needle skills were, it would be useless in front of Toki, who possessed magnetic escape. This is the so-called Tianke. Ding, ding. When each silver needle pierces the ice mirror, it will make a subtle sound, like a metal symphony. But in the end it seemed to have some effect. Bai hiding in the ice mirror was still safe and sound. No way, these silver needles are not enough to crush this magic mirror ice crystal. With the superb movement technique in Magic Mirror Ice Crystal, Bai easily escaped Shiyu's silver needle attack. Although he cannot play needles in front of Shiyu, he is the ancestor of needles after all. In this regard, Bai also said, playing needles in front of me, are you a bit too self-righteous? Really? The voice fell, and the ice crystals on the opposite side of the mirror suddenly began to shake. In the next second, he flew out under Bai Quo's stunned gaze. Boom! It hit a huge boulder, and it was smashed into pieces. How is this going? How could ice crystals fly out for no reason? Moreover, he smashed his head on the boulder. Could it be that it became conscious and then didn't want to live anymore? Seeing this scene, Bai could be described as puzzling. Even Sasuke, who was pretending to be clever, was stunned for a long time to know the reason. It's magnetic escape. After hearing Sasuke's words, Bai finally realized it suddenly. At this moment, he finally understood. It turned out that Shiyu's attack was not brainless, but premeditated. The magic mirror ice crystal moved because of the silver needle that had been shot inside. Advertisement. While Bai knew the principle, at this time the magic mirror ice crystals, one after another, flew towards the huge boulder next to him under Shiyu's control. Boom! 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 With the sound of voices, the ice crystal cage was disappearing at a speed visible to the naked eye. But even this scene made Bai and Sasuke look shocked. Because the silver needles shot by Shiyu were limited before, the fewer silver needles in the ice mirror, the more chakras that must be spent to drive it. However, this is not a problem for Shiyu at all. Shiyu had a huge chakra as his backing. Even if there was only a silver needle in an ice mirror, he could withstand the consumption. In a short moment, all the ice mirrors were completely destroyed by Moyu, and Bai, who had nowhere to stand, could only break away from it, using the water blinking technique to increase the distance. The technique of water instantaneous body, a kind of instantaneous body technique. At this point, the magic mirror ice crystal, ice shield secret technique has been broken. After this brief confrontation, Bai understood a truth, that is, a ninja with a powerful strength is often not the most terrifying, but a ninja who is both powerful and smart. Etsuki Teruya and Uchiha Madara are real examples. As the ancestor of chakra, Etsuki Kagayaji, she is undoubtedly the strongest existence in the entire ninja world. Yes, but why would the latter be sealed, also, twice? The essential reason was because she was too stupid. Of course, the second time she was sealed might be because she had been locked up for a long time and her mind was a little bit funny. What about the first time? Maybe it's loneliness. Instead of staying alone every night to watch the children and grandchildren create human beings, it is better to let your son be sealed. This is a relief. These few sentences are pure ridicule. After breaking the magic mirror ice crystal, Shiyu had no more nonsense, and once again controlled all the silver needles to shoot towards the white. Obviously, Shiyu still rules his body in his own way. Not good. Perceiving the silver needles shot from all directions, Bai knew that his own was inevitable. In this regard, he can only use defensive skills. Advertisement, Ice Shield Ice Rock Hall nothing. Ice Shield Ice Rock Hall nothing. Create a wall of ice around the body to block the enemy's attack. After blocking Shiyu's silver needle attack, Bai also attacked with a backhand. He knew that he could only defeat Shiyu by surprise. Otherwise, he will not have the slightest chance of winning. Secret technique 1000 killing Shuixiang. As Bai's low voice fell, a large amount of water suddenly appeared, like a cherry blossom. Secret of water escape 1000 kills in Shuixiang. Turn the water into a large number of thousands, and perform a wide-range high-speed shooting of nearly 360 degrees. Seeing this scene, Yu was not too surprised. But Sasuke at the back was shocked. He was shocked not because of how strong Bai displayed the Shui Dun, but because Bai used the one-handed knot to initiate this technique. Sasuke thinks he is talented enough, but today he is hit hard. Just forget Yu's pervert. Now even such an unknown traitor is better than him. But Sasuke's most consternation was far more than this, but at this time the full sky surrounding Takiwa's body. Needless to say, that is also 1,000 killing water shang. The ice shield cannot be copied, but Shui Dun can be. Mo Yu was able to perform this water escape secret technique, naturally because he opened the 3 Guyu Jade writing wheel eyes. One-handed knot printing is the result of talent. Even if you have Shilunyan, it is difficult to copy. If it weren't for Shiyu's talent to increase by 100 times, it would definitely not be possible. Because of this, Shiyu's speed at displaying 1,000 killing water shang lags behind Bai. Otherwise, at least it's all synchronized. If Bai is affected by illusion, then Shiyu will be a step faster, just like Kakashi uses the illusion attached to the Shiluanyan. While copying, the mind is not cut. But the problem is that this is the first time Shiyu has made a seal with one hand, so he can't do multiple tasks. Otherwise, it is very likely to fail. But even if it is a step slower, Sasuke is both envious and jealous. Because he also possesses Xiaolunyan, but he can't replicate this technique in such a short period of time. Let alone display it. It can only be said that his Xiaolunyan hasn't gotten home yet. But it is understandable, after all, he has just turned it on. Chapter 33. Seeing this scene, Bai was also surprised. He didn't expect Shiyu to have mastered Xiaolunyan to such an extent that he could even copy the Jian with one hand. On this alone, it is better than Kakashi. Bai quickly returned to his senses. He knew that when he didn't know the astonishment, he would be astonished for a second, and if he didn't cut it, he would be a bit more dangerous. Next second, the two groups of thousands of water collided in the air, and the intertwined sound was endless, and countless splashes of water sputtered. The flowers and plants on the side were cut into pieces. What's more, even the hard rock was left with scratches visible to the naked eye. As the thousands of water dissipate, the final result is evenly matched. Shiyu was able to match Bai Dou's performance for the first time, and from this, Shiyu could be regarded as a better skill. But this is only the result of the 1,000 killing water shang competition. The real end is that Bai's body is covered with silver needles at this time. Those silver needles of his own. Just now after Tokiba's fight escape technique, the ice wall he made before he could use his defensive skills, Bingantang no, was taken away by Takiwa's magnetic escape latte. After regaining his senses, Bai Fang looked at the silver needle on his body and found it a bit ridiculous. He did not expect that he would die under his own weapon. Immediately afterwards, he raised his head to look at Shiyu, exhausted his last breath, and said, "It's not wrong to lose in your hands, can you tell me your name?" Obviously, he knew he was dead soon. Shiyu did not hide this. Takikawa Tokiha, Shiyu, I hope you can keep your previous promise. Do not worry. After getting Shiyu's reply, the pretty face under the white mask also showed a smile of relief. Because he no longer has to live the life of licking blood on the tip of a knife, and he can stay with the person he wants to protect forever. Advertisement immediately afterwards. Bai tossed his head and looked at the unidentified person on the side. Without cutting, the delicate body also slowly fell. Boom. When Bai fell down, Shiyu also received a prompt from the system. Ding. The task of killing, Peach Land no more killing, is complete. 1 second after the system prompt dropped, the system's voice continued to ring. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully unlocking the second reward of the God reward system. Talent increased by 1,000 times. Chakra is increased by 1,000 times. Get the power of another trip, i.e. the chakra and ability of the second tail. Get 2 chances to draw. After the system prompts, Shiyu felt a lot clearer in his head and some unexplained knowledge and mysteries became clear in an instant. Especially the understanding of the fire attribute chakra. This shows of course, it is because of the power of the traveling, because the 2 tails traveling is good at fire escape, and the fire attribute chakra is extremely powerful. Its flame is blue, which is much stronger than the level of ordinary flames. In this world, I am afraid that only the strongest fire, Amaterasu, can crush it. At the same time, Shiyu's previous squandering of a large amount of chakra was also supplemented, which made his spirit more vigorous, and it was completely different from the appearance of just going through a big battle. Not only that, Shiyu felt that with his current talent, he might be able to comprehend a new, bloodstained boundary. But can it? Only after trying it will I know. However, it is obviously not working right now, because there is still a mess waiting for him to clean up. With the second reward unlocked, Shiyu also knew that he would be dead if he didn't cut it again. Advertisement. Looking at the 2 corpses on the ground, Shiyu knew that he would not use this method to escape once or twice. It's just that he never dreamed that the feigned death this time would make Shiyu's fake reality come true, and it would never be possible for him to wake up. Sasuke's gaze shifted from Shirato Zabuza to Takiwa, and his face at the moment couldn't help showing a look of admiration. This time, he admired Shiyu from the bottom of his heart. Not only him, but even Dasna was dumbfounded. He never expected a 12-year-old boy to be so capable. And now, Naruto had woke up from a coma under the recovery of the power of the 9 tails. The first word he woke up was, "Sasuke, where is that masked man?" Died. Hearing Sasuke's answer, Naruto glanced around and looked at the white face lying on the ground with both joy and jealousy. Happy that they defeated the masked man, and jealous that he thought it was Sasuke who broke the magic mirror ice crystal and killed the latter. Nevertheless, Naruto asked unwillingly, wanting to make the final confirmation. Sasuke, did you do this? Although Sasuke heard that he did not answer, he had already said the answer wherever he looked. Naruto, what's the problem? Wait until Dazuna's uncle's house. Teacher Kakashi is still in a coma. Also, now come and help bury these two people. Hearing Shiyu's words, Naruto could only put aside all the doubts in his heart for a while. Immediately afterwards, with the help of Dazuna, Shiyu and the others found a good scenic spot for Baihi Zaibuzan and buried the two together. As for the beheading broadsword, Shiyu was directly included in the inventory of the system. Although this knife is not good at dripping, but the force of Ghost Lamp Shuei has a soft spot for it, and it is not bad to use it to seduce him in the future. After doing this, Shiyu and the others led the unconscious Kakashi towards the location of Dazuna's house. Chapter 34. After a while, Shiyu and the others also arrived at Dazuna's house smoothly. There were two others in his house, one big and one young. The oldest is his daughter, Tsunami, who is 20 and 9 years old, and she is a middle-aged beautiful woman. The younger is his grandson, Inari, who is only 8 years old, and has entered a rebellious period early due to the death of his stepfather Kisha. After arriving at Zena's house, Shiyu took advantage of the time Kakashi hadn't awakened, and by the way studied the unlocking conditions of the third reward. 1. Liberation of the Country of Waves. 2. Defeat the Atonin Trio. 3. Save Gaara with the Tail Beast. For these 3 unlocking conditions, for the current Shiyu, the last one is a bit trickier, and the first 2 are not difficult. The so-called liberation of the Country of Waves is nothing more than destroying the unscrupulous merchant, Kado. This one couldn't be the simplest. As for the Atonin Trio, it was Oshimaru, sent to test whether Sasuke was qualified to be his container pawn. After simple thinking, Shiyu murmured, "It seems we have to find an opportunity to learn psychic art from Zelaya. As long as you sign a contract with Miaomu Mountain, the Holy Land, not only can you channel out the powerful contract beast, Toad Wentai, but also help him better complete the third unlocking condition. Moreover, in the future, you can go to open black lens bracket Miaomu Mountain close black lens bracket to practice Shanshu. This move is not the best of both worlds. There are 2 other sacred places with the name of Miaomu Mountain, namely, Longdi Cave and Wet Bone Forest. Shiyu is also very interested in these 2 holy places, but the problem is that one person can only sign a contract with a psychic beast. Of course, except for the animal Dao in the 6 Ways of Pain. Can only say that it is a special case, but this is a possibility. Maybe more psychic beasts can be signed by mastering the power of animal Dao. It doesn't matter, let's talk about it later. After chanting, Shiyu's gaze also fell on the 2 lucky draw opportunities, and his eyes were full of expectations. Advertisement: he won the 3 Guyu right round eyes in the last lottery. I don't know what he can get these 2 times. This is my heart. Shiyu didn't procrastinate either, and opened the lottery interface directly. Immediately afterwards, he held out a big hand with a nervous heart, and clicked the Start button in the lottery frame. As the items in the frame began to turn, Shiyu's heart beat faster, his eyes staring at him. In a few seconds, the first draw is over. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 8-door Dunjia Duman Physique. Hearing the prompt of the system, Shiyu's first reaction was stunned, and then a little excited in his heart. Duman's Physique? Could it be? After murmured to himself, Shiyu directly clicked to confirm, with an expression of eagerness on his face. Quickly glanced at the introduction of 8-door Dunjia Duman Physique. In the inventory, everything was exactly the same as he thought. The physique of the Duman of the 8 doors Dunjia. After use, the host can directly obtain the physical fitness to open the Duman. Originally Shiyu was still correcting how does Jia exercise his physique, because if he wants to open the back 5 of 8 doors Dunjia, talent alone is not enough. You must have strong physical fitness as a prerequisite. But he didn't want to work hard like Xiao Li and K Emperor, because it was too bitter and tired, and only their 2 live treasures could persist and have fun in hardship. But Shiyu is different. How can he exercise with the system? The system doesn't have to face it. Now it's okay. The system saved his face, and directly drew such a good thing for him. After some excitement, Shiyu started the second round of the lottery. With the harvest of the first round, Shiyu became more and more looking forward to it. After the frame stopped, the system sound also sounded. Ding! Congratulations to the host for acquiring the Flying Thunder God technique. At this moment, Shiyu almost jumped with excitement, because the result of the second lottery draw was not much better than the first one. The art of Flying Thunder God, S-level spacetime ninjutsu, using the technique to achieve teleportation. Advertisement: when this technique is activated, no seal is required, and the caster can shift a huge target when the energy chakra is full. For example, 4 generations, Bofeng Shuiman, Transfer Tail Beast Jade. If one talks about 8-door Dunjia, Duman Physique, and Flying Thunder God art, naturally the latter is more powerful. But in today's Shiyu's eyes, there is not much difference. That is because the current Shiyu has 1,000 times the talent. As long as he obtains the Flying Thunder God technique, cultivation method, given time, he will definitely be able to master it. But 8-gate Dunjia, Duman physique is different. If there is no such thing, even if Shiyu's talent is enough, but to open Duman, you must exercise your body to sufficient opening conditions. This is a bit guilty. After some thoughts, Shiyu also didn't talk nonsense and directly used the two things. Ding! Congratulations to the host's physical body for reaching 8-door Dunjia Duman physique. Ding! Congratulations to the host for mastering time and space ninjutsu, Flying Thunder God's art. After the system's prompt fell, Shiyu felt full of power, which was the original power of the muscles. So strong, at this moment, Shiyu also knew clearly why Xiao Li could defeat Gaara when he opened Doman. Once the energy contained in this physical body erupts, it is indeed not to be underestimated. At the same time, Shiyu's mind also clearly showed the surgery style of Flying Thunder God's art. This surgery style was the key to mastering this technique. Only by comprehending it can we understand the mystery of space. But how many people in the world can comprehend this mystery, which also led to the near loss of Flying Thunder God's art? Among Konoha today, only Shiranui Genma, Combined Foot Sane, and Dai Ivashi can barely display their work. This shows that the difficulty of this technique is high. It's not unreasonable that the 4 generations are strong. After Shiyu calmed down his high mood, Kakashi finally woke up from the coma. Regarding this, Shiyu knew that the inevitable was coming. Chapter 35 Moonlight is like water, pouring down like a transparent waterfall. In the room, Kakashi's body was still unable to move when he woke up. According to his self-report, he would not recover until he was trained for a week. This price is really not small. This is the consequence of non-Uchiha people's excessive use of Shunyan. If this side effect is to be overcome, Kakashi must have the cells of the first generation, Senjima. By the way, do I have to use primary cells to use Izanagi? The answer is yes. The so-called Izanagi is a kind of ultimate pupil technique, a more abnormal kind of illusion technique. There are 2 ways to open this technique. 1 have kaleidoscope right round eye, because its own pupil power is enough, so it can be used without the first generation of cells. 2 in the normal state, the pupil power is insufficient, and it is necessary to use the primary cells to strengthen the pupil power before it can be displayed. Otherwise, it can't be used. First, after the battle between Madara and Cylinders, he used the transcribing seal to set up Izanagi in advance to resurrect him. At that time, Madara had no intercylinder cells. Second, Itachi prevents the use of Izanami during the time to tell the story of the ancestors of the Uchiha clan using Izanagi indiscriminately. Those ancestors all have a kaleidoscope, but there must be no interstitial cells, not yet born. Third, bring Soil and Danzo to show Izanagi knowable self-reports. They are all in the normal state. Writing wheel eye. The soil that is used up is also a transplant, not his own. Mr. Kakashi, you finally woke up. When Kakashi woke up, Naruto was the first to speak. Because he had a lot of questions to ask Shiyu, but Shiyu meant to wait until Kakashi wakes up to ask. If not, he has to explain it again, which is too much trouble. Because of this, Naruto was already impatient. Not only Naruto, but Kakashi and Sasuke are no exception. Immediately afterwards, this novel was first published by Dragon. QQ 492,923,872. Don't be fooled by other fakes. Unique Filu Novel Standby Group 672,171,357. Advertisement Filu Novel Internal Group 11425299731. Filu Novel Inner Group 2929082961. More exciting Filu novels are in the hands of the owner. Welcome to the group. I hope you will not be fooled by those deceptive groups. Attachment. This work is from the internet and published books. The work is only for reader's preview. Please delete it within 24 hours of downloading. It must not be used for commercial purposes. If you think this book is good, please buy a genuine book. Thanks for your support. Close black lens bracket key points. I hope I can keep this paragraph when reprinted. It's a bit hard to organize, but retention is a virtue. It was a basket of questions that was thrown on Shiyu's forehead, and Kakashi was the first to speak. Shiyu, 8-gate Dunjia, how many courses have you practiced? 3. Shiyu concealed a bit. If he directly said that he had opened the 5th door, Kakashi would have to vomit blood. It was only a few days before Shiyu watched the Book of Seals, and he had cultivated to the 5th door. It was almost impossible. Because this physique must be matched with excellent physical strength. If it hadn't been for Shiyu to show the first 2 goals, Kakashi would not believe Shiyu's 3 goals. In the end, Kakashi could only think that Shiyu was a physique evildoer. There are 3 types of magic techniques: ninjutsu, illusion, and physique. The same is true for geniuses, since there are ninjutsu geniuses and illusion geniuses, so naturally there are physical geniuses. Kaihuing and Lee are like this, they have this talent. Of course, physical skills are far from enough to rely on talent, and it takes more time than others to practice hard to achieve results. This is also the root of why most people don't major in physique. In the end, Kakashi gave Shiyu a warning to stop the 5 behind him from practicing. Teacher, you don't have to worry, I will practice casually. After hearing Shiyu's words, Kakashi wanted to hit people. What you call casual training, you can open the 3 gates when you practice casually and swish. As for Sasuke and Naruto, it's okay, because they don't know how difficult this 8-door dunjia is to practice. Then, it was Naruto's turn. Shiyu, how did you learn the magnetic escape? Advertisement, I don't know, anyway, I will. Hearing Shiyu's answer, Kaka said, Bloodstain limit is divided into two types, one is born through blood inheritance and the other is acquired through cultivation. According to Shiyu, his magnetic escape should be born. Shiyu has two kinds of bloodstain limits, magnetic escape, should be a magnetic escape ninja in his ancestors. As for Xiaolunyan, I guessed it with Shiyu's ancestor who had married the Uchiha clan. This kind of offspring awakens the blood of the ancestors. Kakashi and Naruto both asked one question, and in the end, it was naturally the turn of the arrogant little prince Sasuke. Shiyu, how do you know the awakening method of Xiaolunyan? It's easy, because that night, I started it because I saw teacher Luca was injured and faced life and death threats. So I let you try it, but I didn't expect it to be. Although Shiyu was serious nonsense, there was nothing wrong with the method he said. To Shiyu's answer, Kakashi also nodded, because he also had a similar experience, that is, bringing the soil opened his eyes because the two of them were in danger. In short, the current Shiyu has become a perverted evildoer in the eyes of the Kakashi trio. Next second, Naruto looked at Kakashi's blocked left eye with incomprehensibility and couldn't help but ask, who was curious in his heart. Kakashi, why do you only have one, Xiaolunyan? Originally, Shiyu's previous answer had already evaded the matter of why Kakashi would have Xiaolunyan, but the problem is that he only has one. Moreover, it seems that it can't be turned off, this is the most showy. Naruto's question is undoubtedly expressing Sasuke's heartfelt feelings. The two men deserve to have a loving couple. Kakashi who heard this was also taken aback. There was a long silence, and then he said, I will tell you the day you become Zanran. Kakashi's words are not cruel. Had it not been for Shiyu's crossing, Naruto and Sasuke estimated that they would only know the answer until the soil appeared. Because the two of them had to endure it at the end. Chapter 36 When Shiyu and their conversation came to an end, Dasna heard that Kakashi woke up and came to greet him. Kakashi, are you healthy, right? It's okay, just rest for a few days. That's good. Dasna was overjoyed during the words, and then said, Then you can rest at my home during this period of time. Anyway, there is still some time before the bridge is completed. Then bother. What's the interruption? You are here to protect me. I should provide you with food and accommodation, Dasna said sincerely. Uncle Dasna, what fun place do you have here? Naruto asked curiously. For the first time out of Konoha, Naruto naturally wanted to see what the outside world looked like and what was different. Of course. If you are interested, let my daughter show you a tour tomorrow. Before Naruto who heard this had time to be happy, he was poured cold water by Kakashi. Naruto, now is not the time to relax. Naruto was stunned, and said in a puzzled way. Ms. Kakashi, haven't we solved all the enemies? Is there anything else to worry about? We just don't cut the two again. Cardo is the world's top rich man. Maybe he will hire a stronger ninja. So, the more at this time, the more you can't take it lightly. Therefore, we must prepare in advance. Naruto asked curiously. Teacher, what do you mean by preparation? You can't move now, what else can you do? Sasuke's tone sounded cold, but his words revealed a trace of concern. Shiyu did not speak because he knew what Kakashi wanted to do. Hey. Kakashi smiled, and then said, naturally let you practice hard. Cultivation. Seeing Naruto and Sasuke were both stunned, Kakashi continued. I can just guide you during this period of time when my body is recovering. Don't let you be at a loss when a powerful enemy comes. Advertisement. After Kakashi's voice fell, a little boy walked in, and then there was a taunt. There is nothing going on against Cardo. When the voice fell, he looked at his mother Tsunami and continued. Mom, they will die soon, right? There is no doubt that this little boy is Dasna's grandson, Inari. As soon as Inari said this, before Tsunami could reply, Naruto was the first to say, boy. Sooner or later, I will become a super ninja all day long and become a hero like Naruto. So, what card is not card? In my eyes, it's a piece of cake. In response to Naruto's bold words, Inari didn't move at all, and the corners of his mouth moved, and the words of contempt were spit out again. There is no difference between a hero and an idiot. Because that thing doesn't exist at all. When the voice fell, Inari ignored the people, turned and walked towards his room. The unconvinced Naruto also followed, and only then discovered the pain in the latter's heart, because at this time Inari was hiding in the room secretly crying, just like he was when he was a child. He can understand this mood, but ever since he entered ninja school and met Tokiyu, he has been an object of confession. Because of this, the two talents have become best friends. The second day, Kakashi, leaning on two crutches, took Shiyu and the three to a dense forest, ready to guide the three of them to practice. Since taking over the 7th class, this is the first time Kakashi has really guided the three Toki to practice. Kakashi, what are we going to practice? Naruto is very curious, and he is full of expectations for the cultivation that can become stronger. Because he wants to surpass Sasuke. Hearing this, Kakashi smiled slightly and then said, first of all, I want to tell you the most basic thing about ninja chakra. The general content is how the chakra came into being, and then how to display it through Jia Yin. Advertisement. Naruto was completely confused, and that's why Naruto couldn't master the advanced ninjutsu, and in the end only knew rubbing balls, because this technique does not require Jin. In short, what I mean is that you still can't use your chakras as you like. That's why your ninjutsu is sometimes strong and sometimes weak. Naruto does not understand the complicated and professional science popularization, but Naruto understands the last sentence. He scratched his head and asked, Mr. Kakashi, what should we do? Kakashi was silent for a while, then uttered 2 words. Climb a tree. Can this be considered cultivation? Naruto questioned. My so-called tree climbing is different from what you think. It is an inoperable hand. Kakashi squinted. After hearing this, Shiyu, who had been silent for a long time, finally said, if I guessed correctly, the teacher wants us to crawl with our feet. As soon as these words came out, Kakashi's 3 people were all taken aback. Especially Kakashi, he never thought that Shiyu would be able to guess this kind of cultivation method. Seeing Kakashi's acquiescence, Naruto also asked, Tokiba, how did you know? The reason is simple. Kakashi wants us to practice cultivation, not only climbing trees, but not using hands, so we can only use our feet. Shiyu replied and continued, of course, this is just normal thinking logic. Let me really be sure is the second point. If you think about it, we usually use our hands in Jin, so our hands are already very sensitive to the grasp of chakra. Basically, they're easy to grasp, but the feet are different. It is very difficult if we don't pass special training, control. It's like yesterday's battle Kakashi teacher and you can stand on the water completely without cutting, but Naruto, you can't. After hearing Shiyu's words, Naruto nodded symbolically. And Kakashi once again took Shiyu's admiration. Although this was only a small matter, it was enough to show Shiyu's ingenuity. Even Sasuke had to cast worshipful eyes at Toki, as if he was going to be hit every day in front of Toki. Since Shiyu has guessed it, I will show you something. When Kakashi, whose voice fell, was preparing to demonstrate, Toki's voice sounded again, making the 3 of them stunned for a moment. Kakashi, you haven't recovered yet, let me come. Chapter 37. All 3 of Kakashi who heard the words looked at Shiyu with strange eyes, especially Kakashi. If you guess it, it's fine. I haven't taught you anything about it. Isn't this special thing stealing my job? Shiyu, is it possible that you have learned it? Seeing Shiyu nodding, Kakashi could only take a breath of air to express his shock. Immediately afterwards, Shiyu walked directly towards a big tree under the stunned eyes of the 3 of them. Clatter, clatter, clatter. With the sound of footsteps one after another, Shiyu walked steadily to the waist of the tree under the gaze of the 3. Yes, it's just for walking. After that, the whole person hung directly on the tree trunk, without any fulcrum, just standing upside down out of thin air. Seeing this scene, Naruto couldn't help but exclaimed, wow, I climbed up with my feet, as expected to be Shiyu, so amazing. Sasuke is no exception, with a look of surprise in his eyes. After doing this, Shiyu also said, that's about it. The principle is to condense the chakra on the soles of the feet and let the body stick to the tree. As long as the chakra is used properly, it can be done. When the voice fell, Shiyu looked at Kaka and asked, Teacher Kakashi, what's the problem with what I said? No. From Kakashi's tone, he could completely hear the shock in his heart at this time, and immediately raised the doubts in his heart. Shiyu, when did you learn it? Last night. Shiyu replied, and then said, I tried it after I was bored after eating last night, but I didn't expect it to be a try. This is not the end, because Kakashi said last night that he would take them to practice, and Shiyu already knew the content of the practice. So he wanted to try it, because of the 1000-fold talent blessing, Shiyu mastered it perfectly all at once. For him, it is simply not too easy, but this simple sentence made Kakashi shocked instantly. What? Shiyu's performance in the ninja school was mediocre, but naturally he began to rise up against the sky after his graduation exam. On the way, Kakashi can be said to have deep feelings. Now that Shiyu showed him such a hand again, he wouldn't be surprised, because he himself hadn't been so perverted before. Advertisement you know that Kakashi is one of the best geniuses in Konoha, and few people can compete with him. But now he always thinks that Shiyu is better than himself. Kakashi, a genius who suddenly awakens like Shiyu, has never seen him before, but he has never seen such a genius. After a long silence, Kakashi finally said, Shiyu, you can come down. After seeing Shiyu return to the team, Naruto also asked, Kakashi-sensei, can this really become stronger? How do you think your strength compares to Shiyu? Kakashi asked back. Of course it was Shiyu-jang, that's not right. Kakashi replied, and then said, Shiyu's ability to master the method so easily shows that his control of chakra has reached the point of perfection. This level has surpassed most Zhang-Ren, hiss. Both Naruto and Sasuke who heard this took a breath, and they didn't expect Shiyu to be so strong. The strong can be compared with Zhang-Ren. As long as you can master the control of chakra, both ninjutsu and physique will be significantly improved. I can assure you of this. Listen, after receiving Kakashi's words, Naruto was already eager to try. Kakashi, can you tell us how to train? The method is simple. Kakashi replied, and then said, just use your shuriken to mark the height you can climb. It may be a little difficult at first, you can use the sprint way. When you can walk on the tree, it means that you have basically mastered this subtle control. Immediately afterwards, Naruto and Sasuke started to practice intensively, and Shiyu went to the bridge to protect Tazuna. 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. Naruto and Sasuke practiced day and night, and they have made considerable progress, and Kakashi has also recovered to his full body state. As for Shiyu, in these 5 days it was also a big gain. First, he developed the first secret technique, magnetic escape. Second, relying on 1000 times the blessing of his talent, he finally accomplishes things that many people cannot do in their entire lives. Advertisement, that is, he realized a kind of bloodstain limit. This new bloodstain boundary is the result of the fusion of the wind attribute and water attribute changes, which is owned by nothing, Ice Shield. Shiyu was able to realize that this bloodstain boundary was not entirely dependent on talent, and there was one of the most important factors. That is the battle with White. During that battle, Shiyu clearly felt the change of chakra when the latter cast Ice Shield. So after trying repeatedly, I finally realized it. This is undoubtedly good news for Shiyu, and he has seen Bai use 2 kinds of Ice Shield, ninjutsu. In this way, he doesn't have to bother to develop a new secret technique by himself. According to Shiyu's calculation, his current talent is not enough to comprehend other bloodstain limits in a short time. If you want to quickly understand, there must be a prerequisite. That is to have direct contact with bloodstain boundary, clearly know the changes in the chakra nature of bloodstain boundary, and only with your own talent can you understand it. Otherwise, I don't know how long it will take to comprehend one. It took a lot of time to comprehend bloodstain limit. Shiyu would obviously do something like this, but he was a systematic person. If he does this, the system will still have face. 2 days later, Kakashi, who recovered his health, was going to have a look at the bridge with Tazuna, because it was a few days before he missed his hand. If you don't fail, Kaido will definitely not let it go. But when gathering, Kakashi found that Naruto was not present, and asked, Tokiba, where is Naruto? He's still sleeping, Shiyu replied, and then said, it is probably because of the hard work during this period of cultivation, so I'm exhausted. Forget it, let him have a good rest. As Kakashi's voice fell, everyone slowly moved towards the bridge under the leadership of Tazuna. When Moyu left, he gave Tsunami a note and told her to wait until Naruto woke up to give it to him. Regarding this, although Tsunami was a little puzzled, she didn't say much. Facing Shiyu, a sweet smile appeared, and there was a kind of unique charm of middle-aged beautiful women in the smile, which made people want to protect him. Immediately afterwards, under her watch, Shiyu and others drifted away. A moment's time, he disappeared into her vision. Chapter 38. At noon, the sun is high. When Yu and his party came to the bridge, the workers here fell to the ground with serious injuries. In addition to the injured workers, there are also a group of people standing here. At this moment, they are staring at Shiyu and the others with a vicious expression. The leader is a short, fat, middle-aged man in a suit and tie, looking out of tune with the group of desperados behind him. There is no doubt that he should be the top rich man, Kaido. His gaze shifted from the injured workers on the ground to Kaido, and Tazuna said with great anger. Kaido, what on earth do you want to do? Does this question still need to be asked? Kaido sneered, and then said, I said that this bridge is not allowed to be built, but you just didn't listen. You went against me over and over again. So, I'm here today just to make a complete end. Tazuna, as long as you kill the leader, I see who else in Poland would dare to resist me. Hearing Kaido's words, Tazuna was very angry, because his godson, Inari's stepfather, let Kaido beat him alive. Oh, by the way, I will remind you casually before you die. I have sent someone to your house. If nothing happens, they have already taken your beautiful daughter away at this time. Hey, I like this kind of young woman with lingering charm. Hearing this, Tazuna was taken aback. Immediately, a hideous color suddenly appeared on his face, a pair of calloused hands clenched tightly, staring at Kaido firmly. When Shiyu saw this, he said, Uncle Tazuna, don't worry. I have left a note. Naruto will stay there to protect the mother and son when he wakes up. 1 or 2 of them are not his opponents. Hearing the words, Tazuna sighed heavily. If there were no Shiyu's words, he would have rushed to fight Kaido to death and death. Advertisement on the side, Kakashi and Sasuke were shocked when they heard this, as if Shiyu could not tell the prophet. Shiyu, did you know that Kaido would do this in advance? For Kakashi's doubts, Shiyu also explained, Teacher Kakashi, I just did this to prevent it. Insidious villains like Kaido may threaten us with Uncle Tazuna's family, and even if they lose in the end, they will be able to retreat. Shiyu, you are still thoughtful, the teacher is not as good as you. Kakashi had to admit that Shiyu was excellent, and he was able to consider things so thoughtfully the first time he went on a mission. As for Sasuke, he naturally admires Moyu more and more. And jealousy is also slowly diminishing with this time and again astonishment. I believe it will disappear if it doesn't take much. Scattered in nothing. Tazuna, you can't escape today, just take it to death. After hearing Kaido's words, Kakashi stood up directly. He shoulders Konoha's mission, and once Tazuna dies, it will definitely affect Konoha's voice. As Konoha Shinobu, he naturally can't let this happen. Mr. Tazuna, don't worry, with me, no one wants to touch your hair today. Hearing Kakashi's words, Kaido's eyes finally fell on him. If I'm not wrong, you just don't cut it if you kill it. Kaido's place only came now, because he had always waited for the news not to be cut, but after waiting for several days, there was no news of the latter. So he sent someone to investigate. I don't know if I don't check it, but I don't know if I don't check it again. What made him most puzzled was why Kakashi and others would not cut the two into the soil for safety. Advertisement. Moreover, I also chose a treasured geomancy place. Good. Kakashi didn't conceal it. He has always been upright and honest, and he has no secrets. Of course, except for industrial paradise. Hearing the words, Cardo snorted coldly. That trash, it's better to die. Even if he completes my entrustment, I have no plans to pay him. If a ghost doesn't cut it, it's just a clown in my eyes. You killed him, you did me a great favor. Obviously, Cardwell was very upset because of the attitude of not cutting, which caused Cardwell to want to kill him a long time ago. Moreover, he has always regarded wealth as life. How can it be possible to pay such a high reward for not cutting it? In fact, no matter whether it is successful or not, the result is already doomed. In the end, Cardo will definitely kill him, but Cardo's tricks are okay against some weak ninjas, and if you don't kill such a master again, it is undoubtedly self-defeating. He should be fortunate that Shiyu and others removed it early. Otherwise, without waiting for Shiyu and others to do it, he has now been sent to the underworld to report without being cut. Well, I have no time to talk with you anymore. Since you are here, you can only be blamed for your bad life. When the voice fell, Kaduo waved his hand and a drink sounded. Kill me, don't keep one. After receiving Cardo's order, a group of desperados behind him took out their weapons one after another. Knives, guns and sticks, everything. There is no electric. Chapter 39. Seeing this scene, Shiyu also said, Mr. Kakashi, this group of thugs will be dealt with by me and Sasuke. By the way, let you see the results of our practice this week. Also good. Just as Takiwa and Sasuke were preparing to act, a voice suddenly came from behind. When the voice fell, there was a swish, and a figure appeared in front of Shiyu and the others. The person who came is not someone else, it is Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. See, after a handsome debut, Naruto did not forget a classic pretending quote. In this regard, Kakashi and others are quite speechless. If they didn't know each other, they would be embarrassed to say that they knew this teaser. Seeing Naruto, Dazna hurriedly asked, Naruto, Tsunami and Inari are all right? Uncle Dazna, don't worry, neither of them is okay, and the two villains were overwhelmed by me all at once. Hey, Naruto in the words looked very fulfilled, because he not only saved Tsunami and her son this time. Moreover, it also allowed Inari to come out of the shadow of his stepfather's death. However, this is thanks to the note left by Shiyu. Otherwise, I would have arrived here long ago. Hearing Naruto's words, Dazna also looked at Naruto and Tokyu. Thank you so much. Uncle Dazna, our mission is to protect you. This is just a matter of effort. Yeah. Naruto nodded in agreement. When Dazna was moved, another voice came from behind. And us. After hearing the words, Shiyu and the others turned around and looked at them, and a group of people instantly came into their field of vision. No accident, they are all residents of this island. Standing in the center of this group of residents is Tsunami and Inari, mother and son. Undoubtedly, they inspired the residents of the island to resist together. Advertisement with Shiyu, Cassis and others in the battle, they finally burst out their inner depression. Kado, get out of this island quickly. Yes, if you dare to come to this island again, then we will use all the power on the island to make you come back and forth. Get out! Get out! Upon seeing this, Kakashi subconsciously asked, Naruto, this shouldn't be your idea, right? Kakashi knew Naruto, and a later IQ would definitely not think of this level, so a face appeared in his mind. No, Naruto denied it, and then said, it was Shiyu who asked me to talk to Inari. Hearing this, Kakashi was dumbfounded again. Looking at Shiyu is like looking at a monster. Not only is he extremely clever, but he has the right control over human nature, and he sees it so thoroughly. Knowing to give these disturbed islanders certain guidance at the right time, so that they can see hope and regain their confidence. Seeing all the residents of Poland, Kaduo was also panicked for a while. Boss Cardo, there are so many people on the other side. I think it's better to forget it this time. If you have any shortcomings, it won't be good. Yes, they still have ninjas, and heroes don't suffer from immediate losses. After listening to everyone's suggestions, Cardo, who was already a little flustered, also gave birth to a retreat. He is a top rich man, there is no need to joke about his life. He still understands the truth of not being afraid of not having firewood. You wait for me, sooner or later your life and death will be in my control. I will let you go for the time being today, Withdraw. When the voice fell, Cardo was about to turn around and leave, but at this moment, the sound of a sound made their rising footsteps freeze in the air. Anyone can go, but Cardo must die. When the voice fell, everyone was startled. Not only the desperados on Cardo's side, but even the islanders of the country of waves were surprised. Little brother Shiyu, what are you doing? Advertisement. For Dazna's puzzlement, Shiyu also analyzed. Kado is a human being, and you know that once you let him leave today, it will be to let the tiger go back to the mountain. Not to mention that he will come back in the future, and other places like your country of wave will be brutally attacked by him, so. This kind of person is also a scourge to stay in the world, only to get rid of it. No way. First, in order to complete the task of the system and completely liberate the country of waves, Shiyu had to do a whole lot of things. Second, Shiyu couldn't understand the arrogant appearance of Cardo. He even threatened to kill them in his party before, but you couldn't swallow it just with this breath. The so-called murderer is always killed. This is the purpose Shiyu implements. After hearing Shiyu's words, the islanders in the country of waves felt that it was reasonable, and they all agreed. Yes, Cardo must die. Must die. Hearing the overwhelming voice, I was a little flustered by Ekaduo's mind, because he had never seen such a scene. He has been domineering for many years, and no one has ever resisted him. It would have been humiliating enough to retreat today. Who would have thought that these islanders would have to leave his life behind? Don't go too far. I really thought that I was afraid that you would not succeed. It was obvious from Cardo's tone that he was panicking. His expression at the moment was no longer as calm as before, and some were just endless panic. This is the first time in his life that he showed such a look. Yes, Shi Yu sneered, then directly cast multi-shadow clone technique. Bang, bang, bang. In an instant, the entire bridge was almost occupied by Shi Yu's shadow clone, and Shi Yu's voice slowly sounded. What about now? Chapter 40. Seeing this scene, Cardo was instantly dumbfounded. Not only him, but even the desperados behind him are dumbfounded. They know that ninjas are very strong. But I didn't expect it to be so strong. There were hundreds of people on the other side in an instant, so how can you fight? At this time, the dozens of desperados had to retreat in an instant, and they had no desire to fight. Listen, if you want to survive, hand over Cardo. Otherwise, don't even want to leave. Kaduo panicked when he heard Shi Yu's words. And those dozens of desperados are also you. Look at me, I look at you, as if confirming the answer in their hearts. Kado saw that something was wrong and wanted to get on the boat and escape. However, it was discovered. Kado, where to go? As one of them shouted violently, all desperados' eyes were locked on Cardo one after another. Boss Cardo, sorry. Boss Cardo, at the expense of you, you can save all of us and you won't lose money. Yes, you have done all the bad things in your life. If you have a rare opportunity to do a good thing today, don't run away. When the voice fell, dozens of desperados joined forces to capture Cardo. This is the desired effect sometimes. The person hired by him put on the guillotine. Cardo's heart is undoubtedly aggrieved and desperate. No, don't kill me. I can give you all of my property, please let me go. In the face of Cardo's begging for mercy, the residents of the island country were completely indifferent, because Cardo had beaten their hero, Keisha, to death in the face of the people of the island. Keisha, Inari's stepfather. It is also because of this that they have long hated Cardo, and naturally they will not shake their hatred determination because of money. As for those desperados, although they like money very much. But compared to fate, it would be meaningless. No matter how much money, there is no fate to enjoy it. What? With a horrified wailing sound, Cardo was directly pierced through the heart by a desperado. To his death, he never thought that he would end up like this. As the desperado drew his sword, Cardo also knelt down on the residents of the country of waves. Advertisement. It looks like a confession. If he ever had the opportunity to do it once, he would never make a move against the country of waves. Seeing this scene, Dazna in their hearts also had an inexplicable emotion, because Keisha's grievances were avenged. And those desperados hurriedly got on the boat and fled, for fear that Shi Yu would be unhappy and destroy them all. With the death of Cardo, the country of Poland was finally liberated. For this reason, the sound of the system also sounded. Ding! The task of liberating the country of waves is complete. Next, it was the cheers of the residents of Poland, but it was more of their gratitude for Shi Yu. If it weren't for Shi Yu, they wouldn't stand up. If it were not for Shi Yu, the country of waves would not be liberated. In short, Shi Yu has now become their hero. Seeing this scene, Naruto also said to Inari, "Look, I said that there are heroes in this world." Inari nodded heavily and said, "He is a great hero like my father." In the words of his eyes, Yang Shiyu's figure seemed to be an inexplicable flame beating. That is the fire of faith. It is also the fire of hope. After the Kado incident ended, life in the whole country of waves was much more comfortable than before. 2 weeks later, with the joint efforts of everyone, the bridge that was almost completed is finally completed. In order to thank Shi Yu and his team for their help, at Dazna's suggestion, they named the bridge Shiyu Bridge. No one objected to this, because Shi Yu is their recognized hero. Without the latter, there would be no current wave country. The day after the completion of the Tokiba Bridge was the day when Toki and the others left the country of waves. When leaving, Tsunami did not forget to say, "Shiyu and everyone, remember to come to Poland to play when you have time. Inari loves you very much." During the words, Tsunami still had a sweet smile on her face, the kind that made people fascinated and yearned. Immediately afterwards, under the eyes of all the residents of Nami country, Shi Yu and his party left the bridge that had just been completed. Advertisement and the reluctant Inari couldn't help but shed tears. The hero in his heart, gone. A few days later, Shi Yu and his group of 4 finally returned to Konoha. This time the mission lasted nearly a month, which made them miss their days in Konoha very much. The first thing Shiba and Naruto did when they came back was to eat ramen at Yile Noodle Shop. The so-called Uncle Yile is really called Shoda, and he also has a flower-like daughter, Changpu. However, what is different this time from the past is that they have one more person on this trip, that is, Sasuke. This Tsunere. If it weren't for Shi Yu's invitation, he would never go. Originally, he was wondering what is delicious about ramen. As a result, it smells so good. The first thing Kakashi came back was to go to the 3rd generation of Hokage. The purpose is very simple, is to report this trip. Especially Shi Yu. The 2 kinds of bloodstain limits are definitely Konoha's treasures, and these talents must definitely be well protected. And, after 3 generations of investigations, it was determined that Shi Yu's identity was fine. Because his birth was witnessed by many people, his parents were once Konoha's ninjas. Like Iruka's parents, they were killed in the Battle of Nine Tails in 12 years. This is also the reason why Iruka has a different feeling for Shiyu. This is the so-called pity for the same disease. After some conversation, the three generations also said, Kakashi, no accident, this child will be Konoha's future, you must teach it well. If necessary, you can send Anbu to protect it secretly. For the third generation, Kakashi also nodded. After Kakashi left, three generations looked at the blue sea and blue sky outside the window, and a figure appeared in his mind. This figure is neither the fourth generation nor the second generation. It is the recognized god of ninjas, the first generation of Naruto, Senjujuma. Immediately afterwards, a voice rang in Sarutobi's heart. Will you become the next ninja god? The three generations in their minds seemed to have seen the scene where Shiyu showed off in the Central Ninja Selection Exam. He was looking forward to that scene.